What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 3BR Chapter 76, Shen Zuo and Ji Ma have a detached position in Miaomu Mountain, but they are called fairies. The presence. Even if Jiraiya wants to summon two people, it takes a lot of effort. These two big people can be summoned casually. Especially when Shiyu just summoned Iwaju Big Toad, the current chakra may not be enough. Shiyu said when he was still struggling to hit Ji Lai. Laughter Fairy, it's okay to try, even if the psychic doesn't come out, it's considered a training session. After hearing Shiyu's words, Ji Lai also thought about it slightly, with a hint of worry in his tone. How do you feel now? No problem. Seeing that Shiyu was still alive and well, Ji Lai was naturally quite surprised. Summoned the body of Iwajuku Big Toad, I don't know how much chakra will be consumed, but the latter doesn't look tired at all. And this is why Big Todawasu has doubts in his heart. How many chakras are there in this kid? One after a murmur in his heart, Jiraiya then said, since Iwaju-sama has spoken, let's give it a try. After Ji Lai agreed, Shiyu didn't talk nonsense. The hand indica style has been formed again. The first time Shiyu was a call without purpose, but this time it was different. Those figures appeared in his mind one by one. And red chakra appeared on his body too. Seeing the red chakra emerging from Shiyu, Big Todawasu was shocked. Because this chakra is indeed amazing, and because of this, he almost believed what Jiraiya had just said, and the final result was the worst. And Shiyu's purpose for using Tail Beast Chakra is very simple, because this time he is not simply summoning one, but wants to summon all the children of Toad Wentai in one go. Since you want to play, let's play it a little bit more exciting. First is Toad Dragon, Toad Ji. Then, Toad Jian, Toad Guang, and finally, Shen Zuo and Shima. When these people flashed these figures in Shiyu's mind, his palm also suddenly slapped towards the ground. Psychic Art. Bang. With the loud noise, a thick white smoke appeared in front of Jiraiya and their eyes. After the white smoke cleared, the scene that came into view made both of them dumbfounded, completely stupid. Advertisement. This is there. The first to speak was the Toad Bunta, who wore a cloak, a pipe with a mouth and a large knife on his back. Big Brother. Toad Guang and Toad Jian yelled at the same time, and the eyes of Toad Wentai, who heard the words, flashed a stunned look. Before he knew what was going on, his immature voice sounded. Dad. Open black lens bracket. Toad Wentai closed black lens bracket for a moment. He saw his two sons also appear here. However, his shock did not end there, because at this time there were two more voices, but their voices were slightly old and dumb. Awen, a Jian, a Guang, why are you three here, as a father, Shen Zuo, Dao, and Xiao Ji and Xiao Long, how come you two little guys also come out to join in the fun? Shima, who is grandma, said unhappy. Now, Toad Wentai, a family of 7. The mouth is here, 3 generations are in the same house. At this moment, 7 of 7 people look at me and I look at you, all with a dumb look. They once doubted whether it was Jiraiya that B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** although Jiraiya can channel each of them out, but they want to get them all at once. They're all summoned. That's impossible. They knew that it couldn't be done with Jiraiya's strength. Just when they didn't know what was going on, the naughty toad dragon first discovered the existence of Owasu Big Toad, and exclaimed. Hey, isn't that, Grandpa Yansu? As soon as this remark came out, Toad Wentai. And others were all startled, their eyes cast one after another. Next second. Sure enough, the huge figure of Owasu Big Toad appeared in their eyes, and this result made them think that they were dreaming. Otherwise, this is absolutely impossible. Since they, Miao-Mushan, signed a contract with the ninja, this kind of thing has never happened. When Toad Bunta saw Jiraiya on Owasu Big Toad, he also immediately questioned. Advertisement, Jiraiya, what is going on? Hearing this, the eyes of 777 were also locked on the head of Iwaju Big Toad, and they saw three figures. Hearing the question of Toad Wentai, Jiraiya recovered from the confusion. This result obviously exceeded his expectations. He never thought that Shiyu was so powerful, and suddenly all the children of Toad Wentai were channeled out. Not only he didn't expect it, but even the Big Toad Owasu is the same. All of this seems to be dreaming. Xiao Jiraiya, this is what you did. The Shen Zuo Xian Ren, between the words, was skeptical. But besides Jiraiya, Shiyu and Naruto were left. Therefore, he can only think of this possibility. Daddy, no one else but this little B************ D here has this ability. G-Ma Immortal said. Hearing that, Zilaya also hurriedly said 200 things. Boss, big sister, and everyone. I know you are surprised at this, but please listen to me explain it slowly. Immediately after, Jilai also told a few people the reason, and when they summoned them to be Shiyu, they were immediately shocked. Jilaya, are you sure you didn't joking with us? With the voice of Toad Bunta's questioning, I didn't wait for Jiraji to answer. Iwaju Big Toad was the first to say. You don't have to doubt, I can testify. I didn't believe it was this kid who summoned my body, but after seeing him summon you all, I have no reason not to believe it. After getting the testimony of Owasu Big Toad, Bunta, and others were shocked. Obviously, they also know this unprecedented thing. If a big toad immortal is also within the psychic range, given the level of the evil spirit of this little devil, wouldn't the former also be summoned? At this point, everyone's eyes are full of incredible, that's why. Their gazes at this time were all on Shi Yu, and their eyes seemed to look at Shi Yu transparently. Because they once suspected that Shi Yu was the reincarnation of the 6 Tao immortals. If not, how could the latter be able to do this step? Please download Faye to read the ununderlined version of the novel. Please keep this paragraph for collection, otherwise the collection of IP is blocked too. Chapter 77. After some confirmation, the Toad Wentai family of 7 also believed this fact. Proud such as Toad Wentai also had to admire Shi Yu's talent, but as to whether Shi Yu was the so-called reincarnation of the 6 Tao immortals, this was just their imagination. There is nothing to corroborate it. Moreover, Shi Yu was originally not a 6 Tao immortal reincarnation. He has something more awesome than reincarnation, that is, system. In my hand, I have the world. Shen Zuo Xian Ren, Shi Yu, also said to Zi Lai. Xiao Zi Lai Yi, maybe he is the son of prophecy in the mouth of the ancestor. Hiss, if you don't say that I have forgotten the prediction of old fairy. Ji Lai also replied, Shen Zuo, looking at Shi Yu, he also secretly said in his heart. Will he be the son of destiny who can transform the world of ninja? Whether it is or not, this student, you have to teach it carefully. Ji Ma immortal, said. Ji Ma, although she didn't clarify the meaning, Shi Yu knew what she meant. If an evildoer like Shi Yu goes astray, it will bring disaster to the entire ninja realm, and even the entire world. Don't worry. After getting Jiraiya's guarantee, Shensaku and Shima also nodded in satisfaction. Immediately after, Ji Ma looked at Shi Yu and said, little guy, if you have time in the future, you can come to our Miaomu mountain to play. Is it where you live? Ji Ma nodded, then said, our world is different here, I believe you will like it. Furthermore, we will also guide you a powerful spell when the time comes. Ji Ma. The voice fell, and Shi Yu didn't wait for Shi Yu to answer, but Naruto on the side couldn't wait to ask. What kind of magic? Let's talk about this when you arrive at Miaomu mountain. After answering Naruto's question, Shima also looked at Shensaku and Iwajuku Toad and others and said, we should go back. The two agreed, and Toad Wentai and others naturally had no opinion. Dad, Grandpa, Grandma, Long and I want to stay here a little longer. Toad Ji said. They came out of Miaomu mountain so easily, naturally they wanted to play a little longer. Advertisement, okay. Remember to go home early. As the grandmother, Ji Ma, was the first person to speak, and as the father, Toad Bunta, was embarrassed to say something. Because he is not the master here yet. What's more, he himself is also the master of the calf, followed by. As 6 groups of white smoke drifted past, Shen Zuo, Ji Ma, Iwaju Big Toad, and the group of 6 people 6 also disappeared from the vision of Tokiyu's 3 people 3. After they leave, Jiraiya's eyes returned to Shi Yu's body again and sighed. Shi Yu, you really made me pinch. Obviously, so many high-level figures were summoned by Miaomushan at once, and it turned out that they were just a student practicing psychic skills. Even if it is Zilai Yi, he is a bit tricky, but let's talk about it again. Your talent is the most enchanting among people I have ever seen, there is no one. With this, spiritualism alone, Takiwa's talent already surpassed Nagato's in Jiraiya's heart. Uzumaki Nagato, he had seen the most enchanting person with the most talent. The latter had mastered all his shield skills at the age of 10, and was able to skillfully use the 6 chakra nature changes including the yang attribute. But Jilai also knows the reason why Nagato is so enchanting is because of the influence brought by Reincarnation Eye. With Reincarnation Eyes, you can directly master the 6 chakra nature changes. Tokiyu's talent is just one of Jilai's surprise. Secondly, it was chakra. After Shiyu summoned the Iwaju Big Toad, another energetic psychic came out of the Toad Bunta family of 7. But he is still very energetic now, and looks easy to do, Naruto also said from the bottom of his heart after listening to Zilai's evaluation of Toki. Shiyu, you really are a pervert. When he heard the words, Shiyu smiled slightly, while Jilai on the side said. It's also the first time to learn. You can see what Shiyu has summoned, but you can only summon one tadpole. As soon as Jilai said this, Toad Dragon and Toad Ji burst into laughter. Tadpoles, ha ha ha, you are too bad, right? As Naruto's best friend, although he will not be jealous, it does not mean that he does not want to surpass Shiyu. Because of this, the ridicule of Toad Dragon and Toad Kichi inspires Naruto's motivation more and more. HMPH, you two wait for me. When I learn it, I will call you out every day. Upon hearing this, the laughter of the two suddenly stopped. And this is what Jiraiya would like to see. He said that just because he wanted to stimulate Naruto. Obviously, the effect has been achieved, after half a month. Advertisement Shiyu, Jiraiya, Toad Ji, and Toad Dragon got together again, and they came to test Naruto's cultivation results. Immediately after, under the gaze of the two toads, Naruto skillfully produced 555 Indian styles. When he took the palm of his hand, his mouth was accompanied by a low drink. Boom! As a white smoke dissipated, it was still a tadpole that appeared in front of Shiyu and the others. Undoubtedly, this is the result of Naruto's training for half a month. Obviously, it was the ridicule of Toad G and Toad Dragon. And seeing the result of no change in 15 days, Ji Lai was really intolerable and immediately taught. What the hell, idiot, I've said it so many times, I have to use all the chakras in my body. Naruto, who heard the words, was also annoyed, too annoying. I've been diligent enough, what nonsense, come again. Ji Lai also drank it. I see, in response, Naruto continued to practice. Shi Yu was watching leisurely on the side, eating something from time to time, and watching what beautiful women were playing in the river. When I am really tired of watching it, it is not boring to watch the quarrel between Naruto and Jiraiya. At this time, under the supervision of Jiraiya, the people started a new practice. Bang! As a white smoke drifted by, Naruto suddenly yelled after seeing what he had summoned. Great! After hearing this, Jiraiya also thought that Naruto had successfully summoned something decent. I took a closer look and cursed directly, you fool, go to hell. The reason why Jiraiya is so angry is because Naruto summoned a tadpole. Chapter 78. Time flies, fleeting. 3 weeks later, Naruto once again demonstrated his cultivation results. Psychic art. As a white smoke passed by, Naruto finally made progress. Although still unable to summon a toad successfully, it has been able to channel 4 legs. Tadpoles, in other words, half-frog. This is a process of evolution from tadpoles to frog toads, called metamorphosis, that is to say. Naruto lasted 21 days and successfully turned a tadpole, living psychic into a half-frog. At this moment, even Naruto himself couldn't stand it anymore. He hugged his head with both hands and suddenly screamed. Oh, this is not a frog at all, where did the frog go? Seeing this result, Ji Lai also knew that if it continued like this, it was simply not a solution. So Jiraiya originally wanted to throw Naruto under the abyss, so that Naruto could inspire that chakra when he lived and died. Shi Yu saw Jiraiya's thoughts and said immediately. Laughter Fairy, maybe I have a way to help Naruto master that power. You, the 20 ZE, between the words was also taken aback, and a doubt appeared on his face. If it wasn't for Shi Yu that half a month ago showed a strong talent, and the latter was able to control Tailed Beast Chakra, Ji Lai would definitely not say Shi Yu, a teenager. Oh, what can you do? Just rely on this. During the words, Shi Yu's pupils suddenly changed from black to blood red. Looking at those eyes that hadn't been seen for a long time, Jiraiya was also stunned, because he never thought that Shi Yu would have the bloodstain limitation that is unique to the Uchiha clan. How come you are obviously not from the Uchiha clan to have such a thing? Laughter Fairy, on this issue, 3 generations have talked to me, because my parents were killed in the first battle against 9 Tails. Moreover, my birth has a lot to prove, so, the 3 generations came to the conclusion that my ancestors may have married a member of the Uchiha clan, saying that I belong to Blood Awakening. After hearing Shi Yu's words, Ji Lai also said after a short period of thought. Indeed, if you want to switch, Shilunyan, freely, you must have the blood of the Uchiha clan. Advertisement. After finally chanting a few sentences, Jiraiya also asked. Right, how many people know about this matter? Not much. In addition to the 3 generations, there are teachers Kakashi and Iruka, and 2 of my current teammates. Shi Yu said. Remember, the less you know about this, the better. After all, you are not from the Uchiha clan. Although it can prove your birth, it may not attract people's coveting. Shi Yu nodded. For this matter, he is naturally better than any other. There was naturally a reason why I chose to let Iruka and Sandai know. If not, how to explain that Arum has become a genius evildoer? And Shi Yu also knows that the 3 generations will naturally not let Tadao this matter, plus the performance of the Nation of Waves along the way. The current Shi Yu has been listed as the same key protection object as Naruto's. Even if Danzo knows this, it is impossible to do anything to Shi Yu. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if Danzo has this idea now, it is still powerless. Because now he is no longer Shi Yu's opponent, it can be said that all of this is in Shi Yu's plan. The so-called exposure, Shilunyan, It was Shi Yu who had better protected himself before he grew up now. Ji Lai also knows that Shilunyan can control 9 tails, but ordinary Shilunyan can never do it. At this point, Jiraiya also asked, what are you going to do? I want to talk to Kyuubi. Hearing Shi Yu's words, Ji Lai was also taken aback, because the opposite was simply a fantasy. I have blood wheel eyes, and can enter Naruto Seal World. So it is. Ji Lai nodded, and then asked, since you have this idea, why don't you bring it up sooner? I want Naruto to continuously squeeze the chakras in his body through this method of cultivation, so as to condense more chakras. Hearing this, he was taken aback immediately. He didn't expect Shi Yu to think so long-term. 9 tails. No more than a beast, you have to be careful later. Ji Lai also reminded him, as Sanin, he has naturally heard of the power of 9 tails. Shi Yu nodded, and immediately came to Naruto. Naruto, look at me. Advertisement, I am practicing. Do you still want to master that red chakra? Hearing Shi Yu's words, Naruto instantly stopped the movement in his hands and said with excitement. Yes, of course I do, then don't talk nonsense, do as I said. Okay. Naruto in the words did so very cleverly, and Shi Yu also turned 3 Guyu Jade Riding Wheel Eyes, and entered Naruto's Seal World. Tick. Tick. In a pitch-black space, there is a drop of water falling from time to time around. Naruto looked at the strange world, and for a while, he was puzzled. The environment here makes people feel like shuddering, especially the evil breath in the air. If he didn't see Shiyu next to him, Naruto wouldn't know what to do. Shiyu, where are we? We are in a wonderful space, we can also say that we are in your body. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto was stunned for an instant. What's in my body? Shiyu nodded, and then said, this is the Seal World, in your body, a different space constructed by chakra. Is that right? The Naruto in the words is completely in the cloud, obviously not clear, and can only ask directly. Why are we here? Look for 9 tails. Shiyu's answer was straightforward, but Naruto was surprised. That disaster star that the world is afraid to avoid, they actually want to take the initiative to find the ladder. Shiyu, why are we looking for him? Hasn't the lecherous fairy told you half a month ago that the red chakra in your body is from 9 tails? Since you have this power, you are naturally going to find him. Oh. Seeing Naruto nodding, Shiyu had already sensed the location of 9 tails. Come with me. When the voice fell, Shiyu headed in the darkest direction ahead. Upon seeing this, Naruto hurriedly followed, and there were 2 expressions on his face at this time. Chapter 79 Seal the World. After Naruto followed Shiyu for a short distance in the dark, they finally saw a glimmer of light. You see a huge cage. There's also a striking note on the door of the cage with a big seal written on it. Upon seeing this, Naruto also asked subconsciously. Shiyu, it will not be imprisoned here. Naruto's voice fell, and before Shiyu could answer, an extremely strange voice rang in his ears. I didn't expect you to find this place. Who is talking? Little devil, come over here a little bit. Hearing the strange voice again, Naruto had already heard the direction, which came from the iron cage. Driven by curiosity, Naruto also moved to the iron cage. In the next instant, a few sharp claws suddenly protruded out of it. Boom! Looking at the huge white claws in front of him, Naruto was immediately startled. He knew that if it weren't for the iron cage, he would have been pierced by the claws and died immediately. Although this is the different spiritual space condensed by chakra. Once the spiritual body dies, people will also die, because the spiritual body is equivalent to the soul. Once the soul dissipates, people will naturally hang. Seeing that the attack is blocked, an extremely unwilling voice can be heard from the dark iron cage. I really want to eat you, but I can't open this door. This damn seal. Hearing this, Naruto's eyes were staring at the iron cage. Although the light is a bit dim, he can vaguely see a vague shadow, especially the blood-red eyes. In the dark is so eye-catching, so evil. You are 9 tails. Boy, it seems that you already know my existence. 9 tails gave a light break, and then said, what do you want to do when you rush to see me? 9 tails had just fallen off, and before Naruto could speak, Shiyu, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. Kyuubi, since you live in someone else's body, naturally you can't live in vain. So, you can use your chakra as rent. Naruto was also taken aback when he heard Shiyu's words. After feeling that Shiyu's words were very reasonable, he also hurriedly agreed. Yes, there is no free lunch in this world. Bring your chakra to rent. However, Q did not pay attention to Naruto, but instead focused on Toki. From just now, he was very curious about how Shiyu, an outsider, came into this world. Advertisement. You little devil looked inconspicuous before. I didn't expect to grow to this point in this short period of less than 2 months. Needless to say, Q knew Toshiba. Q lives in Naruto's body and knows everything around Naruto. And Shiyu is Naruto's best buddy, and the intersection of the two is naturally the closest. However, the previous Shiyu couldn't attract the attention of Q at all, until Shiyu suddenly awakened, Sholenyan, more than a month ago. Everything changed. Didn't I say it? That's me who is low-key. Regarding Shiyu's answer, Kyuubi didn't have the mind to wonder, and immediately said, it doesn't matter to me whether you want to be low-key or high-key. Certainly, Shiyu responded and said softly, however, you can rent this room. Oh, why do you think I will pay the house? I must lend chakra to this kid. This answer must be clearer than mine. Hearing that 9 tails was taken aback for a moment, he obviously heard something in Shiyu's words, as if the latter knew something. Boy, don't fool me here. When the old man dominated the world, you kid didn't even know where it was. 9 tails, don't brag with us either. If you can dominate the world, then it will not end here. Shiyu responded and continued. Well, since you are pretending to be confused, then I will remind you. If Naruto has any accident, you will disappear with it, but as for how long it disappears, it depends on your luck. If you are lucky, it may be a few years, and if you have bad luck, it may be more than 10 years. It may be decades or hundreds of years. I'm right, 9 Llama. Hearing that, 9 tails was shocked. When Shiyu's last 3 words fell, his eyes suddenly condensed. 9 Llama. Besides, 6 Tao immortals, and other tailed beasts. Knowing this name, it is impossible for anyone in the world to know it. When Kyuubi was in deep shock, Naruto asked inexplicably. Shiyu, who is this 9 Llama? It's far in the sky, right in front of you. Naruto, who got the answer, was also taken aback. Boy, how did you know? Didn't you also hear that? The immortals in Miaomushan said that I might be the reincarnation of 6 Tao immortals. Huh, don't talk about the ones. Nine Tails snorted coldly, and then said, as long as you tell me the answer, I will pay the rent. It's no wonder that Nine Tails are so excited. Their tail beasts have a special affection for 6 Tao immortals, because they are all created by the latter. Advertisement, yes, provided that you have to pay the rent for the 12 years first. Hearing that, Nine Tails was stunned, then gritted his teeth and said, what a teaching. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you too much, you only need to provide it to Naruto when he needs your chakra, and the number of times is 12, how about? After listening to Shiyu's conditions, Q immediately agreed after a short period of thought. It is good, there are not many times, he is completely acceptable. Remember, it is provided unconditionally. When the voice fell, Shiyu left with Naruto, because Shiyu knew that he still couldn't let Naruto completely control the power of Nine Tails. After Shiyu and the two disappeared, Nine Tails was still in a daze. Could that kid be able to see through my mind and know what abacus I am doing in my heart? This kid is definitely not easy. At this point of thought, Nine Tails' heart couldn't help but a thought. Is he really the reincarnation of 6 Tao old man? For this question, it is obviously unable to get an answer now. Nine Tails. The idea of giving birth was not groundless. First of all, Shiyu already had 2 kinds of chakra of tail beast. Secondly, the latter seems to know a lot about them, Tailman. At the same time, Naruto and Toki have returned to the real world. The legendary Nine Tails. Isn't that scary? For Naruto, Shiyu said. That's because it is sealed. If not, the two of us would have become dead souls under its claws. Seeing Shiyu and Naruto returning, and seeming to have seen Kyuubi, Jiraiya also hurriedly asked. How's it going? There is no reason for me to fail. So it's done. The coming between the words was also extremely excited. As a Sannin, it is natural to know the power of the tail beast. Once they can control their power, their strength will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. Laughter Fairy, look. Hearing Naruto's words, Jiraiya's eyes immediately fell on him. Next second, he saw a shocking chakra emerging from Naruto. It was the red chakra. Chapter 80. After staring at Naruto for a while, Jiraiya finally couldn't help but exclaimed. This nine-tailed chakra is really different, Laughter Fairy. I feel that my body is full of power now, and I think it will do it this time. Then you try quickly. There is also a kind of Jiraiya between the words. I can't wait, and immediately retreats to the side. Immediately after, Naruto, under the gaze of Takiwa and Jiraiya, once again used psychic techniques. Bang! As a white smoke drifted by, the result of the summoning was disappointing to Jiraiya. Although Naruto had indeed channeled toads this time, and there were still 2, but the size of the problem was too small. Are you an idiot? With such a powerful chakra, you can channel 2 little toads? Jiraiya's voice fell, and one of the toads also said, Oh, Naruto, are you making progress this time? You actually called us out? 2200. The speech was, Toad G, and the other was, Toad Dragon, but Naruto said confidently in response to Jiraiya's criticism. Laughter Fairy. Don't worry, I just summoned them out to be a witness first. Naruto's desire to post is very simple. First, he wants to try whether he is working now. Second, this, Toad G, and Toad Dragon, laughed at him for almost half a month. If it weren't for the idleness and return to Miaomu Mountain, maybe they would laugh at him before. Therefore, he must prove it to the 2. Then what are you talking nonsense? Hurry up and do it again. Oh, Naruto nodded in response to Jiraiya's lesson, and then the Indian style in his hand resumed. Boom! Exclamation mark. With the sound of a sound, the scene in front of me finally satisfied Jiraiya. Who called me again this time? It's not someone else who is talking, it's the Toad Wentai who is holding a pipe. Hey, it's me. Hearing that the Toad Wentai was also taken aback, this result was obviously beyond his expectation. The last time Shiyu was a psychic out of a family has made him very surprised, but he did not expect to be summoned by another kid this time. It's you. Just when Wentai questioned Naruto, Toad G and Toad Dragon stood up. Advertisement. Dad, along and I can testify. The plump Toad Dragon nodded. Hearing that, Toad Bunta looked at Shiyu and Naruto at his feet. He couldn't help but think, the current little ghosts are so awesome. The current Toad Bunta feels aggrieved in his heart, and feels that he is being psyched up by others. Ha ha ha, lascivious fairy, am I very good? After hearing Naruto's words, Wentai focused on Jiraiya. Jiraiya, if you are fine in the future, if you call me again, believe it or not, I will swallow you alive. Toad Wentai has an arrogant and violent temper. If it wasn't for Shenzuo Ma and Iwasu Big Toad last time, I'm afraid he would have gone crazy. Regarding Wentai's violent temper, Jiraiya also did not withdraw. I will pay attention next time, I must pay attention. There is another time. After hearing the words of Toad Wentai, Toad G also said, Dad, along and I found a natural hot spring here last time, let's take you bubble. Immediately after, Toad G and Toad Dragon jumped onto the back of Wentai, and under the guidance of the 2, they headed out toward a mountain. Seeing this, Jiraiya also breathed a sigh of relief. Because, Fumita Toad, once the fire starts, he can't figure it out. Shiyu, Naruto. Have you heard, if nothing happens in the future, don't be summoned by this product. Regarding Jiraiya, the 2 also nodded. Immediately after, Jiraiya fixed his eyes on Naruto and asked, Naruto, are you free to use the red chakra now? Sure, but what? Just 12 chances. Hearing Naruto's words, Jiraiya was also stunned, and then looked at Shiyu in confusion. At this time you also talked about the deal with Q, and Jiraiya also gave birth to two doubts because of this. Shiyu, how did you know Ren Zuli, Deathtail will disappear for a while? When Kakashi became our instructor, I investigated him and learned about the death of his teammate Rin Nohara. Advertisement. As of one of the three ninjas, you must know this. It seems you already know who I am. Jiraiya also stunned. The Naruto who heard this is no longer calm. He did not expect that the lecherous immortal who taught him turned out to be one of the legendary three ninjas. For a time, his eyes changed slightly when he looked at Jiraiya, and at the same time, he also knew the reason why Jiraiya was so strong. Shiyu is so smart and good at intelligence gathering. It was not too surprising to be aware of his identity by the latter. After all, he has no identity that can be concealed. Naruto didn't realize it, but he knew very well about the shinobi world. It's less. Shiyu explained that Nohara Rin died because of Sanwei, and later, Sanwei appeared in the fourth generation of Water Shadow, Midachi Tachibana Yakura. This means that even after Ren Zuli died, Tail Beast would definitely not die with it, but definitely not immediately. Get out of trouble and resurrect. Because if this is the case, there is no need for Kyuubi to transport Naruto chakra to ensure his safety when he is in danger. There must be some hidden facts in it. And since the death of 4th generation Water Shadow, there has been no trace of three tails so far, which has vaguely confirmed my guess. Of course, I'm not completely sure. So, I cheated Q just now, and his performance finally confirmed my guess. After listening to Shiyu's rational analysis, Jiraiya also liked the former even more. He knew that Shiyu had a talent for evildoers and had an unawareness of ninjutsu. But he didn't expect that Shiyu's ability to gather information and analyze things was so outstanding, so he boldly made assumptions, but was sealed in Naruto. 9 tails in the body. This series of operations can't find the slightest problem at all. Jiraiya also asked the second question. By the way, how did you know that Nine Tails' name is Nine Llama? I don't know why. I seem to know their names by nature, especially after I awakened Tailed Chakra, the name became clearer and clearer. Yu said nonsense seriously, because he was embarrassed about this question, and he could only throw it at the 6 Tao Immortals. As predicted, after hearing Shiyu's answer, and adding the former's perverted talent, the thought in Zilayi's heart became even stronger. Could he really be the reincarnation of 6 Tao Immortals? However, Jiraiya still has doubts in his mind at this time, because his disciple Uzumaki Nagato possesses the legendary control of the 6 ways of power. The reincarnation therefore, he has reason to suspect that Nagato might be the reincarnation of 6 Tao Immortals. But Shiyu's natural memory. It made his doubts more intense, because it is said that everything in the world was created by the 6 Tao Immortals. Even the tail beast is no exception. But who is the reincarnation of 6 Tao Shanren, or whether 6 Tao Shanren is not reincarnated? It is impossible to know now. For the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Faye. Chapter 81. Later, Jiraiya also confessed to Naruto. There are few opportunities to use it indiscriminately. This novel is first published by Open Hollow Corner Bracket Dragon Close Hollow Corner Bracket. QQ4929238872. Don't be fooled by other fakes. Unique Phylum Novel Standby Group 672,171,357. Phylum Novel Internal Group 1,142,529,731. Phylum Novel Inner Group 2929082961. More exciting Phylum novels are in the hands of the owner. Welcome to the group. I hope you will not be fooled by those deceptive groups. Attachment. This work is from the internet and published books. The work is only for reader's preview. Please delete it within 24 hours of downloading. It must not be used for commercial purposes. If you think this book is good, please buy a genuine book. Thanks for your support. Close black lens bracket key points. I hope I can keep this paragraph when reprinted. It's a bit hard to organize, but retention is a virtue. You can only use it when it is compelling. Naruto nodded as well. In the next few days, Naruto also completely consolidated the psychic art. With the experience of a successful summoning, he only needs to follow that feeling. Therefore, even without using the 9-tailed chakra, Naruto can successfully summon Toad Cat and Toad Dragon. And for a relatively large toad like Toad Loyal, he still needs to hone it. As for the level of Toad Wentai, Naruto now can't do it with his own power. Because of the short training time, his own chakra has not yet been developed to the extreme. It is 3 days before leaving the official competition. Shiyu and Naruto also ended this practice. Naruto basically learned a psychic technique during this practice. As for Shiyu, he learned a few more ninjutsu. For example, Fire Escape Flame Bomb, put the oil trained by chakra in your mouth, and use Fire Escape to burn it while spitting it out. Moreover, Shiyu even realized the open black lens bracket Fire 1 Escape Flame Bullets close black lens bracket at once, and this result shocked Dazilai. Because even the Nagato, who mastered Reincarnation Eyes, was not there. Moreover, Jiraiya also taught Shiyu a trick to cooperate with the toad, which is the Fire Escape Toad Oil Bomb. A combination of ninjutsu, the toad's oil combines with its own fire escape, producing a huge oil firebomb to attack the hand, which is extremely powerful and has a wide range. Earth Dunhuang Spring Marsh create a huge swamp, so that the opponent can't escape until it is buried. This ninjutsu supplements Shiu's lack of Tuden Shun ninjutsu flaws. Although Shiu has mastered it quickly, Jiraiya didn't teach too much, because he didn't want to teach all his unique skills all at once. NS. Moreover, he also wants to exchange some special moves and Shiu for other plots of the legend of Jin Lian. For example, Psychic House Breaking Art. The psychic produces a toad that falls from the sky and makes a jump. Every time it lands, it will generate a heavy pressure and knock a wide range of enemies into the air. Ninfa Frog Transformation Art. The art of turning people into toads can make opponents lose all combat power. What else can be used when the opponent can't resist? Enchantment, Spiral Pill, etc. The smart ninjutsu is still hidden. Advertisement. In short, Gelada still has quite a lot of ninjutsu. However, Shiyu was not in a hurry. As long as Jilai is also interested in The Legend of the Golden Lotus, he will learn these things late. Even if there is no Golden Lotus legend, only after his inspection, he will teach Shiyu his lifelong ninjutsu. Taking a step back, he doesn't teach, and there are people in Miaomushan. After Shiyu and Naruto and Jiraiya separated, they went to the hospital to visit Xiaoli. Xiaoli's body was severely traumatized by forcibly opening the fifth door, but it was still secondary. The most important thing is that one of his hands and one of his feet are hurt by Gaara. I got a comminuted fracture. Of course, Shiyu went to see Xiaoli for another purpose. That is, he knew that Gaara forced his eyes to be blinded by anger, and wanted to kill Xiaoli and vent his anger. When Shiyu and Naruto rushed to Xiaoli's ward, they met Shikamaru, and he also came to see Xiaoli. So the three walked together. And when the three of them arrived at the door of Xiaoli's ward, they happened to meet Gaara opening the door. Shi Yuta. When we saw Gaara, the latter also saw the two of them. It's him. Gaara was also taken aback the moment I saw Shiyu. When Naruto saw this, he didn't say a word, but when he went up, he punched him. What are you doing here? For Gaara, Naruto obviously has no good feelings, because the former hurt Xiaoli like that. But it is a pity that his fist was blocked by sand. When Gaara was silent, Kamaru also said it. What are you doing here? Do you want to do something to thick eyebrows? Naruto agreed. Facing Shikamaru and Naruto's doubts, Gaara finally turned his eyes from Toki to them. A simple and cold-blooded sentence was also spit out from his mouth. I want his life. After hearing Gaara's words, Naruto and Shikamaru were both angry and puzzled. Why are you doing this? Advertisement. Didn't you win the game? Why do you want his life? Could it be that there is something wrong between you? Facing Shikamaru's three consecutive questions, Gaara's emotionless voice also sounded again. Nothing like that. I just want to kill him, nothing more. UB******************. D. After hearing this, Naruto shouted directly, and then angrily said, if you have the ability, you can try it. If you don't let go, you must die together. Hearing Gaara's words, coupled with those eyes that looked like the eyes of death, Naruto and Shikamaru were also shocked. Humph. I'm a monster inside me, I'm not afraid of you. Today, Naruto is able to use the power of Nine Tails, although it is only part of it, but he feels that there is absolutely no problem with using power to deal with Gaara. Monster. Gaara let out a soft voice, and then said, I am destined to be a 200 monster since the day I made my voice. Gaara told Shiyu and others about his birth process. He was enclosed in the Sho Crane incarnation of sand, in his body. It tells why his father, the fourth generation Fengying Luasha, killed him when he was 6 years old, but he mistakenly killed his uncle, Yakamaru, who brought him up by mistake. After hearing what Gaara said, Naruto seemed to be able to understand Gaara's state of mind. Because the two of them had the same experience. If he hadn't met Shiyu, if he hadn't been recognized by Iruka, he might also become Gaara, hating everyone in the world like Gaara. Come on, let us feel your so-called fetters. When Gaara's words fell, Shiyu finally spoke. If you want to kill someone in front of me, I don't think you can do it. Hearing Shiyu's domineering voice, Naruto's uneasy heart because Gaara told the story also immediately settled. In his opinion, as long as you is there sometimes, not to mention Gaara, even if the King of Heaven comes, he will never succeed. This is his absolute belief in Shiyu. Not to mention Naruto, even Shikamaru suddenly had similar thoughts in his heart at this time. I've long wanted to learn about your strength. During the words, the sand on Gaara's body also suddenly rose on the ground and kept flowing in the air. The war is about to start. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read when reading chapter 82. In the hallway, Gaara's sand surrounded him, and the atmosphere dropped to a freezing point. However, Shiyu's words directly caused Gaara's killing intent to stop in the air. Tomorrow is the official game. If you want to fight with me, please qualify for the finals. Gaara knows that Shiyu is very strong, far from being comparable to Naruto's generation. Therefore, he knew that he wanted to defeat the latter by no means an easy task. Maybe he had to use the Shuhei power, so he could only temporarily give up the idea of killing Xiaoli. Okay, I am waiting for you in the final. When the voice fell, Gaara also turned around under the gaze of Shiyu and others. Gaara's departure made Naruto and Shikamaru both relieved, because once they fight, even if they can beat Gaara, they can't guarantee that they can protect Xiaoli. After all, the latter can't move at all now. You are still good, and you persuaded him to retreat in one sentence. Yes, Shikamaru echoed Naruto's words. But at this time, it was not only the two of them who had such thoughts, but also the Emperor Kaihu was standing on the corner. He had originally planned to come forward to stop it, but he discovered that Shiyu had actually stopped the place. From this, it can be seen that Gaara's strength is already troublesome. When Toki and Naruto found Sasuke and Kakashi, they received unfortunate news. That's when Sasuke was hit by Oshimaru, Heaven's Curse Seal. It is a kind of curse forbidden technique that Oshimaru studied based on Shigogo's prototype and the concept of human column power fighting. Libra Shigego. Those who are born with the special ability of spelling of immortals. Corresponding to the curse of the sky, there is a weaker spell, called the curse of the earth. Owners. Junmaro and Red Bean. If nothing else, it should be Oshimaru who knows that it is not easy to get Shiyu. And Sasuke has a strong, bloodstain limit, such as Shaolunyan, and he especially wants a container. Since Shiyu was temporarily unavailable, he naturally locked the target to the weaker Sasuke. Fortunately, Kakashi used the Seal of Evil seal to temporarily seal the Seal of Heaven, otherwise, the current Sasuke wouldn't even be able to use the writing wheel. Let alone practice Chidori. When Kakashi first created this technique, the 4 generations said that this ninjutsu requires extremely fast speed, and it is difficult to keep up with the naked eye. West don't use this ninjutsu. Advertisement. But for good fortune, Kakashi got a Shaolunyan from Zito. With the support of Shaolunyan he can practice Millennium handily, and upgrade it to a stronger one. Open black lens bracket Rach close black lens bracket. It can be said that this Chidori is a ninjutsu created specifically for Shaolunyan. This is why Kakashi wanted to know the reason for Zuo in person. Originally, Shiba could also be practiced so he didn't have Thunder property Chuck. Sasuke was planted with the Heaven's Curse imprint, it looks like it was planted by the Oshimaru, which is an unpleasant thing. But in Shiyu's view, this is not necessarily the case. Since Sasuke can withstand the erosion of the Curse Seal, it is the capital to use this power. Moreover, he knows everything about the Oshimaru, and he also knows the ability of the Heavenly Curse Seal. So, don't worry at all. Of course, this thing is a double-edged sword, and when the time comes in the future, Shiyu will solve this hidden danger for Sasuke. 3 days later, the Kingdom of Wind's Daimyo and 4th generation Wind Shadow. And neighboring ninja village. The bosses of the air all here to visit the final selection of the Chin Shinobi examination. On this day, Konoha is so lively. However, this day is also a day when Konoha is in crisis. Through the corpses of the 3 Kushinoba found outside the Death Forest, Idzuki Bean has concluded that Osai Maru has come to Konoha. Moreover, she also participated in the second exam. When she went to the Death Forest to search, she did find the trace of Oshimaru. What surprised her was that the Oshimaru at that time seemed to be in poor condition, as if he had fought a close rival. This made her quite puzzling. Apart from the dozens of candidates who came out of Death Forest, there were only the examiner at the Zongen level and her special high. Even she is not Oshimaru's opponent, let alone the others. As for the examinee, he was directly ignored. There is no way. After all, Oshimaru is one of the legendary 3 ninjas, how could it be forced into such an embarrassed appearance by the candidates? Although she and Sandai guessed that Oshimaru might be moving today, they never expected that Oshimaru would join forces with Kingdom of the Wind to do things together. Especially the current, 4th generation Fengying. It's Oshimaru that changed. As for the real, 4 generations of Wind Shadow Luasha. It has been killed by Dashawan, and it has skeletal veins in it. His Jimuro can be described as an indispensable contribution. Junmaro. As advertisement. Wei Yi clan. Blood succession boundary, bone vein. Holders. But at this time, only Shiyu knew about this information. There is also the unfortunate news that the referee of the qualifiers, Moonlight Hayate, was killed after eavesdropping on Do and Maji's opponent. It is a pity that Moonlight Hayate died, but it is a pity that Azuki Yuyan. Azuki Yuyan, Konoha's special ninja, is also one of Konoha's few beautiful ninjas. With the passage of time, it is also ushered in the final selection of the Chin Ninja exam. This moment. Everyone gathered in a huge round arena, and a high wall was built around the entire arena. Outside the wall, there are 3 tall buildings. The status of these three positions is self-evident, and it is a place where the Konoha high-level and important people from other countries and various ninja villages watch. At this time, the entire arena was crowded with people, and it was extremely lively. Under the attention of everyone, the voice of the 3 generations of Hokage also slowly sounded. Guests, thank you all for gathering here to participate in the Central Ninja Selection Exam held by our Konoha Hidden Village. The final selection competition will be held by the 8 who passed the qualifier, please watch it. With the fall of the 3 generations of voices, the final selection of the Chin Shinobi exam also kicked off. I saw 9 figures standing in the arena at this time. 8 of the 8 candidates were the 8 candidates who participated in the final selection, and the 9th one was the referee of the game. Especially Shinobu, Shiranui Xuanjian. Hello, I am the referee of this last exam, Shiranui Genma. After a brief introduction of herself, Shiranui Genma recounted the rules of the game with Shiyu and others. After seeing everyone, there is no doubt, he also continued to say. Then start the first set of competition right now. Hinaga Neji vs. Takikawa Tokiha. Chapter 83. Takikawa Tokiha and Hinata Neji, stay. The rest, please go to the rest area outside the stadium to watch the game. Hearing Shiranui Genma, Naruto, Sasuke, Gaara and others also left one after another. At this time, the spectator seats are full of figures. Hinata, Sakura, Dingxi and other advanced 12 Xiaoqiangs are all in the spectator stand, and their eyes are fixed on the two in the field. Ino, do you think Shiyu will win? Kozakura said. I think it will, Ino said very confidently, and from the performance of the 6 Yunin in the Death Forest, it can be seen that Shiyu is quite strong. But Sakura and Hinata obviously don't know it. However, they basically cheer for Shiyu, after all, they are classmates with Shiyu. And Ningxi is just his senior. However, Tian is cheering for Ningxi. If Shiyu's opponent is not Ningxi, Tian will definitely cheer Shiyu. But if good fortune makes people, the two have to choose one. Now she can only choose a teammate with deep feelings. And at this time there are two people in the audience discussing Shiyu, that is the two gate gods of Konoha, Gangzati and Shenyu Izumo. It seems that we felt right at the beginning, this guy is not in the pool. Yes, I'm not surprised that he can persist here. Of course, in addition to people who pay attention to Shiyu, there are naturally people who pay attention to Ningxi. That is the current head of the Hyuga clan, Hinata's father, Hyuga Hinata. And next to him sits 206 or 7-year-old girl, and he is Hinata's younger sister, Hinata Kahuo. Hyuga Hisa stared at Neji in the field, and said to the flower fire. Huahuo, he is by far the most perfect genius who inherited our Hyuga clan lineage, so take a good look. Yes, father. With the sound of fireworks falling, the first game also started quietly. On the field, Shiranui Genma, seeing that Shiyu and Ningxi were ready, they also announced. Then, Central Ninja Exam, the first competition in the final selection. Start now. Hearing that, Ningxi immediately assumed a soft fist starting posture, and he knew that he should not be careless facing Shiyu. He saw this from the scene where Shiyu played against Tamari. I didn't expect to meet you in the first game. I don't know if it is lucky or bad luck. For Ningxi, Shiyu uttered two words very straightforwardly. Unlucky. So let me see your strength. When the voice fell, Ningxi stopped talking nonsense, and directly opened their unique, bloodstain limit Hinata clan. White eyes commonly known as, cataracts. Exclamation mark. And, pink eye disease. Advertisement. Right round eyes and, presbyopia. Open black lens bracket reincarnation eye close black lens bracket the three most powerful pupils in the world. Originally, Shaoli wanted to use this trick to defeat you, but now he can't do it, then. I will do it for him. Hearing Shiyu's words, Ningxi was taken aback for an instant, he obviously didn't know what Shiyu's words meant. He didn't know what it meant until a low drink was spit out from Shiyu's mouth. 8-door Dunjia, the 5th door. Doman, open. As a low drink was spit out from Shiyu's mouth, the skin on his body showed signs of redness, and there was a sparkling green light on his body. It looks like a Super Saiyan, Brawly. However, Shiyu is not exaggerated by Shaoli, and the blue veins are exposed to the air like a horned dragon. That's why Shiyu casts it will be different, that is, Shiyu's comprehension of this physical technique has reached a very high level. Some unnecessary things can be avoided, but this scene falls in the eyes of everyone, but it arouses 1,000 with one stone. It made it impossible for the entire venue to be quiet. Isn't this Shaoli's move? Tiantiandao. Yes, how could Shiyu do too? Ino. Seeing the green light on Shiba in the field, Shiba said, it seems that Shiba is stronger than we thought. In response to this, Gawashino and the others also nodded unanimously. And Gaara saw this scene, and the face that was always calm was rippling again. Obviously, he was beaten terribly by Shaoli in this state. Without the sand of his mother's blood and will, he would have lost in the latter's hands. That's why he wanted to kill Shaoli. It wasn't until this moment that Tamari realized that Shiyu did not lie to her that day. The latter really showed mercy to her. This is the 5th door. The Emperor Kai gave a stunned sound, and then said to Kakashi next to him, did you tell me that he only reached the 3rd door? That was a month ago. Hearing Kakashi's answer, the Emperor Kai was also stunned, and then said, you mean he opened 2 more doors in this month? This is the only explanation. Kakashi was very helpless, but at the same time he was shocked by Shiyu's enchanting talent. If you want to open the 5th door in an instant, you have to have a very high understanding of the 8-door Dunjia body art. Take Shaoli, for example, now he can only open 1 door according to the rules, instead of thinking about Shiyu and Emperor Kai, opening 5 doors at once. Advertisement. This is the gap, and this is the reason why Emperor Kai was so shocked. But if the two of them knew that Shiyu had mastered the 5th door more than a month ago, it is estimated that the eyeballs would have to fall off. Not only that, but even Sandai and Oshimaru were shocked. The 3rd generation was shocked that Shiyu had grown to this point after 2 months, and when Oshimaru was shocked, Shiyu had not used his full strength when he was in front of him. What an evil talent. What a terrible kid. 2 words sounded in the hearts of 2 people at the same time, which was their extremely high evaluation of Shiyu. Don't be in a daze. Shiyu reminded Ningxi and immediately stopped talking nonsense. With the sound of a faint wind-breaking sound, Shiyu's figure has disappeared in place, and when he reappeared, it was already Ningji. The speed of the 5th gate is enough to reach the speed of sound. Even if Ningxi has white eyes, it is impossible to capture Shiyu's movements, because white eyes are not as capable as Chilunian in this respect. Not good. Seeing Shi Yu appear, Ning Si's heart sounded an uneasy voice, but his body was too late to react. Touch. No accident, Ning Si was kicked by Shi Yu. Immediately after, Neji couldn't fall in the sky at all, and was only beaten in front of Toki from Dumen. Boom. With a loud noise, Ning Si was kicked onto the ground directly by Shi Yu, and the sky was full of smoke. Shi Yu didn't use taboo moves, Li Lianhua. He was afraid that Ning Si could not hold it. Everyone felt that there was no suspense in this game after seeing this scene. Because it was a one-sided battle. When the smoke cleared, Neji's figure was also reflected in everyone's field of vision. I saw the former climb up from the ground with difficulty, but what is surprising is that there is a fiery fighting spirit on his face. Shi Yu, I admit that you are very strong. However, I won't admit defeat easily. I knew it would be like this, I should just use Lilianhua to end this game. Seeing Ning Si's stubbornness, Shi Yu sighed and said immediately. In that case, I can only beat you down. When the voice fell, Shi Yu's figure once again disappeared in the same place. But this time, Neji seemed to be prepared. With his powerful perception ability with white eyes, the moment he noticed that Shi Yu was about to appear, he heard a low drink directly from his mouth. Open black lens bracket back to the days close black lens bracket. Soft fist bagua palm back to heaven release a large amount of chakra from the chakra acupoints in the body, and then rotate in a circular motion like a top, which can rebound all physical attacks, which can be said to be another absolute defense. When he deceived his body, when you saw it, he could only retreat. This Huishan defense power is extremely amazing. If you want to attack frontally, it is estimated that the strength increase of Dumen alone will not be enough. Because this trick can be performed continuously until the chakra of the caster is exhausted. This kind of fighting method that consumes the opponent is not what Shi Yu wants. Maybe Shi Yu can use his own strength to forcefully break back to heaven, but it will inevitably cause some damage to the body. Obtaining victory by self-mutilation is obviously not the result that Shi Yu wants. Because physical skills are just one of his many methods. Philo reminds you. 3 things to read, please collect chapter 84. Seeing that Ning Sishi performed the scene of Bagua Zhong Huishan, everyone was shocked. Especially the people of the Hyuga clan. They obviously didn't expect Neji to master this trick, a trick that only the Hyuga sect master can master now. I thought it was a battle without suspense, but now it seems to be worth seeing again. Absolute defense, battle, extreme speed. In the eyes of everyone, if the two sides are consumed like this, it is likely that Shi Yu will lose. Because the consumption of Doman is all round. Moreover, it has great damage to the body. Obviously, this state can't be maintained for too long. If Xiao Li is in this state against Shang Ning Si, the result of such a consumption is really only a loss. But Shi Yu is different, he has a powerful chakra as a backing, and the recovery ability of the tail beast chakra. Although it does not have the perverted resilience of Q, at least it can keep Tekiwa in the state of Dumen for quite a long time. But this is obviously not the result of Shi Yu's opinion. At this point, Shi Yu had a decision in his heart. Physical skill, no, he still has ninjutsu. Of course, if Shi Yu can open the 6th door, Jingmun, it can definitely be broken directly. Because after opening this door, you can use a unique trick. Chao Peacock. If you can use this trick, you can easily crush this so-called another absolute defense, Bagua palm back to the sky. After all, the current Neji has not yet developed this move to its extreme. There is no reason why this unique move can be regarded as the strongest defensive move by the Hyuga clan. It is so powerful that it is beyond imagination. It is like the strong body art of Itsuki Kagaya 80 Sky Magic Strike, which is also based on this principle, but the power of the two cannot be compared. If anyone in the field believes that Shiba is sure to win, it must be Naruto and Sasuke. Because they have seen Shiyu's strength, the latter's strength is far more than that. Just when others were thinking about how Shiyu would face this situation, Shiyu was directly dissipated under their stunned eyes. Force close black lens bracket. Since you don't plan to use physical skills to attack, there is no need to open it. This trick will affect the body after a long time. After all, Shiyu does not have a fairy body. Seeing that Shiyu was still alive after dispersing the power of 8-Gate Dunjia, Emperor Kai was not calm. Kakashi, you can think about it the last time I mentioned that to you. When? Just before the first exam starts. Hearing Kai Huang's words, Kakashi also suddenly realized, and then finally spit out 3 words suddenly. P****s off. After the voice fell, their eyes were locked on Shiyu again, not knowing what the latter would do next. Kakashi knew that even if Shiyu opened the Zulinyan, it was useless, because Huishan was an absolute defense with no dead ends in 360 degrees. What would you do? At this moment, Kakashi had this idea, but everyone present. Advertisement. Even Neji, who was the person involved, is no exception. Now the only trick that can make him fight is this, and he only relies on this trick. That's the question. If Shiyu doesn't take the initiative to attack, how to win this game? Just as he thinks like this, Shiyu's voice directly put him, very good moves, but you haven't mastered it to the extreme. Quote. So what? Ning Si snorted, and then said, you just used that forbidden power, do you still have the power to defeat my defense? Excuse me, in my eyes, there is nothing absolute defense. When the voice fell, Shiyu finally wanted to use ninjutsu, because he didn't want to waste time. I saw Shiyu's palm, his hand. Between the fingers, the ground of the entire arena began to tremble slightly. Next second, grains of sand continued to burst out of the soil and began to condense in the sky. Seeing this scene, everyone was also shocked. Especially the high-level people in the Kingdom of Wind, because this trick gives them a feeling of déjà vu. It's like a father's move. Kanguro said. Yes. Tamari echoed. Not only the two of them, even Gaara was shocked. Immediately after, Tamari also looked at his teacher and asked, Mr. Maji, what do you think? Indeed, this technique is very similar to Master Fengying's magnetic escape secret technique. And in their consternation, Shi Yu's head was full of colorful colors, the condensing of the things has been completed. That thing is not someone else, it is the clear sky hammer. Magnetic escape. Seeing this scene, the three generations above the main seat and Oshimaru were shocked at the same time. 3 generations learned from Kakashi's report that Shiyu has 2 types of open black lens bracket bloodstain limit close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Shulian close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket magnetic escape close black lens bracket, but this was the first time that he saw Shiyu cast, and he was naturally a little excited. Feng Ying, it seems that this bloodstain boundary is no longer exclusive to Yu Wind Kingdom. Advertisement. The 3 generations between the words were full of smiles, and his mood at this moment was undoubtedly very good. Looking at Shiyu, he seemed to have regarded the latter as his future heir. However, he would be disappointed after all. Because Shiyu had no interest in the so-called position of Hokage, guarding Konoha, etc. This guy actually realized a new move. Hearing Kakashi's muttering, the Emperor Kai also said, Kakashi, you seem to know it already. Nonsense, I am his teacher without. Then you didn't say anything for Mao just now. After hearing King Kai's words, Kakashi said, you didn't ask again. It seems so. For these 2 funny conversations, if it is normal, every day, Sakura and the others will definitely be happy to be a melon-eating crowd. But now they don't have this thought, their attention at this time is all attracted by the colorful sledgehammer in the field. What kind of ninjutsu is that? Shikamaru curiously said. That trick magnetic escape clear sky hammer, as a bloodstain limit that Shiyu has mastered. Naruto answered. Immediately after, he was so proud to popularize science with Shikamaru and the others, what exactly is bloodstain limit at the same time? On the field, Shiyu had already controlled the clear sky hammer above the sky and fell towards Ningxi. Shiyu was going to be strong in the front, breaking this so-called absolute defense. Seeing the colorful hammer, Ningxi was unavoidable at this time, because he was already badly injured after being beaten by Shiyu before. Ns. He was slow to move, it was difficult to avoid this attack. Moreover, even if he escaped by luck, Shiyu would still control the clear sky hammer to pursue it. Therefore, he can only choose to confront. No accident, he directly used Wei Tian to meet the attack. From Neji's point of view, as long as he persists until Shiyu Chakra is exhausted and falls down due to exhaustion. That is, he won. Under the attention of everyone, the clear sky hammer directly smashed on the absolute defense of Wei Tian. Boom. A deafening sound came out, causing the hearts of everyone present to tremble. Chapter 85. This moment, everyone's eyes were not on Shiyu, but gathered in the deep pit where the smoke and dust had dispersed. Because they knew that Ningxi's state represented the direction of this competition. If Ningxi resisted a blow, then this game might continue. But if it doesn't, it means the end of the competition. The next second. In the tense gaze of everyone, Neji's figure also entered their field of vision. It's just that the latter is not standing at this time. It was lying down. This result was undoubtedly telling everyone that Shiyu had won this game. On the field. Shiyu looked at Ningxi lying in the deep pit. Before he could speak, the latter spoke first. Why are you merciful? Ningxi knew that if Shiyu hadn't kept his hands just now, he would be half disabled even if he was immortal now. We are a competition, not a life and death battle. Of course, if you were just 2200. If you kill me, then I will definitely not show mercy. After Shiyu's voice fell, he immediately looked at Shiranui Genma and said, Referee, you can announce the result. Hearing this, the Shiranui Xuanjian finally came back to his senses in a daze. Obviously, this competition gave too much shock. The collision of the 2 kinds of bloodstain limits. The most embarrassing thing is that after Shiyu opened the 5th gate of 8-gate Dunjia, nothing happened. This is undoubtedly subverting his cognition. The first group of winners is Takikawa Tokiha. After Shiranui Genma announced the result of the game, everyone was completely awake. As a result, there was continuous applause in the venue. Papa. Upon seeing this, Naruto said first. Hey, I've said everything, Shiyu is unlikely to lose. Sasuke didn't have any surprises about this. But Shikamaru, Tiantian, Sakura and others are not calm, they know that Shiba has become a lot stronger. But I didn't expect the latter to be so strong. It was almost like a monster. It even defeated the first freshman last year, Hyuga Neji, with white eyes. Moreover, it was still a head-on defeat. It can be seen that Shiyu's strength is definitely higher than that of Neji, but as for how much he has surpassed. Advertisement. Obviously they couldn't see this. Because Shiyu didn't expose too much, and used 2 tricks from beginning to end. They couldn't see it, but as Kakashi, Matkai and others could feel it. If Shiyu didn't have strong strength, it would be basically impossible to defeat the ultimate defense technique of Wei Tian frontally. This is what the head of the Hyuga clan knows best. At this time, the Hyuga Nizu looked at the energetic Toki, and there was an unspeakable feeling in his heart, especially after hearing the sound of fireworks. Ah dad, the guy named Takikawa time is so strong. Hearing this, the Japanese foot didn't speak, but turned his gaze to Ning-si, and a whisper sounded in his heart. Maybe it's time to tell him. On the field, when Shiyu left, he did not forget to say a few words. Ning-si, the curse seal called, the bird in the cage, is indeed unfair to your separation. But have you ever thought about it? If those caught birds are smart, one day they will break 5, come out of the cage, and soar into the 9 heavens again. When the voice fell, Shiyu strode away directly, and said another sentence when passing by Ning-si. Oh, right, according to my investigation, your father's death was voluntary. Hearing Shiyu's words, Ning-si was instantly sluggish while lying in the deep pit. Because in the first exam he learned about Shiyu's collection of love. Ability to report, but as for whether this news is true or not, it remains to be determined. At this point, Ning Kai looked at the Japanese foot above the audience seat. However, he was surprised to find that the latter was also looking at him at this time, and the two eyes looked at each other in the air. Until Neji was also carried down by the medical staff, this ended the silent stare. When Yu returned to the rest area, he was also given a meal by everyone, praise. Especially some girls have formed a cheerleading team at this moment. This is undoubtedly the most sorrowful. But there are also joys and naturally some worries. Wanshi is Naruto, Ino and others, and this sorrow is naturally a person from the Kingdom of Wind. Gaara looked at Shiyu, and had no rush to play against the latter. As for Temari and Konkuro, they became more and more jealous of Shiyu, and even their teachers had a kind of in their hearts, they can't explain the way. Unknown feeling. For some reason, Shiyu's harmless appearance made him feel dangerous. This is the intuition of being a ninja. Takiwa was interviewed by Naruto, Shikamaru and others in the rest area, and Kakashi in the position of teacher was no exception. At this time, Kaihuang, Yurihong and Asma and others all eyes fell on him. Advertisement. And the pocket who pretended to be Anbi hiding in the venue was also taken aback. Now he seemed to understand why Onimaru told him to pay attention to this person named Takikawa Takiwa, but he just understood it a little, he still didn't know Takiwa. How strong is it? At the scene, the only person I have experienced is Oshimaru. Takikawa Tokiha, you really gave me so many surprises. He knew that Shiyu was very strong, but he obviously didn't expect that the latter would also have the bloodstain limit. Dashimaru's gaze stared at Shiyu, his eyes gleamed, and his heart was drooling. After I master Shilunian, I will definitely look for you again. Oshimaru's thoughts are very simple. At the same time. Soon after Neji was taken to the infirmary, Hyuga Nizu appeared. As predicted, everything is just like Shiyu's words, his father, Hinata Nisa, volunteered to die for his brother, Hinata Hisus. He is for himself, but also for the people. And when Ningji was talking with the Japanese football, the second Group 2 competition of the final selection of Chin Ninja exam also began. Next start the second Group 2 match. Konkuro vs. Yu Nishino. However, before the game started, Konkuro voluntarily abstained. Everyone is puzzled about his abstention. But only Shiyu knows that Konkuro does not want to reveal his strength, because he stands in the arena to show his puppet secret skills. His whole cards were known, and it was not conducive to the next plan. After watching Konkuro's abstention, naturally it was the turn of the third group of competitions. Because of Survey 905, the contestant abstains, then the winner of the second group is Yu Nishina. Then the next start is the third set of competitions. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Nara Shikamaru. After hearing his name, Naruto was also extremely excited, because he couldn't wait to show his cultivation results. Shikamaru, let's go. When Naruto's voice fell, it did not wait. Shikamaru replied, pulling the ladder directly and heading towards the playing field. When Naruto and Shikamaru were in a duel, Shiyu found Kakashi. Originally, he was not interested in Oshimaru's plan to destroy Konoha, but the latter caught his attention. Naturally, he made him quite uncomfortable. Moreover, he secretly counted Sasuke while he and Jiraiya were practicing. The younger brother was bullied. As the boss, he naturally needs to do something. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read and collect chapter 86. In the venue, the teacher's seat. The already active atmosphere became more lively with Shiyu's arrival. I really mean Sao is here. Seeing Shiyu walking slowly, Shiraihong teased, and an extremely attractive smile bloomed on her pretty face. The kind that ordinary men are very resistant. Everyone who heard this, their eyes all focused on Shiyu. Obviously, Yu gave them an extremely deep impression during the previous battle. In their eyes, Shiyu not only possesses great strength, but also knows how to handle it. If not, the move Magnetic Escape Clear Sky Hammer just now might kill Ning-si. Upon seeing this, Shiyu also said politely, hello teachers. Shiyu, don't you stay in the rest area, why are you running here? As Shiyu's instructor, Kakashi asked first. Mr. Kakashi, I have something to talk to you alone. Yo, what can't we listen to? King Kai said. Originally, he had a good impression of Shiyu, and coupled with the fact that Shiyu had been merciful to Ning-si's 18 times just now, he liked Shiyu even more. Seeing Shiyu's serious look, Kakashi didn't refuse to pick him up, and followed Shiyu to an empty corner. Shiyu, what is it that makes you so cautious? Kakashi-sensei, You can understand the purpose of Oshimaru coming to Konoha. His goal should be Sasuke. As for whether he has other goals, it's unclear. Kakashi responded, and then said, Shiyu, do you know something? I was only skeptical, but when I saw the scene just now, with so many ninjas from Otoyan village and Windland Sand ninja players abstaining, I felt more and more that a conspiracy was brewing. What about this? First, I killed 3 Otonin in the second test. According to them, they came to assassinate Sasuke. I was torturing one of them and learned that they were sent by Oshimaru. Advertisement. Furthermore, their purpose is not to Chunin exam but simply to kill Sasuke. But there are so many ninjas from Yinyan village appearing in the venue today. Could it be that they are just here to watch the battle? And if they are here to kill Sasuke, this is not in line with common sense. First of all, it is undoubtedly a dead end to do something here. Secondly, if he wants to kill Sasuke, he can do it before. There is no need to wait until now, and he will not plant Sasuke any curse seal. So, their purpose is definitely not simple. Hearing Shiyu's words, Kakashi also nodded. Then you mentioned the Kingdom of Wind just now. Could it be that they also have problems with it? Moyu nodded and analyzed. Master Card, the Kingdom of Wind has always been suppressed by our Fire Kingdom, and their Sand Ninja basically cannot receive many tasks a year. First, why would I have already taken the initiative to propose that Central Ninja Test, held by Konoha, would you like to be a dog licker? Secondly, it's the Sand Shinobu named Konkuro just now. He managed to get into this final selection after hard work. Why did he give up silently without a chance? You may not know, this Konjuro is the son of 4 generations of Fengying who owns this. He who has a heavy identity represents the face of the Kingdom of the Wind, but he resolutely abstained. But these are not the key points. The point is that the 4th generation Fengying sitting next to the 3rd generation of Hokage is a fake. But Shiyu's last sentence fell, and Kakashi's face suddenly changed. What did you say? That Fengying is a fake. Shiyu nodded, and then said, because we have seen him in Death Forest. At that time, he still appeared with the face of Kushinen. Death Forest Grass Ninja, Kakashi murmured, because it is true that this incident has been reported to 3 generations of Red Beans. Immediately after, a face appeared in Kakashi's mind, and he said in shock. Shiyu, you don't mean to tell me that the one sitting in Fengying's position now, is Oshimaru, right? Advertisement. If the person who pretended to be Sao Ren in the Death Forest is Oshimaru, then he is it. Because I have fought with him, his appearance can change, but the chakra mark 1 left on him will not disappear. What? You fought with Oshimaru? Kakashi was extremely shocked during the words. He knew who Oshimaru was. That is the legendary Sannin, even if he is jealous of it. But Shiyu has not only fought with him, but now he can stand in front of him intact. Seeing the shocked look on Kakashi's face, Shiyu also said. Maybe he released the water. Maybe. In this regard, Kakashi can only choose to believe. If not, could it be said that the current Shiyu has surpassed him and has the strength to fight against Oshimaru? For this answer, he would rather believe the former. Shiyu, but you alone can prove and guess that it is impossible for us to verify Fengying. It's not easy. Teacher Kakashi, have you forgotten that Hyuga clan's white eyes can identify a person's chakra? Just let the Hyuga clan remember my 200 chakras, or someone in the Hyuga clan knows the Oznakemaru chakras, let them open white eyes and look at it from a distance, and you can prove what I say is wrong. It's empty. Refer to 5 Shadows talk. Shi Danzang's writing round eyes was seen through by the misty Qing who relied on the ability to white eyes to recognize that it belonged to Shisui's chakra. He heard Shiyu's words. Kakashi was also taken aback. Yeah, why didn't I think of it? In this way, it is possible to find out if Fengying is a fake Oshimaru without disturbing anything. I have to hurry up and discuss the matter with other people. If this matter is true, then the matter will be a big deal. When the voice fell, Kakashi also hurried away with Shiyu. Needless to say, they went to find someone from the Hyuga clan. At the same time, the battle between Naruto and Shikamaru in the arena is also nearing an end. At this time Naruto has been controlled by Shikamaru's shadow imitation. With his clever mind, Shikamaru is about to win. Shikamaru controls Naruto to get the ladder to the corner. As long as he keeps hitting the air, Naruto will hit the wall. In this way, once Naruto faints, it will undoubtedly represent his victory. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download Fei Chapter 87. Kong dang. Along with a muffled noise, a cry also rang from Naruto's mouth. What? Immediately afterwards, Naruto glared at Shikamaru and shouted from the air, Shikamaru, your ninjutsu is too despicable. If I am considered mean, then you just asked a dozen shadow clones to hit me, that would be shameless. Naruto was also stunned by Shikamaru's rebuttal. Okay. But, can you not let me hit the wall? Sure, real. Naruto said seriously. Certainly. Shikamaru nodded, and then said, but the premise is that you give up. Admit defeat. Naruto gave a light break and shouted loudly, it is impossible to admit defeat. It is impossible for me to give up in my life. There are no such 2 words in my dictionary. There is no way, I can only wrong you a bit, but I don't know how many times you can hold on, hehe. Hearing Shikamaru's laughter, Naruto knew that if this continued, he would definitely lose. He managed to get into this final selection, and he absolutely can't stop here, he wants everyone to prove it. He, Naruto Uzumaki, is not worthless. Moreover, he doesn't want to lose to Sasuke. At this point, Naruto already has an idea in his heart, and now he has gone to the sealed world, where Q is located. And in the audience at the venue at this time. If nothing else, Naruto will lose. Kozakura said. That's for sure, although Shikamaru is not the best, but his mind is the smartest. Ino said triumphantly, she was very proud of being Shikamaru's teammate. Ding Si nibbled the potato chips in his hand and nodded in agreement. Not only did they think so, but even Hinata and others were no exception. No matter how you look at the current situation, Shikamaru is at an advantage. Advertisement. Upon seeing this, Ding Si's father Autumn Dao Ding Zuo also said, Lu Ju, your son is very good, and he has completely inherited your pedigree of wisdom. Really, when I played chess with him, I discovered that this kid is not easy. Asma agreed. For the compliments of the two, Lu Ju's face also raised a smile, which is his identification with his son. And just when everyone thought that the game was going to end with Shikamaru's victory, the sudden change occurred. I saw that Naruto, who was controlled by Shikamaru and slammed into the wall, was now resisting with his own strength. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Especially that Narulukisa, Shadow Secret Art, played the thief, he naturally knew how difficult it was to do this. The appearance of the present scene can only explain one thing. That is, Naruto's power has surpassed too much, or in other words, what special power Naruto possesses, thus resisting this kind of control. Sure enough, when Lu Ju's thought came up, Naruto's body sent out a strange and powerful chakra. It is a kind of red chakra! Exclamation mark. This scene made everyone in the field. This chakra feels absolutely right, it is 9 tails. When can he use 9 tails chakra? The 3 generations of words are incomparably surprised. Because they Konoha have had 3 Renjuli since they had 9 tails. However, so far, only the first person, human Zhu Li, can use 9 tails chakra. She is the wife of Senjuzuma Uzumaki Mito. But she just relied on her own strength to forcibly misappropriate 9-tailed chakra and could not be connected with 9-tailed. Naturally, it is impossible to completely control its power. From this we can see how powerful she is. Even Tsunade's 100 Grand Art was inspired by her. Although 100 Grand Art was not created by Uzumaki Mito, it originated from her. A kind of sealing technique, yin seal. But Naruto is different. The latter has a few caddies and 2 or 3 generations. In his opinion, there is only one possibility that Naruto can use the power of 9 tails. That is, 9 tails voluntary. At this point, the 3 generations are naturally shocked. If Naruto can really become the perfect human column power, then the strength of their Konoha hidden village will instantly increase several levels. For this, he never doubted. At this moment, there was another person who was shocked more abruptly. He is Gaara, who is also Renjuli, because he can feel that this strange chakra is similar to the existence in his body. However, it is much more domineering than that. And Shikamaru, as the person involved, is undoubtedly the one who shocked the most. He has never had this situation since he learned shadow imitation technique. Naruto, you, Shikamaru, this is one of the fruits of my practice. As Naruto's 9-tailed chakra grew richer, Shikamaru finally couldn't support it. Advertisement. Because his chakra had already consumed too much when he was fighting Naruto's shadow clone, and now he has no resistance at all against the 9-tailed chakra. Because of this, the few chakras left in the body are also exhausted. Just when Naruto was about to fight back, the knowing Shikamaru spoke directly. I surrender. Shikamaru is not stupid, he knows that if he doesn't admit defeat now, he will definitely be beaten by Naruto. Especially since he just let the latter hit the wall just now. Naruto, who heard this, was also taken aback, but still stopped the body that wanted to rush out. Although the victory is joyful, there is inevitably a small loss in his heart. Because he just wasted an opportunity like this, the main thing is that he hasn't started to exert his strength yet. In the third set of competition, Naruto Uzumaki wins. As the voice of Shiranui Genma fell, this result was undoubtedly spread throughout the entire venue in an instant. At this moment, everyone can recover in a daze. Luju, Ding Zuo and others, who know the power in Naruto's body, can also understand Shikamaru's failure, but how their curious Naruto controls 9 tails compared to them, Ino, Sakura and others were even more shocked. They obviously did not expect that Naruto, the 10,000 years crane tail, would have won again, and there was a murmur in his heart. It seems that I am not wronged. However, Naruto, I will definitely not lose to you next time. Right, Akamaru. The teeth between the words touched the little milk dog in his arms. Wow. After Naruto's victory, the fourth group of competition also kicked off immediately. Let's start the last set of competition. Uchiha Sasuke versus Gaara. As the voice of Shiranui Genma fell, Sasuke looked at Gaara, biting his teeth. Gaara didn't put him in the eyes at all, which made him very unhappy as a genius. And as the battle between Sasuke and Gaara is in full swing, another thing is quietly carried out in another place in the venue. Kakashi, what you said is true. During the words, Hyuga Hazu looked at Kakashi and Toki in amazement. Is it true? As long as you probe with white eyes. Hearing Kakashi's words, after a few seconds of contemplation, Nizu nodded to the right. Because it is easy for him to spy on Feng Ying with white eyes, but if he doesn't do it, it is very likely to be a disaster in exchange. As a member of Konoha, he has no reason to refuse. Phailu reminds you. 3 things about reading. Chapter 88. Medical Room. After the discussion, Hyuga Nisuda and Kakashi left immediately. Shiyu. Why? I'm not reconciled to losing in my hands. No. Ning Si shook his head during the words, hesitated for a few seconds. 3s, which were difficult to speak, were slowly spit out from his mouth. Thank you. What am I going to do? Shiyu smiled slightly and continued. It seems that you have already flown out of that, the cage that binds you. When the voice fell, Shiyu didn't procrastinate, and followed the pace of Kakashi and Kakashi. Hyuga Nizu, I am not very familiar with the chakras of Oshimaru because they don't have much contact with each other. Therefore, the best way to prove it is the chakra mark left by Shiyu. This chakra mark is a technique. Shiyu realized when he mastered the Flying Thunder God art, once the Flying Thunder God art was imprinted on the human body, it would never disappear. Powerful people can be erased by chakra. For example, after bringing soil into the 6 paths mode, the Flying Thunder God technique on the body disappears. As for the weak, there is no way. However, they may be able to try the 200 method of peeling the skin and meat, but only if they find that they have the Flying Thunder God technique. Moreover, you have to know where, otherwise, you can only have one meal. Chaos. If it is possible, the Orioyu substitute technique can be solved if it is possible. But the problem is that Shiyu has slightly improved. Flying Thunder God technique can be skinned. Elimination, but chakra, who has penetrated into the flesh and blood, can't be wiped out. Of course, this chakra will disappear after a period of time. The time to disappear depends on the amount of chakra injected, and Shiyu can last at least 2 to 3 months. In order not to let the Oshimaru notice, Shiyu didn't inject too much. After all, Oshimaru is also one of the 3 forbearances, and its methods are far more comparable. Naturally, we have to be more cautious. After a while, Shiyu, Kakashi, and Nissan came to a position where you can see the location of Oshimaru. Japan Football and Kakashi glanced at each other, and then they didn't talk nonsense, and directly opened their eyes. Immediately after, the sun's foot is the color of chakra on the body of Feng Ying Luo Sha, which is purple. Advertisement. This color, luster, and the same as open black lens bracket Oshimaru close black lens bracket. Chakra's basic color is generally blue, but after practice, some people will show a different color. For example, Naruto is yellow, Sasuke is purple, Itachi is red, Shisui is green, etc. After getting this result, the Japanese football team was shocked. The purple chakra is the same as the Oshimaru. Hearing the words of the sun, Kakashi hurriedly said, then look at whether there are other chakras in his body. There is still a little golden chakra. Hearing the words of the sun, Shiyu palmed his palm, condensing a chakra in his palm and said, Uncle Nizu, but me. Hearing that, the Japanese foot glanced at it, and after repeated comparisons, it was the final confirmation. It can't be wrong, it's exactly the same color as the color in your hand. Hearing this, Kakashi was also extremely shocked. This result is undoubtedly telling him that everything that Shiyu said before is true, and the one sitting next to the 3 generations. Feng Ying is a fake from Osaki Maru. The 3 of them after discussing. It was decided to secretly inform the 3 generations of this time, and not to stun the snake, so as not to harm the innocent. Kakashi. Let Shiyu return to the resting area, and once there is something abnormal, immediately notify others to leave. They are all Konoha's new blood, there can be no mistakes. But he and Hyuga Hisus leave quickly, they have to prepare to meet the conspiracy of Oshimaru. When you return to the resting area, the match between Gaara and Sasuke was also quite fierce, which drew everyone's cheers. Even Gaara himself didn't expect that besides Shiyu, there was still something that would make him interested. After a simple confrontation with Gaara, Sasuke finally revealed the results of his training this month. This fast lightning movement made Xiao Li and Kaihuang slightly startled. It's exactly the same as the physical technique I used. Xiao Li said, it's a fast movement, similar to Xiao Li's standard movement, and the speed is as fast as Xiao Li taking off the load. Emperor Kai secretly said in his heart. The eyes of the 2 of them showed incredible colors at the same time. You must know that Xiao Li has reached such a speed but has worked hard for several years. However, it only took Sasuke a short period of 1 month. Although Sasuke's cultivation results made them both very astonished, compared to the previous Shiyu, it was insignificant. Advertisement. At the same time, in the arena, after possessing the ultimate speed, Sasuke clearly has the upper hand. At this moment, Gaara is in a passive position, only defensive. The Oshimaru on the high platform is also happy when he sees this. It seems that this spare tire did not disappoint me. In the eyes of Oshimaru today, Sasuke has become a spare tire because his main dish has become Tokiba. But Gaara is obviously not a soft persimmon, let Sasuke take care of it. At this time Gaara will use sand to form a hollow sphere and completely wrap it inside. This trick is called Sand Shield, also known as Absolute Defense. Because of this, Sasuke is a headache. Because he can't attack Gaara at all, but Gaara can hide in Sand Shield and attack himself. If this continues, he will lose if he is exhausted. It seems that he can only use that trick. When the thought fell, Sasuke didn't talk nonsense, and directly distanced himself from Gaara. Sasuke jumped onto the wall, and then his hand suddenly became imprinted. Next second, everyone saw a powerful chakra in Sasuke's hands, and the sound of incomparably piercing electric current came from it, and the sound was like 1,000 birds screaming at the same time. Seeing this scene, Kai Huang, Shi Raihong and others were all surprised. As that trick, unexpectedly, Kakashi actually taught him that trick. When Naruto saw this scene, he was also extremely shocked while envious. What kind of ninjutsu is that? Shikamaru, Sakura and others definitely don't know about Naruto's question, but Shiyu has solved everyone's curiosity. That trick is Kakashi teacher's stunt, called Chidori. Chidori. Seeing everyone's doubts, the Emperor Kai on the side also briefly explained this move to everyone. No one knows Kakashi's skill better than him. And just after the Emperor's explanation, Sasuke stepped on the wall with one foot, and then his whole body soared out like a cannonball. With this strength of his Sasuke, he made his speed faster by a minute. The next second. Under the horrified gaze of everyone, the Chidori of the assistants directly ran into the sand shield condensed by Garanayusha. See the novel without underline, please download and fly. Chapter 89. In the venue. At this moment, everyone's gathered on the 1,000 birds and sand shield. They can clearly see that Sasuke's arm has been embedded in the sand at this time. This result is undoubtedly telling everyone. Gaara's sand shield was broken by Sasuke's Chidori. Although I didn't think that Shiwa had previously defeated Neji, Hayden, so simply and crudely. But breaking is breaking. Seeing this scene, the most shocking is the sand ninja of knowledge of the wind, especially the Tamari trio who knows the strength of Gaara best 3. How can this be? He actually gave Gaara's absolute defense too. This Uchiha kid. When they were shocked, Gaara was already injured by Sasuke while in the sand shield. For this reason, it made him even more crazy. Sasuke seemed to feel something wrong, and immediately withdrew his arm back. And the moment he pulled out his arm, it was accompanied by a splash of scarlet blood. Before Sasuke came back to his senses, one arm was sand shield suddenly protruded. But what is shocking is that the arm is no longer a normal person's arm, but an arm covered with sand, which is covered with weird runes. Only a few people at the scene knew that it was Shuhei's arm. It's the hand of that thing. Konkuro exclaimed. Gaara didn't seem to have the power to do this shield of sand, so the sand spread out for a while, revealing his figure. As predicted, Gaara was injured, and hot blood was still flowing on my body. But at this moment, Pocket the illusion was suddenly launched, and the plot of Oshimaru kicked off. Suddenly, a giant python appeared outside the venue, and it looked like the one in the Death Forest. The largest one is the Black Snake. Black Snake is not million snakes, it is just one of the stronger psychic beasts in Longdedong. Seeing Osnake Maru destroying Konoha has almost begun, and Maki, Tamari, and Konkuro 3 have also come to Gaara. When Maki saw Gaara was injured, even his consciousness was a little unconscious, so he asked Tamari and Konkuro to take him away first. Advertisement. Sasuke was also bewildered when he saw this sudden situation. But when Maki was about to join the battle, he was stopped by the referee Shiranui Genma. Sasuke, go after Gaara and them. He gave it to me. Hearing Shiranui Genma, Sasuke also gritted his teeth and followed the Gaara 3. And in the audience at this time, Kakashi and the others, who had been prepared for a long time, unlocked the illusion in an instant, and Naruto and others also broke away from the illusion with the help of Shiyu. Seeing everyone free from the illusion in an instant, Pouch was also surprised. Pocket, I know it's you, don't hide it. Hearing Kakashi's words made Pouch even more shocked, and even the latter could see through his identity. At the same time, a large number of Otonin gathered beside Do in surprise, all of which were placed in the venue in advance. Kakashi, even if you see through my identity, Konoha is destined to be inevitable today. Oh, is it? Kakashi didn't panic on his face during the words, and continued, it seems that you are also very. Have confidence. If your confidence comes from the fake Fungying Dashawan, I advise you to give up. Hearing this, the Pocket was completely stunned. Why didn't he expect Kakashi to even know this piece of information? Pouch looked at the high platform in the center in amazement, and found that Hokage at this time was confronting Fenkage Oshimaru. Dashi Maru glanced at a piece of stand-in wood under his feet, and looked at 3 generations with sorrow. Teacher, I think I pretend to be excellent, how did you discover me? If I said I was a teenager, would you believe me? 3 generations said, juvenile, your memory shouldn't be so bad, don't you forget who you fought in Death Forest. Advertisement. It's that kid. There was a deep consternation in the eyes of Dashi Wan in the words, how did he never imagine that it would be Shiyu when he saw through himself? After some consternation, Oshimaru immediately calmed down. Teacher, it's a pity that you found it a bit late. My subordinates and Wind Kingdom, San Shinobu have sneaked into the city for a long time. At this time, they are disintegrating Konoha's foundation one by one. Orochimaru, if you think that you can destroy Konoha in this way, then you look down on me too much, and you look down on Konoha's ninja too. Teacher, you should worry about yourself first. Now that you are trapped by me in this 4 purple flame formation, you are destined to die today. 4 purple flame array, it is a kind of enchantment ninjutsu, which needs to be jointly performed by 4 people and 4 to activate it. At this time, the 4 powerful subordinates of the 4 Otoyamaru who launched this ninjutsu, 4 Otonin 4, are all able to skillfully use Curse Seal. Gui Tong Maru, Taiyuya, Siamese baby close to right. Jirofang. But the four of them use ordinary curse seals, and the stronger curse seals is divine land, the imprint of the curse, and the imprint of the heaven. In addition to Midori red beans, there is also a curse seal of the earth, that is Kimuro. The strength of Junmaro, who successfully integrated the curse of the earth, completely crushed 4 Odonin 4 members, so we have the theory of 5 Odonin 5 members. Facing the barrier of the 4 purple flame formation, displayed by the 4 of Odonin and 4 Konoha's Andi couldn't go in and help 3 generations. This result obviously exceeded the expectations of the 3 generations. In the big formation at this time, Oshimaru has already fought with 3 generations, and even first generation and second generation were both reincarnated by unclean earth reincarnation. The battle went into intense heat, and 3 generations directly summoned his own psychic beast, Ape Demon. Although it is a weakened version of first generation and second generation, it is quite difficult to deal with third generation. First, he must be on guard at all times on Oshimaru. Second, he is old and a little too powerless. And Oshimaru channeled the first generation and second generation for only 2 reasons. The art of reincarnation of the dirty earth is not yet proficient. Completely first generation and second generation, he can't control it at all. During the Fourth World War, the reason why Dashawan was able to suppress the second generation was because the body was transformed into a Baiju with primary cells. Dashimaru can barely control it by relying on the primary cells. Under the high platform, in the audience, Kakashi, Kaihuang and others are dealing with the Odonin troops led by Do and protecting the villagers present. As for Shiyu, he and Naruto have chased Gaara for 5 years. Philo reminds you 3 things to read when reading. Chapter 90. Among those who left, in addition to Shiyu and Naruto, there is also a dog. It is called Open Black Lens Bracket Awang Close Black Lens Bracket. It is Kakashi's psychic beast, and its sense of smell is extremely sharp, which can help Shiyu and the others find Gaara. In this regard, Shiyu naturally did not refuse. However, shortly after Shiyu and the 2 left, Pouch also asked 9 elites Odonin to chase and kill. From this, we can see how much Pocket attaches importance to Shiyu. However, he never thought that Shiyu's strength in the game was just the tip of the iceberg. When the 9 Odonin approached Shiyu and the others 100 meters away, Huang said, "Shiyu, Naruto. There are 2 teams chasing after, a total of 8 people, oh no, there is 1 person at the end." 9 people, Shiyu murmured. They haven't been able to grasp our position, but they are already very close. Obviously there is 2200 among them. Very strong sentient ninja. They should all have strengths above Zongren, and the last one is stronger, and should have the level of special Shangren. Once we are caught up by them, we will have to finish it. Awang, just after his voice fell, Shiyu stopped abruptly. Upon seeing the situation, Awang was taken aback for a moment, and then hurriedly reminded. "Shiyu, what are you doing? If you are caught up, you will have to explain your fate here. Isn't it just 9 people and it's done?" Hearing Shiyu's words, Huang was immediately stunned. He once thought that Shiyu had been kicked in the brain by a donkey. The opponent has 8 people, 1 is the upper ninja. And they only have 2 lower ninjas and himself, and it is still a dog, except for its keen sense of smell, it has no fighting power at all. "You sure?" Awang, the voice just fell, and before Shiyu could answer, Naruto was the first to speak. "Awang, don't worry, Shiyu never fights an uncertain battle." But, Awang, he didn't speak yet, but was interrupted by Naruto. "It's nothing, you are a psychic beast, and it's a big deal later that you just run away by yourself." Advertisement. Awang for a moment, he said. "Although I am a ninja dog, I am also a loyal ninja dog, okay? Ninja, aren't you a dog?" Hearing Naruto's words, Awang couldn't help but glared at Naruto, Wang. He declared his dissatisfaction. After a while, Tokiba and the others, who stopped at the same place, were soon overtaken by 8 Odoninosaurs. When meeting the 2 of Shiyu, one of Odonin also sneered. "Oh, can't you run? Pocket, what does your lord call to proceed carefully?" The other person said, "It's just 2 little ghosts, what are you afraid of?" Hearing this, the others also nodded. They are all Zongren, and they are completely small when dealing with the 2 little ghosts. They don't understand why Pouch is so cautious. However, when such doubts arose in their hearts, they suddenly felt their bodies sinking underneath. In an instant, their eyes gathered at their feet one after another, and they were shocked, because they found that they and others were in a swamp. How can there be a swamp here? Damn, you ask me, who am I asking? Hurry up and find a way to get out. They never thought of it. At the moment when they waited for someone to land, Shiyu already quietly displayed Open Black Lens Bracket Earth Escape Yellow Spring Marsh Close Black Lens Bracket. Earth Dunhuang Spring Marsh create a huge swamp, so that the opponent can't escape until it is buried. Toki learned this trick from Jiraiya. Just when they were about to use Chain Shuriken or Ninjutsu to escape, Toki had already flown out 8 darts in his hand. Without any accident, they directly pierced their hearts. At this point, the 8th Zongnin was killed by Shiyu in an instant. Upon seeing this, Naruto couldn't help but shouted, "Shiyu, where did you learn this trick?" Naruto and Shiyu have been together, knowing that there was no marsh quagmire with Ben just now, this is definitely Shiyu's ninjutsu. Advertisement. Laughter Fairy. What? Naruto exclaimed, and then pursed his little mouth. The horny fairy is too bad, he only teaches you but not me. HMPH, next time I see him, I will let him teach me. Naruto was not too surprised that Shiyu was able to kill 8 Zongmen. After all, he had seen Shiyu and Oshimaru fight. Although neither of them used their full strength, it was definitely better than Zhang Ren. However, A Huang looked silly. Because he didn't expect Shiyu to be so strong, he could solve the nickname Zongren so easily. It is estimated that this kind of thing can only be done by elite upper ninja. Upper ninja is divided into 3 levels: special upper ninja, elite upper ninja. The so-called special upper ninja means there is some special talents have been promoted to the upper ninja. Their strength is between the elite middle ninja and the upper ninja, such as Midori Azuki, Moonlight Hayate, Mori Milk Ibiki, etc., and the upper ninja is a solid pass. Those who are evaluated for promotion, such as Nara Lukisa, Akuto Dingza, and Yamanaka Kai. As for elite upper ninja, as the name suggests, it is the elite level of upper ninja, such as Kakashi, Metkai, Sarutobi Asma, etc. For this scene, the shock is not only Awang, a dog, but also an Odonin who is observing in secret. He was just Awang who explained that special shinin who was hiding at the end. Although he knew that Shiyu killed these 8 Odonin had a layout and occupied a huge part, but he had to admit Shiyu's excellent. When he was still in consternation, Shiyu's next sentence surprised him again. The mouse hiding behind is not going to come out yet. Is it discovered? The Ming Yin Ren murmured, and there was also a moment of sorrow on his face. As a special upper ninja, his concealment technique is excellent. How could he be discovered by a lower ninja? Of course, it was not Shiyu who was able to find out that he was credited. It was also thanks to the previous reminder from Awang that he said there were 9 enemies in total, but only 8 people just appeared. Originally, he was still thinking about how to find out the position of that person. Until he killed 8 Odonin just now, that special top ninja was exposed to position 0 because of his astonishment. 5 sets. Coupled with the existence of Awang, his whereabouts are no longer a secret. Da, da, da. With the sound of slight footsteps, a dark shadow also appeared from behind the 8 Odonin. When it walked out of the dim forest, a voice also sounded. Boy, you are better than I thought. You can hear from his tone that he seems to know Shiyu. When his figure was also reflected in the eyes of Shiyu and Yidog, Shiyu felt that this person was a bit familiar. With the blessing of 100 times the talent, Shiyu knew the origin of the latter in the short memories. This person was one of the Odonin who watched the game in the venue. Because these Odonin did not choose to hide their faces in the venue, Shiba also paid attention to it before. In other words, this person must know Shiyu. Please download Faye to read the ununderlined version of the novel. Chapter 91. However, he hadn't waited for the name Odonin to announce his name. Shoo. The sudden appearance of a figure made him never have this chance again. Huh, I finally caught up. When Shiyu and others heard the words, their eyes fell on the person who spoke, only to see the latter still holding a cigarette in his mouth. Teacher Asma. Naruto may not know each other, but Shiyu does. Moreover, the two had a fate on the teacher's bench in the venue. Hearing Shiba's name, Naruto also asked, "You are Shikamaru, Ino's instructor." Good. After answering Naruto, Asma also praised, "Able to kill 8 Zongmen, you are more capable than I thought." Shiyu, who heard the words, actually wanted to say, "I am more capable than you think. If you don't believe it, you can call Shi Raihong a try." And Naruto is a little ashamed. Because he didn't do anything, all of this was due to Shiyu's work. All right, leave it to me here, go and do what you should do. Then trouble Mr. Asma, Shiyu replied, there was no 18 nonsense, and took Naruto and Awang towards Gaara and others. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared into the vision of the two of them. Seeing Shiyu and the other two leave, the Odonin didn't stop it. He didn't want to stop it. Obviously not. He couldn't. Faced with an elite upper shinobi, he was already stressed, so how could he still think about it? Take care of Shiyu, Naruto and a dog. All right. All irrelevant people are gone, no one can hinder us anymore. Let's talk. How do you want to play? I will accompany you to the end. Hearing Asma's words, Odonin's heart was aggrieved. Playing with your sister. You grow up so tall, I will definitely not be able to play with you. Although Odonin really doesn't want to play, but there is no way, when he came to chase Shiyu, it was already doomed to this end. Asma must die. A moment later, under the leadership of open black lens bracket Awang close black lens bracket, Shiyu and Naruto quickly tracked Sasuke's footprints. When Yu and Sasuke found Sasuke at that time, the latter was stopped by Kankuro. Sasuke. When he saw Sasuke's figure, Naruto called from a distant place. Advertisement. Da. Sasuke also exclaimed when he saw Tokiha and Naruto falling beside him. Shiyu, why are you here? Ms. Kakashi asked us to help you. Hearing that, Sasuke was overjoyed, but it made Deku Kuro's eyes constricted, especially when he saw Toki, his expression became stronger. Where is Gaara? Before Sasuke could answer what Naruto could hear, Kankuro was the first to say. If you want to find me Gaara, you have passed me first. Kankuro would say such words for 3 reasons. This is the task assigned to him by their teacher Gaara as their important war tool in the Kingdom of Wind. Gaara is his younger brother. However, before Shiyu and the others could respond, a voice came from the person next to him. Your opponent is me. Hearing the words, Shiyu and the others looked at it instantly, and they saw a teenager with black glasses. Shino. Naruto exclaimed, he and Sasuke were both surprised. Only Shiba knows the reason, and Shino has a grudge on one of his hearts because of Konkuro's abandonment of the game. So, he just stared at Konkuro and wanted to do something. Mingtang knew that he saw Konkuro just now. Hitamari took Gaara away, and Sasuke was also ordered to catch up. So he followed closely. I hope he can help Sasuke. If he can, he hopes to have a real duel with Konkuro, so that he can win his name. This is the nature of a young man, the heart of Jiagwei. After slightly stunned, Konkuro also asked, how did you find me? When you left the examination room, I used the female worms I kept to leave a smell on you. This smell is almost inaudible. Only male servants of the same kind can smell this smell. In the words, insects crawled out of Shino. Shiyu, you go chase the guy. Gaara. I will solve this person. He was originally my opponent. I haven't decided the outcome with him yet. Never mind. Shiyu sighed lightly, and then said, since you have taken the initiative to speak, it will be handed over to you. Shiyu's goal is only, Gaara with a beast tail. He is not interested in Konkuro at all. Therefore, this, pretend to be a criminal, is fulfilled. Advertisement. After hearing this, Naruto also said, Shino, then be careful. Don't worry, I will go round with you in 10 minutes. I have to say that this Shino really loves to pretend, and this bragging skill is about to catch up with Shiyu. However, Shiba brags has bragging capital. But for Shino, it can only be reluctant, because his strength is comparable to Konkuro. To be precise, let's be a little better. Shiyu took Sasuke, Naruto, and Awang again, and stepped into the pursuit of Gaara again. When Shiyu's three figures disappeared, Konkuro didn't have the slightest worry on his face, but a weird smile appeared. Why laugh? Shino said coldly. I laugh at your ignorance. I laugh you don't understand what horror is. Shino was also stunned when he heard Konkuro's inexplicable words. Then he said, could it be that you want me to experience the horror of 200? Do not. Konkuro denied, and continued, when you defeat me and go to find those guys, you will understand. Of course, the premise is that you have to defeat me. Kanjiro, who had fallen in his voice, was also not talking nonsense, and directly took out the organ puppet behind him. Puppetry Crow. Come on, I'm Konoha's, you knew Shino. As Shino drank it, the battle between the two began. At the same time, 5 minutes later, the three of Shiyu had already caught up with Gaara. At this time Gaara had been eroded by Shuhei, and some lines of Shuhei had begun to appear on his face. Even Teju was injured by him. Immediately after Gaara made a declaration, this state became more and more serious. Under Sasuke and Naruto's horrified gaze, half of his body has turned into the shape of a crane, looking like a monster. He raised the Shuhei arms and pointed at Shiyu's Trio 3, and a very cold voice was also spit out from his mouth. Now, I will make you feel desperate. Gaara's body and mind have been affected by Shuhei at this time, and he is slowly losing his mind. There is no doubt that as long as he receives a little more stimulation, he will be completely beasted. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read chapter 92. Seeing that the form of Shuhei slowly took possession of Gaara, Shio was thinking about how to let Gaara join the process. Because the mission of the system is to save the beast-tailed Gaara. To put it simply, I want Gaara to use the false sleeping technique to make myself completely unconscious. Open black lens bracket false sleeping technique close black lens bracket, a type of hypnotism that makes oneself fall asleep deeply. The effect is to make Shozuru completely awakened and completely burst out. Gaara's yellow, Shozuru eyes stared at Toki and Sasuke, and his throat screamed hysterically. Takikawa Tokiha, Uchiha Sasuke, are you afraid of me? In this regard, Sasuke did feel a little scared, because that Moritsuru's eye was really daunting. Not only him, but also Naruto and Awang. The name Awang was given by Toki himself. The real name of this ninja dog is Parker. Fear goes to fear, but what makes Naruto uncomfortable is that he was ignored. Gaara completely treats him as heir, which makes him very unhappy. Gaara, don't underestimate people. Naruto, whose voice falls, doesn't care. The 27th phase of the 3rd phase is directly rushed to fight with it. The result of such reckless behavior is also conceivable. Boom. The air is rippling and scattered, and Naruto, who rushed over, was directly blown away with a punch. When Shiyu saw this, he also stopped Naruto from midair. Otherwise, it must be heavy smashing on the tree. And at this time Sasuke also got rid of his fear. He knew that if he wanted to defeat his brother, Uchiha Itachi, this fear must be overcome, because for him, Itachi is the biggest nightmare in his life. Of course, this was before he knew the truth. Gaara. Since you want to fight, then I will stay with you to the end. The voice fell, and Zuo assistant made a gesture of Chidori, and there was no extra nonsense. Z. With a harsh sound coming out, Sasuke's Shulinyan also suddenly opened, and then rushed directly to Gaara. Chidori, as expected of ninjutsu. Even though Gaara is already partially tailed, Sasuke is still injured. In this scene, I was surprised to see Tamari. However, she did not worry that Gaara would lose, because she knew that the real horror had not yet come. And while she was thinking like this, Shiyu came to her side. As a sister, don't you worry about the safety of your younger brother. Tamari was taken aback for a moment, and then he said in a deep voice, I advise you to leave as soon as possible, otherwise, you won't be able to leave if you want to leave later. Why do you want to go? Having said that, Shiyu didn't expect Tamari to remind himself, and couldn't help but ridicule. Advertisement. I said, you are not worried about me, are you? Hearing this, Tamari was taken aback again, and then he said coldly, you think too much. I just saw you give you a piece of advice for being merciful in the qualifiers last time. If you don't listen, then forget it. Thank you for your kindness. Shiyu responded, and then said. Today's purpose is to save the soul of Gaara. Save the soul. There was a mutter in her mouth, and Temari's beautiful eyes flickered. She didn't know what Shiyu wanted to do. Let's wait and see. As Toki's voice fell, Sasuke was already windy. Moreover, he just forcibly used Chidori for the third time. You must know that using his current chakra twice is the limit. Because of this, Sasuke was almost unable to restrain the power of the heavenly curse seal. Seeing this, Shiyu also rushed to his side. It seems that the results of your cultivation this month are not bad, but now you should take a good rest. Only by fighting to the limit can you quickly improve your strength. Shiyu is only now honing Sasuke and Naruto. If Shiyu's intention is to let Gaara know, you have to go straight away. However, at this moment, Gaara's whole body almost turned into a beast, and even the tail grew out. It looked like a mini-shaped Shuhei. Naruto saw that Sasuke was already unable to fight, so he directly used the multi-shadow clone art. Seeing the thousands of Naruto figures that appeared in front of them, Sasuke and Tamari were shocked. At this moment, various Naruto bullets appeared. Bang, bang, bang. Parker, upon seeing this, he couldn't help exclaiming, I didn't expect this kid to have such strength. Although Naruto's move wounded Gaara, it made the latter even crazier. Ooh, with a roar, Gaara broke out completely, and the whole person was directly transformed into a huge monster. It has become the most eye-catching existence in the entire forest. Undoubtedly, it is the true form of Shuhei. Seeing this scene, Naruto and Sasuke are surprised, even Parker is no exception. What kind of monster is this? Naruto's voice fell, and Tamari said helplessly, Takikawa Tokiha, now it's too late for you to leave. However, Shiyu's answer was to make Teju look bewildered. Sorry, this is what I'm waiting for. The reason why Shiyu didn't make a direct shot before was to allow the bond between Sasuke and Naruto to continue to stimulate Gaara. Only in this way, the latter will be completely mad. Naruto, good job. Advertisement. Take good care of Sasuke, and leave the rest to me. Shiyu, but that. Naruto wanted to say something, but Shiyu interrupted him. Quote. Your current chakra is completely exhausted. If you still want to fight, you can only use that power. But there are times, it's better not to use it if you don't use it. Shiyu was paused. Flick, Naruto also nodded, and then walked to Sasuke's side. Immediately after, Shiyu jumped up under the gaze of everyone, jumped to the top of a big tree, and looked directly at the completely body Shuhei. It's just that although the Sho crane in front of you has a body, but its consciousness has not yet been awakened, Gaara still dominates. Because Gaara hasn't used the fake sleeping art. The moment I saw Shiyu, Gaara screamed again. Unexpectedly, you guys forced me to this point, but that's all. Really, how do I feel that this has just begun? During the words, Shiyu still looked calm and breezy, without the slightest fear on his face. You are right, a nightmare has just begun. Gaara, whose voice fell, was not talking nonsense, controlling the sand to surround Shiyu. At this time, Yu did not evade, but let the sand wrap herself. Gaara wrapped Shiyu with the sand-bound pyramid and then directly matched it with the stronger sand waterfall funeral. Sand falls funeral. The pressure of sand can pinch the enemy to pieces in an instant. However, just before Gaara's sand waterfall funeral was fully displayed, a voice came from the sand-bound cemetery. Psychic art. Boom. Hearing this sound, everyone saw a thick white smoke appearing in the forest. But this is not what shocked Sasuke and the others. It was a huge shadow that appeared in the white smoke at this time, the body was no less than Gaara's Shuhei state. For this scene, only Naruto thought of something unexpectedly. When the white smoke completely dissipated, a huge toad with a pipe in its mouth also appeared in the eyes of Tamari and others, while Shiyu was standing on its head. The robe danced with the wind, looking very majestic, as if the storm came. In a word, it's so cool. Naruto suddenly exclaimed when he saw this. That's Toad Wentai. Chapter 93. When Sasuke and others were shocked, Gaara, who was incarnation of Muzuru, was also startled. Who is this Takikawa Tokiha on Earth? At the same time, Toad Wentai was taken aback. Why are you kid again? At this time, Wentai was depressed, because in this month, he had already called out 3 times. Brother Wentai, of course something is happening. I just called you. What's the matter? Wentai in the word swept his eyes to the front, couldn't help but stunned, and then said. Boy, you don't want me to fight this guy. Brother is still smart, I guessed it all at once. Shiyu laughed. Then what if I disagree? If you disagree, then I can only ask a Jian brother and a Guang brother for help. They are not free now. If this is the case, then I can only trouble Grandpa Shen Zuo and Grandma Ji Ma. I think they will definitely help me. Wentai, for a moment, he murmured in his heart. This kid is smarter than I thought. In this regard, Wentai can only find an excuse casually. Never mind. It's all here, I'm just going to move my muscles and bones. Then there will be Lao Wentai brother. As soon as Shiyu's voice fell, Gaara's voice followed. Takikawa Tokiha, your 200 really brought me a lot of fun. Before destroying Konoha, I will taste your appetizer first. Then you have to see if you have this ability. When I heard Shiu's words, Buntai also said, Little devil, if I remember correctly, this guy should be Sand no Show Crane. When Tai brother, really well informed, I can see the details of this guy at a glance. Resolve it quickly, I have to go back to sleep. I have to say that this Wentai is also a full pretense, not weaker than Shino. Advertisement. Knowing that the other party is one of the legendary nine-tailed beasts, but the words still show a confident domineering. Boy, it's going to be on. Grasp it. When the voice fell, Wentai couldn't respond to Shiyu, and with a kick on both hind legs, he rushed directly towards Gaara in the state of guarding cranes. Wentai drew out the short knife behind it. The action was very simple and neat, without a trace of bells and whistles. Toad cut with a short knife. A low drink was spit out from the mouth of Wentai, and the short knife in his hand was also slashed towards the show crane Gaara. Before Shuhei Gaara hadn't reacted, one of his arms was directly cut off by Wentai. And the short knife in the hand of Buntai was also thrown away because of the force of Shuhei Gaara waving his arms. Boom, boom. Shuhei's arm and Toad knife landed one after another. This scene made Wentai also shattered slightly. This guy has too much strength. Wentai, a single blow can achieve this effect. In addition to his own strength, it also has something to do with Shohei not fully awakening. Because the current Gaara is controlling Shuhei, it is naturally unable to exert its true strength. But this scene is enough to shock the subordinates and others. For them, this is undoubtedly an epic, really interesting. Takikawa Tokiha, you make me more excited. With the spread of this sentence, Shiu saw that Gaara, who was hiding in the body of Shuhei, finally appeared. Wentai, upon seeing this, he also murmured in his mouth. That should be spiritual medium. Spirit medium even if it refers to Renjuli. When the Ninja World War, he had seen Renjuli from Kingdom of the Wind who could awaken this monster. The Tamari below saw the body of Gaara, appeared, and there was a panic on her face. She seemed to know what Gaara wanted to do. Not good. Gaara intends to do that. If this is the case, I have to leave here as soon as possible. When the voice fell, she didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, and she moved directly away from the battlefield, and she also said in her mouth. Takikawa Tokiba, that monster is not something you can deal with. At the same time, after showing up, Gaara showed a fierce light, staring at Shiu on the head of Wentai. In order to thank you for allowing me to enjoy the fun of this battle, I decided to see the true power of sand incarnation. Gaara made a knot in his hand between the words, and then a low drink came from his mouth. Fake sleeping technique. Seeing Gaara performing this technique, Toad Bunta was also surprised, because he was quite familiar with this technique. He thought that Shiyu didn't know, so he gave a simple explanation. For example, Gaara got insomnia after being echoed by Shuhei, and his dark circles are the best proof. In order not to fight for Wentai's face, Shiyu did not interrupt him either. Advertisement. And just after Wentai had just finished telling everything he knew, Gaara fell completely into a coma. At the same time, an unfamiliar voice rang along with it. Ha 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 ha. I finally figured it out. Undoubtedly, this sound came from the real Shuhei, and as Gaara fell asleep, it awakened. Immediately after, Shuhei also fell on Toad Bunta and said immediately. I didn't expect to see someone I wanted to kill as soon as I came out. From the words of Shuhei, it can be heard that it obviously knows Wentai. However, this is not surprising. Since Wentai knows the latter, it naturally knows the former. At this time, they are like, when the enemy meets, they are extremely jealous. Exclamation mark. There is no unnecessary nonsense. Shuhei directly displayed his own special skill, Wind Escape. Coincidentally, Shiyu will also do this trick. When he saw Shuhei slapped his belly and was about to use the empty training, Wentai also said. Grasp it. It's going to jump. However, Shiyu's answer made Wentai dumbfounded. Jump a chicken. There is no word council in my dictionary. Hearing Shiyu's words, Wentai was stunned, and hurriedly said, Little devil, don't do anything. In the eyes of Wentai, Shiyu was able to summon his family for the first time, and his talent was indeed extremely enchanting. But talented evildoers belong to evildoers, and strength is the king. No matter how talented you are, you should still be counseled before you grow up. How can someone like Shiyu, who only has gangsters in his eyes? Brother Wentai, you have to believe me, am I the kind of? While Funtai was stunned, Shuhei had already condensed air bomb and shot it at Shiyu and the others. At this moment, Shiyu no longer talks nonsense, and also used this trick. Wind Escape Training Empty Bomb. With a low drink, it was also a one air bomb spit out from Shiyu's mouth. Moreover, the size of the air bomb was not inferior to that performed by Shuhei. Obviously, this was the result of Shiyu's squandering chakra to a certain extent. But it doesn't matter, his chakra is bottomless, and it is more than enough to deal with a tail beast. The next moment, two wind bullets crashed into each other under Wentai's stunned eyes. Chapter 94. Boom. At the moment of the impact of the two wind bombs, the powerful energy ripples made the surrounding trees unable to support them, and they collapsed one after another. Some small trees were blown away directly, and the flying green leaves were dotted with smoke and dust rising from the ground. Seeing this scene, Wentai and others were extremely shocked. Banta and Temari are amazed by Takiwa's ninjutsu, Naruto and Sasuke are amazed by Takiwa's ninjutsu, and Sasuke is amazed by Takiwa's ninjutsu and Shozuru is amazed by Takiwa's why their own ninjutsu. At this moment, their eyes were full of doubts. Especially Temari. At this moment she couldn't help but remember what Toka said to her earlier. At this moment, she seemed to understand a little. At this moment of thought, an unrealistic thought also rose in her heart. Could it be that his can really stop Shuhei's pace? And just as her thoughts came up, Shuhei finally couldn't help but succumb to the doubts in his heart, and drank it. Little devil, how do you know my ninjutsu? G still want to ask how you know my ninjutsu. Shiyu didn't answer, and asked directly. The Shuhei who heard this was also taken aback, and then angrily said, Little devil, obviously I want to ask you. Too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Shiyu gave a soft drink, and then said, I will ask you, will you go back obediently or do you want me to beat you back? When Shiyu said this, he was stunned not to say Shuhei even when Tai looked wrong. The opponent is Shuhei, it is one of the nine-tailed beasts in the legend. Even it is not the opponent of the latter, Tokiyu, a teenager, dares to make such a rhetoric. Is he stupid or he really has this ability? If Shiyu hadn't used the Feng Dun Lian Kong Bo to offset the Shohei's arrow bomb, Wen Tai would definitely think it was the former. But now it's not sure. Because it doesn't know what Shiyu's strength is. Little devil, you completely irritated me. See if I won't tear you up. After hearing the words of Shuhei, Wen Tai also suggested. Shiyu, it's actually not that troublesome. As long as you wake up his Renjuli, Shuhei will automatically disappear. At this moment, Wen Tai's name has changed, which is his affirmation of Shiyu's strength. Only the strong can get the awe. However, to Wen Tai's suggestion, Shiyu's answer made him completely dumbfounded. My words have been released, so naturally there is no reason to take them back. If you want to fight it back, you have to fight it back. Advertisement. Hearing Shiyu's bold words, the opposite Shuhei also said angrily. Boy, if you can beat me back today, I will listen to you in the future. When he heard that, Shiyu was also stunned, thinking that he was just pretending to be forced, and even let Shuhei make such a promise. Keep your word. Our tail beasts have always said nothing, okay. Shiyu gave a soft drink, and then confronted Brother Wentai, give me oil. Don't you cheer for oil. Hearing Wentai muttering, Shiyu also said, compound ninjutsu, brother. Oh, immediately after, Shiyu quickly formed a seal in his hand, and spit out a ball of flames toward Shuhei, which was fire escape flame bomb. At the same time, the condensed toad oil was sprayed from Bentai's mouth. Fire escape toad oil fire bomb. As Shiyu sounded with a low drink, the flames he spit out combined with the toad oil sprayed out by Wentai together, the legendary, add fuel to the fire. It is also because of this that the power of this trick is doubled. Shuhei, seeing this, a contemptuous voice was also spit out from its mouth. This trick is useless to me. Immediately after. It slapped its belly, and another one, air bomb, spurted out. Boom. The toad oil fire bomb collided with the air training bomb, and the flame was blown in all directions, making it impossible to get close. If it weren't for the toad oil with a certain weight, it is estimated that all the flames at this time will be blown away. When the flames were all dispersed, Shuhei laughed. Ha ha ha, I said this trick is useless for me. Even Wen Tai is a bit confusing. I know why the opponent's air training bomb is used to use toad oil fire bomb. Although the flames displayed by this trick are not easy to be blown out, the meaning is also not big. Moreover, fire has already begun in the forest at this time. Shiyu. The forest is on fire. If it is not resolved, it will soon spread to the village. Relax, everything is under my control. Since Shiyu used this trick composite ninjutsu, it was natural for him, and he would never do anything meaningless. Advertisement. While Wen Tai was still there, when he was incomprehensible, Shiyu performed another powerful ninjutsu. The art of the water escaping waterfall. This trick was learned by Toki when Kakashi was in a duel with no more. At this moment, a curtain of water appeared above the sky, and then directly rushed towards Shuhei. Seeing this scene, Wen Tai also exclaimed. Summoning such a large amount of water out of thin air, this is extremely demanding for ninjutsu and chakra. Shuhei is the incarnation of sand. Naturally I am afraid of water. This trick is undoubtedly quite a threat to the slow-moving Shuhei. But this trick came too suddenly, it could not be avoided. In addition, he had just thrown out an air training bullet before, so he couldn't make a second come after such a short interval. Boom, boom. Shuhei half of his body was directly submerged in the water, and the sand was soaked, which severely restricted his movement, and the previous oil fire that fell in the forest was also wiped out. Upon seeing this, Wen Tai seemed to understand Shiyu's thoughts. However, what he didn't expect was that this was only the second step of Shiyu's plan. Because the oil fire was extinguished by the flood, the strands of green smoke at this time curled up. But no one noticed that when these smoke rose, they were accompanied by metal particles. Shuhei, I ask you one more sentence, do you disappear by yourself now, or do you want me to fight until you disappear? Hearing Shiyu's words, Shuhei didn't care at all. Little devil, I have a lot of abilities to admit. But if you want me to retreat from this pool of water, it is absolutely impossible. You sure? Shiyu asked. I'm sure it must indefinitely. In that case, accept sanctions. When the voice fell, Shiyu stretched out his big hand, actually holding a colorful metal iron rod. The iron rod continuously extended from thin to thick into the smoke on the sky. Shiyu's mouth shook, and a strong wind completely dissipated the smoke that filled the sky. Immediately after, a colorful hammer is also completely exposed to the air. It is a huge hammer whose size can be comparable to Shuhei. This is no longer an ordinary clear sky hammer, it can be said to be a clear sky hammer. Seeing this scene, everyone was horrified. Undoubtedly, this is the third step and 5 carefully prepared by Shiyu. Please download the novel without underlined version. Chapter 95. Sasuke, Naruto, and Temari who knew this ninjutsu were all stunned, and spit out a word from their mouths. Is this a hammer? They couldn't believe their eyes, such a huge clear sky hammer didn't know how much chakra would need to be consumed. Looking at the clear sky hammer held by Shiyu, Teju also murmured to himself. It turns out he really has this ability. It was also at this moment that Temari finally believed Shiyu's words. Not to mention that a few of them are in shock, but it is better than Toad Fumata and Aikyo Shuhei are no exception. Between the two beasts' consternation, Shiyu didn't have any nonsense. With a force of his wrist, he lifted the vast sky hammer high and slammed it directly at Shuhei. Looking at the hammer that fell from the sky, Shuhei had no 2200 in his heart at this time. It is awkward, because it is inevitable because of its limited movement. In this regard, it can only make the final resistance if it refuses to admit defeat. Wind escape training empty bomb. However, this trick can't do much in the face of the huge and incomparable clear sky hammer. At the most, the speed of the hammer's falling is reduced. Seeing this, Shuhei can only use one hand to pick it up, because the other hand was previously cut by Toad Wentai and has not recovered. However, the strength of the clear sky hammer was too great. After a short stalemate, it was directly hit by a hammer into the ground. Boom. There was a blast at any time, and the water curtain that trapped Shuhei also shot open with it, splashing in all directions. Accompanied by it are countless vegetation and gravel, and the billowing smoke and dust rising into the sky. Brother Wentai, let's go over. Hearing Shiyu's words, Toad Bunta finally recovered from the astonishment. In his opinion, there was nothing wrong with him in this battle. Shiyu summoning it out was no different from hitting soy sauce. Boom. Wentai carrying Shiyu to the place where clear sky hammer fell. The smoke and dust here has long been there. Disperse. You can clearly see everything here, and at this time, Shuhei was crushed by the clear sky hammer in the deep pit, unable to move. How about it? I'm not convinced. Hearing Shiyu's words, the Shuhei at this time chose to remain silent. Because he didn't expect that he was actually defeated by an imp, and the latter was still crushing him with a single person. Seeing this, Shiyu jumped onto Shohei and continued to speak. Advertisement. I said, Shuhei, you don't know how to speak, don't you count, do you want to repay your bills? Of course not. Shuhei's tone is obviously not enough, because he himself just said that if he is forcibly beaten back, he will listen to Toki from now on. In other words, it is to worship Shiyu as the boss. Although he is very unwilling, but he can't go back, their tail beasts have always done it. If that's the case, don't hesitate to retract and seal it. Hearing Shiyu's words, Shuhei nodded helplessly, spitting out an extremely unwilling word. No. Don't be reconciled, what you need to know is that I haven't used this power yet. During the words, Shiyu came out of one-tailed chakra. Upon seeing this, Shuhei and Wenta were shocked immediately. How can you have my chakra? I'm not quite clear about this, but others have guessed that I might be 6 Dao. Fairy reincarnation. 6 Dao old man, Shuhei exclaimed, looking at Shiyu in front of him, most of the unwillingness in his heart disappeared. If this is the case, he would be completely acceptable to you as the boss at that time. You're still there. What is the ink? Give me back quickly. Oh, at this time, the tone of Shuhei is completely different, just like a well-behaved cat. And this is what Shiyu wanted. It can be said that this Shuhei has now become his little brother. Seeing this scene, Fumita Toad was stunned. He never thought that Rit Cat Shuhei, who was inexhaustible in the ninja war, would have such a side at this time. Immediately after Shuhei, it was Shiyu and Wentai who turned into a pile of quicksand in their eyes and disappeared. Upon seeing this, Shiyu also scattered the huge and incomparable clear sky hammer. Next second, a figure also appeared in the sight of Shiyu and Wentai, and it was Gaara who was in a false sleep state. Since Shuhei went back on its own, Gaara did not wake up to see that the matter was over, and Bunta's gaze returned to Toki's body, spit out a puff of smoke and said. Advertisement. Boy, your full name is Tokikawa Takikawa, right? I remember, see you next time. The voice fell, and the Toad Wentai directly turned into a white smoke and disappeared in Moyu's field of vision. There is no doubt that after this battle, Wentai has fully recognized Shiyu. And just after Wentai disappeared, the long-lost voice of the system finally appeared. Ding, the task of saving Gaara with a beasted tail is complete. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully unlocking the third reward. Ding, talent increased by 1 million. Ding, chakra is improved by 100 times. Ding, get the power of Jifu. That is, the chakra and ability of Sanwei Isosuke. Ding, get 3 chances to draw. As the system improved and fell, Shiyu felt that his whole person was different. He seems to be able to fully imagine the origin of chakra and how the attribute chakra has changed. In short, He now has absolute information that he has directly merged the two chakras with different attributes. That is to say, he is now looking at a shop and it is estimated that he has created a bloodstain limit. Moreover, he feels that he is now 0.5 you can perform ninjutsu without using Jia Yin at all. This kind of ability, this kind of talent is not unbelievable. Just when Toki was caught in this kind of excitement, Naruto, Sasuke and Temari also rushed to the scene. At this moment, they were looking at Shiyu with strange eyes, as if they were looking at monsters. Shiyu, that trick just now was so G handsome. Naruto admired the way, reluctantly. When Shiyu said this, several people couldn't help rolling their eyes. If this is just reluctant, then they don't need to be a ninja at all. Temari glanced at Shiyu, and immediately helped Gaara up. Under the shaking of her, Gaara also woke up from the fake sleep state. Looking at everything in front of me, Gaara's first reaction was stunned. Phyllu Rechapter 96. Seeing Shiyu standing intact in front of my eyes, Gaara spit out a word unwillingly. I am defeated. Gaara, you don't have to be willing to fall for it. Actually, you are not the only person like you in this world. There is one beside me. During the words, Shiyu glanced at it. Also, there is no mother in this world who hates her own children. If I didn't guess wrong, the sand that has been actively protecting you should be your mother's blood and will. Her purpose is very simple, just to protect you. Hearing Shiyu's words, coupled with the fight all the way, made Gaara feel deeply moved. He looked at Naruto and found that the latter had a smile on his face, as if this smile was dedicated to him. I hope I can walk out of the cold darkness at him. Gaara, I can understand your pain. Because I had a childhood similar to yours, so I hope you can get out of the haze just like me. After hearing Naruto's words, Gaara was also lost in thought. Seeing this at 18 o'clock, Yu said immediately. Naruto, Sasuke. Let's go. When the voice fell, he led the two towards the direction of Konoha village. Because Shiyu informed Kakashi, Oshikamaru, about this matter in advance, the 3 generations should be prepared in advance. But as for the result, Shiyu doesn't know now, so he can only go back and see what happened. Naruto, Awang. Parker when Gaara ran away just now, he said he was going to find a helper for me. He sent us to find Ayara and then left. The name was obtained by Shiyu himself, and Naruto also felt that it fits the temperament of Parker. Looking at the 3 people of Shiyu 3 who were gradually moving away, until their figure disappeared from his field of vision. After a while, Gaara seemed to understand something. Advertisement. Looking at the arms and hands, a sentence that didn't know how long it was buried was also spit out from his mouth. Temari, I'm sorry. Hearing Gaara's words, Temari was also taken aback. She never thought of these 3 words. It actually spit out from the latter's mouth. This is simply unprecedented. It was also at this moment that she suddenly remembered what Shiyu had said earlier. I'm here to save Gaara's soul. This sentence flashed in her mind, and her pretty face was also full of shock, because all this was developing without deviation according to Shiyu's words. At this point, her gaze was once again looking in the direction where Shiyu and the 3 people 3 disappeared, and she didn't know what she was thinking. Until Gaara's voice sounded, God came. Temari, let's go to Konkuro. Good. And when Shiyu and others rushed to the village of Konoha, the battle in Lee had also ended. Under the advance arrangement, the loss was almost negligible. But there was a sad news that made the whole Kimura sink into a deep sorrow. That is, 3 generations of Hokage have sacrificed. Shiyu was slightly surprised by this result. What he didn't expect was that the 3 generations of Hokage still sacrificed under the circumstances of the advance arrangement. According to Reliable, at the time of the news, there was no need to sacrifice for the 3 generations of Hokage. But I thought that it would be able to kill Oshimaru and completely seal the souls of 1st generation and 2nd generation. He chose to sacrifice himself and sold his soul to the god of death. But the end result was unsatisfactory. The 3 generations used the powerful forbidden technique, ghoul sealing. Although the souls of 1st generation and 2nd generation were completely sealed, they were escaped by Oshimaru. However, the price is that the hands of Oshimaru are completely useless. This day, there is no cheer in Konoha Yin village, and some are just endless mourning. Advertisement. All of them are dressed in black clothes to see off the 3 generations of Naruto Sarutobi and pay tribute to the heroes who died guarding Konoha. Regarding the death of 3 generations of Naruto, it is undoubtedly Kinohamaru that there is no sadness. Both his parents died at a young age, and now even the grandfather who loves him the most is in the lowest. Now, he only has one dearest relative left, flying Asma. After the funeral ceremony of the 3 generations of Hokage is over. When Shiyu was passing by Konoha's heroic tomb consolation monument, he saw 3 figures, 1 man and 1 woman. The male is Kakashi. The female is Uki Yuga. It is clear who they came here to worship Toki Yu. Naturally, Kakashi is because of 3 people, that is, Uchiha with Soil and Nohara Lin. This 3rd person is his father, Tsukumo Hagiki. Tsukumo Hagiki is also a shadow ninja, known as Sanoha Whitetooth, and it is said that he is stronger than Konoha Sanin. If it hadn't been for saving his teammates who gave up the mission and committed suicide by pointing at his guilt, his comrades would have sat in the 4th generation of Hokage. This result of Danzo can be described as a tribute. Because the fishing boat was made by him. But Kakashi didn't seem to know about it. As time went on, he had already attributed Tsukumo Hagi to guilt. Suicide. But there is one more thing. Kakashi is still kept in the dark. That is, he still doesn't know that his best friend, who has sacrificed, is actually not dead. At this time, the latter is working hard to create a world where there is no killing. As for Azuki, she undoubtedly came to mourn Moonlight Hayate. This is the first time Toki saw Azuki. The latter is worthy of being one of the beautiful ninjas of Konoha 200, but she has a good reputation appearance. Shiyu took a long look and left. And in the cemetery ahead, he saw another person, a woman. Although this woman is not well known among Konoha, she is also regarded as a middle-level figure who belongs to Konoha. She is Tsubaki, Mizuki's lover. You must know that Mizuki died at Takiwa's hand, but Tsubaki obviously doesn't know this. Because the 3 generations will not make this matter public. Seeing 2 poor women consecutively, Shiyu felt speechless. As for the things that comforted their hearts, Shiyu feels that this is a long way to go. Because he still has the task of the system to complete, the first task to unlock the 4th reward is repelling dried persimmon onyx and Uchiha Itachi! Exclamation mark. And in the past few days when Konoha missed his morning, Uchiha Itachi and dried persimmon ghost shark have arrived. And the purpose of their trip is Uzumaki Naruto. But this is only on the surface. In fact, Uchiha Itachi has another intention, and that is to stimulate Sasuke. He feels that Sasuke is too weak now. He was already a member of Onbi at this age of Sasuke. And, now Sasuke is already 13. Kill his whole family. Uchiha age. Look no underline version of the novel. Download fly. Chapter 97. After Shiyu attended the funeral of the 3 generations, he couldn't wait to return to his little house. Because he still has 3 chances to draw the lottery. The first 2 draws were very awesome, so he has the same expectation for this time. In the room, Shiyu has already opened the lottery interface, and after taking a deep breath, he also directly clicked to start. Seeing the constantly switching prizes, Shiyu's small heart was beating frantically. Ding! With a sound from the system, a voucher was finally frozen in the prize box. Immediately afterwards, the system's prompt sound also sounded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Kaleidoscope Writing Round I upgrade coupon. After hearing this reminder, Shiyu was shocked on the spot, and then he was very surprised. Because this thing is too important to him. Although he now has 3 Guyu Writing Round Eyes, the problem is that it is conditional to upgrade 3 Guyu Writing Round Eyes to Kaleidoscope Writing Round Eyes. And this condition, he has no way to complete it. Because the so-called condition is to see the death of his loved ones, he can unlock it. But for Shiyu, he has no loved ones in this world at all. Anyway, it is not right now. Originally, Shiyu was still wondering if he would stay in open black lens bracket 3 Guyu close black lens bracket forever, but the reward now is undoubtedly a solution to this problem. At this point, Toki immediately clicked to confirm. He was afraid that this was a dream, and he didn't believe this fact until he saw the upgrade coupon that appeared in the system inventory. Immediately after, Shiyu was very excited and used this Kaleidoscope Writing Round I upgrade voucher. He wanted to look forward to what his Kaleidoscope Writing Round I would look like. However, the prompt sound that appeared made Shiyu a face. Dumbfounded. Ding! Please choose a kaleidoscope pattern for the host. Choose what ghost? Just as Shiyu was puzzled, countless open black lens bracket kaleidoscope writing wheel eye patterns close black lens bracket appeared on the screen in front of him. Among them are Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Izuna, Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha with Soil, Uchiha Sasuke, Uchiha Shisui, and Uchiha Tamatake, etc. In short, as long as the Uchiha clan has appeared in the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye pattern, they are all listed. Advertisement. This result obviously surprised Shiyu. He thought that he had awakened kaleidoscope writing round eye and then immediately generated a pattern. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be such a situation. But for this reason, Shiyu was extremely excited. Because if he awakened a kaleidoscope writing round eye casually, the ability he gained could not be controlled, it could only be fate. But if there is a choice, it will be different. According to the current situation, it should be whoever he chooses the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye pattern to get the ability. Of course, this is just Toki's guess. Everything still depends on the system's decision. Some thoughts later. Toki's ultimate goal is on the 2 kaleidoscope patterns of Uchi and Uchiha Belt Soil. Because of Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Izuna, Uchiha Tamatake, and Uchiha Senator. He doesn't know his kaleidoscope writing round eyes ability. Moreover, their kaleidoscope pattern is not. As for Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Shisui, their kaleidoscope writing round eyes comprehensive ability is weaker than Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Belt Soil. Although Uchiha Shisui possesses the strongest illusion technique other than unlimited moon reading, farewell God. But the problem is that there is only illusion, which cannot save your life. Uchiha Itachi's kaleidoscope writing wheel eye has both illusion, monthly reading, and the strongest flame Amaterasu, which is indeed a good choice. But compared to the Shinwei of Uchiha Belt Soil, it is weaker. After all, Shinwei can enter the pupil technique of different space. But in terms of the ultimate ability, Susanoo, Uchiha Itachi, is more functional, and Uchiha Madara is more powerful than others. Susanoo also has its own merits. To say that kaleidoscope pattern is the best, it should belong to Uchiha Belt Soil and Uchiha Sasuke. In short, Shiyu was caught in a difficult choice at this moment. However, At this moment, Xiu saw a line of words under the selection pattern interface. Reminder. The pattern has nothing to do with ability, please rest assured to choose. After reading this line, Xiu suddenly wanted to kill. He is so special. Ability has nothing to do with pattern, I didn't say it earlier, I've been entangled for a long time. Xiu murmured to himself, and then made a choice between Uchiha Belt Soil and Uchiha Sasuke's kaleidoscope pattern. In the end, he chose spiral darts from Uchiha Belt Soil instead of six-pointed star from Sasuke. In his opinion, this pattern is more handsome. And since abilities has nothing to do with pattern, you can add Sasuke when you want to upgrade Eternal Kaleidoscope Writing Round Eyes next time. To mention the announcement, the fusion pattern is in the picture in the upper right corner. After selecting the pattern, the system prompt sound appeared again. Advertisement. Quote. Ding, pattern has been selected, please select 2 kaleidoscope ability to write round eyes below. Hearing what the system said, Xiu was also extremely excited. Immediately after, the previous pattern interface has become a bunch of text and options, and there are a total of 6 options on it. Amaterasu. Monthly reading. Don't deity. Shenwei. Add divine life. Opening square bracket closing square bracket exclamation mark. Staring at the interface for a moment, Xiu also understood the meaning of the system. The first 555 options are optional ability, and the first option is random ability, which means whatever ability the system gives you. Of course, the ability to acquire may also be different from the previous 5. Xiu has no risk in this regard. He thinks that it is more cost-effective to choose honestly, which is the safest and should be the strongest. The first ability Xiu chose was naturally Shenwei. Although he is now awakened kaleidoscope writing round eye, he can use the forbidden technique, Azanagi, as a means of life-saving. But the price of this technique is blindness, which is not what Xiu wants to bear. Jiao Guo. And divine power can hide in different space, this is simply the same pupil technique. However, it also has. Yes, when Xiao Nan fought with Tai Tu, it was because she sees the only flaw that she almost let Tai Tu die. If it weren't for with soil to cast Azanagi, it would only be cool. When you chose the option Shenwei, 2 options popped up on the interface. Transfer oneself. Transfer other things. Anything other than oneself. As the name implies, Shenwei has 2 abilities. This point is also reflected in the animation, that Shenwei of with soil can only transfer itself. And Kakashi's Shenwei can only transfer other things. Xiu didn't have any extra thoughts, and directly chose to transfer oneself. Exclamation mark. Immediately after the eye, on the interface is another line of words and 2 options. Please select the eyes that needs to be injected ability. Left eye, right eye. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read when reading chapter 98. Left eye, right eye. Looking at the 2 options on the interface, Xiu was thinking briefly. I chose left eye. Because the right eye of with soil, but both of them have the same ability, transfer oneself. After choosing the ability of left eye, Xiu thought about what ability right eye needed to inject. Adding earth life, don't consider it for now. Because this pupillary art is to be used in conjunction with Amaterasu, it can change the form of Amaterasu, and it can also be extinguished. Since Ad Gu Tume didn't choose, then Amaterasu, Xiu would not consider it for the time being. After all, it would be uncomfortable to play with Heian without changing various poses. Moreover, Xiu has already obtained the power of 2 tails and travel, and the blue flame is not weak. Therefore, the final choice fell on monthly reading and other gods. And it is called the strongest illusion art, other gods, and there are 2 forms. The first type, lifelong effect open black lens bracket don't god close black lens bracket, the cooling time is more than 10 years. The second type, the continuous effect of the other gods, the cooling time only needs a dozen hours. Of course, there is a way to shorten the cooling time of this other gods. That 200 is intercolumn cells. And intercolumn cells, tracing the origin, in fact, is the so-called immortal human body. But there is a prerequisite for this choice, that is, he must have yin attribute chakra. The reason is simple, all illusions need to be dominated by yin attribute chakra. And he doesn't have a yin chakra now. So, if he doesn't win the yin chakra in the remaining 2 chances, then he can only take the second place. I chose Amaterasu. At this point, Xiu paused the ability selection of kaleidoscope writing round eye and turned to the second lottery draw. Seeing the rewards frozen in the frame, Xiu's eyes widened. It was as if God heard Xiu's prayer and directly helped him realize this wish. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining yin chakra. After hearing the system prompt, Xiu was undoubtedly ecstatic. What is the reason for this? It's so cool. With this yin chakra, Xiu now has 6 chakras. The last one is thunder attribute. After obtaining the 7 attributes, as long as the talent reaches a certain height, you can merge the chakras of the 7 attributes to create a stronger bloodstain limit and bloodstain elimination. Stained by blood. Advertisement. So far in the ninja world, only 3 people have this kind of physique. The excitement calmed down for a while. Xiu's gaze fell once again to the selection of ability in Shaolun Yan. As for the last lottery, obviously he will draw again later. Because he can't wait to want his kaleidoscope writing round eye now. At this point, Xiu also opened the selection interface again. Since I got yin chakra, I chose don't god without any surprise. Although he doesn't have a column, intercolumn cell, he can choose the second continuous effect other gods. A cooldown of more than 10 hours is still acceptable. After making a decision, Shiyu also didn't procrastinate, and directly chose the option of "don't god." Next second, two options in a line of words also pop up on the interface, please. The host chooses one of these effects. Lifetime effect. Continuous effect. Chakra is needed to maintain this effect. Surgeon can't be too far away from surgeon. Shiyu took a look, and immediately chose the second type. Exclamation mark. Immediately afterwards, there are two options on the interface, but the option of left eye has been rendered gray. Can't choose. Left eye. Unable to choose. Select the condition again. Turn on eternal kaleidoscope writing round eye right eye. Look at the prompt condition behind the left eye option. At that time, Shiyu's mood rose instantly. Originally, he thought that monthly reading Amaterasu and adding Earth Life, these three types of pupil surgery, needed to be drawn directly by lottery. But now it seems that as long as he draws the eternal kaleidoscope writing round eye upgrade ticket, he can obtain two more abilities, which is simply crooked. This is the end of my thought. Advertisement. Shiyu had to admire the brilliance of the system. Even if others had obtained the eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, they could only have two abilities. But he can have four kinds, which is simply crazy and cool. Will, continuous effect. After his farewell god ability was injected into right eye, the voice of the system also sounded. Ding, the left and right eye abilities have been selected, now the host is asked to select the weapon of Suzao Nengu. With the sound of the system, 7 options appeared on the interface. Meteor Blade of Meteor Star, incidental skill. Heavenly Obstacle vibrating star. Conditions of use. Full body Serrano, 10 fist sword, incidental skill. Power of ceiling, 8 mirror, incidental skills. Ignore all physical attacks, spiral shuriken, incidental skills. Shinwei shuriken. Conditions of use. Eyes Shinwei and full body sequel can be almost spiral sword, additional skills. Burning fire dance whirlwind, 6 bows close black lens bracket, additional skills. Arrow of Indra. Conditions of use. 6 modes of Susanna. Reminder. Eternal kaleidoscope writing round eyes can be selected once. Looking at the 7 items on the interface, Shiyu is stunned for a while forced. He never thought that even open black lens bracket Suzuo no Hu close black lens bracket could be chosen, which was completely beyond his expectation. After returning to his senses, Shiyu carefully looked at the 7 options on the interface. Except for the last, unknown option, the other 6 Toki very wanted to choose. But it's a pity that the system can only let him choose one. At this moment, Toki couldn't help but a little envious of Uchiha Itachi, because he could even possess 2 weapons. After a difficult choice, Shiyu chose the first. Because this Tianchi Zhengxing is too strong. And he personally likes this ninjutsu very much. As for other weapons, he can only wait until he wins the eternal kaleidoscope writing round eye and a lottery to get it. After Shiyu finished his selection, the voice of the system also sounded. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully awakening kaleidoscope blood wheel eyes. After the system's prompt sound fell, Shiyu's 3-hook jade eyes immediately transformed into the pattern of a spiral dart. Then Shiyubian had more memories in his mind, which were related to the ability of kaleidoscope writing round eyes. At this moment, Shiyu was extremely excited. Shiyu couldn't help but admire it in the mirror, and after watching it for a long time, his excitement was relieved. Shiyu didn't expect the lottery to be so smooth. Although the second reward was not very bad, it was what he needed. Immediately after, Shiyu shifted all his expectations to the last lottery. He didn't know what kind of surprise the system gave him this time. Chapter 99. Look at the lottery interface. Shiyu rubbed his hands, and the third lottery started immediately. Shiyu's eyes were constantly staring at the rotating reward frame, and what was finally fixed was the pattern of a figure sitting on a circle, and the whole body exuded a dazzling white light. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining elementary immortal human body. Elementary fairy body, Shiyu murmured, his expression was shocked and disappointed. What was shocking was that he did get a good thing. But what was lost was that what he got was only elementary immortal human body. To this day of the ninja world, there are only 4 people who have immortal human body. The first, 6 Dao immortals, the perfect immortal human body. The second, Asura, the advanced immortal human body. The third, 1,000 armed pillars, the intermediate immortal human body. The fourth, Libra weighs me, the primary immortal human body. Has primary immortal people with the human body are still unable to fully grasp this power, and they will go violently if they are like heaven weighs me. Because he still can't control the absorption of natural energy. Fortunately, there is a chakra in his body that is strong enough to suppress it, otherwise, he will occasionally run away like Shigego. But this is only one of Shiyu's losses. Second, that is that this primary fairy human body does not come from the pillar Asura or 6 Dao immortals. It wasn't from them, so naturally there would be no chakras from them. In other words, the current Shiyu still can't use kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes unscrupulously. It is not eternal kaleidoscope writing round eyes nor Asura's chakra. If you overuse it, you will lose your eyesight. Lost is lost. However, Shiyu had already thought of a way to deal with it. Directly in Kinoha Lab. Just absorb 1 intercolumn cell or absorb a white Jew, cultured by spots. Also, Baiju. Although it is a product from the ancient times, Itsuki Kagaya used unlimited moon reading to create a product. But later, when Uchiha Madara obtained interpillar cells for cultivation, Kurozetsu took the opportunity to inject it into a part of White Z's body. Because the genes of their Baiju and Zujien are the same root, and their power comes from the sacred tree, so they will not use any repulsiveness. If not, how can the intercolumn cells be so easy to cultivate? It is like Konoha. Intercolumn cell transplantation was not successful, and only Tuan Zhang was successful. That is Yamato. During the Ninja World War, the reason why other Baiju all had interpillar cells was because Pouch that guy caught Yamato for an experiment and strengthened White absolutely. Because the interpillar cells contain natural energy and will repel the human body, it is difficult for ordinary people to successfully integrate. But there are two kinds of people who can easily transplant successfully, the one who can control natural energy. The clone of the same gene. Now Shiyu has the primary fairy human body, so it is not at all for him to absorb interpillar cells problem. People with fairy human body have a special ability, that is, they can transform all flesh and blood into natural energy, and they can also convert natural power into flesh and blood. This point, Shigeo, has been displayed. Everything in the world is composed of natural energy, and the human body is naturally no exception. This ability is actually the low-profile version of the Yang power, which is the same as the creation and regeneration of Tsunade. And Juma can be so perverted because of this. But Tsunade is weak because she uses chakra. Not time and Shigeo, such pure natural energy. The power of the two is not at the same level at all. Otherwise, the fairy mode would not be so confined to this. Advertisement. Shiyu's entanglement is no longer entangled, the only thing he has to do now is to go to Konoha. Just get a small piece of intercolumn cells in your laboratory. That night, Shiyu also slept beautifully. The next day, when Shiba and Naruto were eating ramen at Yiliku Noodle House, they were still thinking about how to Konoha lab to make some interpillar cells. At this moment, Jilai also found them. Shiyu, Naruto, do you want to travel with me? Travel. Quote. Naruto murmured. He didn't know what Jilai was thinking of doing, but Shiyu quickly learned that Jilai was thinking carefully. This old guy is afraid that going to Tsunade will be too boring along the way, so he wants to discuss the follow-up plot of the legend of Jin Lian with himself. Of course, there is another reason that he wants to continue teaching Shiyu. After all, in his eyes now, Shiyu is likely to be the one who makes Ninja World change in the future. He naturally wants to teach well. Laughter fairy. Do you not want to be 5th generation Naruto, so you want to run away? Shiyu said. How did you know that I didn't want to be Hokage? Regarding Jilai's doubts, Shiyu said, you are used to the life of Shanyuhe, and you will never want to be bound to freedom. It seems that we belong to the same type of people. Jilai also smiled. Am I as horny as you? If you are not good looking, how could you write that kind of book at a young age? At this moment, Shiyu was stunned in his turn. Because he can't refute it. He can never tell Zilai that he has traveled through it, and such stories abound in our world. Okay, let's talk about business. Jilai stopped the topic and said, Shiyu, you just guessed half of it right. I really don't want to be a Hokage, but our trip is to find someone who is qualified for Hokage. Who is it? Does she have more qualifications than a horny fairy? Naruto in the words was very puzzled. Advertisement. Because he already knew that the lecherous immortal was one of the legendary 3 ninjas that was Konoha's strongest ninja except for the 3 generations. When Naruto was puzzled, Shiyu said slowly. If I guessed correctly, it should be Senju Tsunade. Hearing this, Jilai was also taken aback, and looked at Shiyu in a dumbfounded manner. How did your kid know? It's very simple. Among Konoha today, apart from what you think, the only one who is qualified to be Naruto is Senjutsu Tsunade, who is also one of the 3 ninjas. After all, they are still the 1st generation's granddaughter. Your kid's ability to gather intelligence is really not easy. Jilai also praised Shiyu, and then said, since you have guessed my intention, then you are willing to walk with me. As long as you teach us more decent ninjutsu tricks, we will go. Naruto replied with doubt. Despite what Shiyu said, he actually had to go this trip. Because the second task of the system is to find Senju Tsunade and let her become Hokage. Moreover, Toki also wants to learn healing technique from the latter and learn about the situation of Wetbone Forest. Therefore, his remarks were just a way to cheat. However, to Shiyu's request, Jilai also agreed without even thinking about it, because he had this intention in the first place. It is good. Then let's go. So fast, Naruto exclaimed. Of course. Jilai also responded, and then said, Hokage is the pillar of our Konoha Shinobu village. Naturally, this kind of thing cannot be delayed. After a brief thought, Shiyu also agreed. As for the interpillar cells, he is not in a hurry. After he finds Tsunade and let him become Hokage, he can get it without any effort and justifiably. Immediately after Jiraiya, it took Shiyu and Naruto to set off, and in a blink of an eye, he left Konoha Hidden Village. And while they were leaving, somewhere in the village of Konoha, a terrifying battle is being staged. Kakashi, Asuma, and Yurihong are facing the Akatsuki organization. Uchiha Itachi and Dried Persimmon Ghost Shark. Chapter 100. Regarding the battle between Kakashi and others and Itachi, Shiyu didn't want to interfere. Because it's not necessary, although his first task is to repel Uchiha Itachi and dried persimmon ghostfish. But he is not at all worried that the two will run away. First, Kakashi and others are definitely not the opponents of Itachi and Guiyu. Second, the purpose of Itachi and Guiyu is Naruto. So, as long as he and Naruto stay together, the two will definitely find him. At that time, his task will be completed naturally. Moreover, it would be good for Kakashi to be abused. At least he knew that after the ordinary writing round eyes, there is an advanced kaleidoscope writing round eyes. When they were playing in full swing, Shiyu and the trio three were talking and laughing. Hey, lascivious fairy, what ninjutsu do you want to teach me? Naruto looked at Jiraiya and couldn't wait to see 2200. Asked. Jiraiya didn't tell him directly, but talked to him a lot about 4 generations. And when Shiyu and the others moved further and further, the battle between Itachi and Kakashi and others ended prematurely because of the arrival of Emperor Kai. Immediately after, they found Jiraiya and them directly, and they have to say that Itachi was not in vain when he was in Onbi. His tracking skills are quite remarkable, and his psychic beast is the fate of the crow, which led them to quickly find the 3 people of Shiyu 3. At this time, the 2 of them stood on a mountain, looking at Shiyu from a distance 3. Guiyu looked at Jiraiya's bohemian back and asked. Mr. Itachi, is that person Jiraiya one of the legendary 3 ninjas? Yes, you should be able to fight him, but I am not necessarily so. The gap is too big. The ghost is very sincere. If you want to fight him, we will both be killed. Itachi responded, and then said, if you are lucky, you can only hurt both sides. Even if you find someone to help, the final result will not change. I have to say that Itachi is humble now. His strength should be comparable to that of Jiraiya. Advertisement. Moreover, he has been sick for a long time, and if he fights with Jiraiya again, it will only accelerate his death. As for the origin of Itachi's illness, Kishimoto did not explain, but the official fanfiction explained it. It is because Itachi has performed monthly raid on Uchiha Izumi for 50 years. Although we found the legacy of the 4th generation of Hokage, we did not expect that the legendary Sannin would protect him. Fight against him. Konoha's Uchiha clan or Misty Ninja Sword 7 people, these names are completely useless. Yes, Itachi nodded, and then said, but no matter how powerful people are, there will always be weaknesses. When the voice fell, the 2 followed quietly. At the same time, in Konoha's medical room. At this time, here, there are many ninjas, kings, and Asman. There is also one of Konoha's beautiful ninjas, Yuri Hong. Their place will be gathered here because Kakashi, who is lying on the sick bed, was tortured for 3 days and 3 nights in Itachi's monthly reading. Just when they discussed the purpose of Itachi's visit to Konoha, Sasuke came across. He originally wanted to visit Kakashi, but Shanshiro Aoba, the impatient accidentally missed his mouth. I heard that Itachi is back. What? Also, I heard he was looking for Naruto. Hearing Yanshiro Aoba, Sasuke naturally couldn't sit still. Without a word, he jumped out of the room immediately. Sasuke is very smart, he knows it is difficult to find Itachi, so he directly chose to find Naruto. By then, as long as you wait for the rabbits, you will naturally be able to wait for the ferret. And at this moment, the 3 of Shiyu, 3, have arrived in a small town not far from the Noha hidden village. Jiraiya left Shiyu and Naruto behind this lustful embryo, and went outside alone. So Shiba and Naruto went to the hotel designated by Jiraiya and waited. In the room, the horny immortal is also true. Going to be chic by himself, he actually hangs the 2 of us here. Previously, he said that he took us to travel, huh? Hearing Naruto's complaint, Shiyu said. Don't worry about him, you just condense chakra well. Advertisement. When one day you can summon Brother Wentai without the 9-tailed chakra, you will become a ninja alone. Hearing that, Naruto nodded heavily, and then he was also obedient to begin to condense the chakra. The cultivation of the chakra is undoubtedly a long process. This is a practice that develops the human body to be able to store the chakra to the extreme. But not long after Naruto sat down to practice, the door of the room knocked. Boom, boom. Hearing this voice, Naruto also said, Shiyu, go and see if the lecherous fairy is back. Seeing Naruto who was cultivating, Shiyu did not refuse. Moreover, he has already guessed who the person is here. Shiyu walked slowly to the door of the room, then reached out to hold the handle, and then opened the door slightly expectantly. For the incoming person, he had long wanted to see him. Squeak. The moment the door was slowly opened, the air in the room seemed to be cold. There seemed to be an icy breath coming in from the crack of the door. And as the crack of the door opened more and more, a figure was caught in Toki's eyes. At this time, wearing a black-red cloud robe and Konoha rebellious forehead guard, on his head, the most eye-catching thing is undoubtedly the pair of riding wheel eyes on his face. Needless to say, he is open black lens bracket Uchiha Itachi close black lens bracket. Seeing it. Without the slightest panic on Shiyu's face, he opened the door of the room along the way. This is another man wearing a black-red cloud robe who also appeared in Shiyu's field of vision, and the latter was naturally a ghost. For Shiyu's calmness, Itachi and Guiyu were also slightly taken aback. But they didn't treat Shiyu at the same time, and their eyes went straight. 5. Pick up Naruto who passed through Tokiwa locked on the bed. Mr. Itachi, I didn't expect Nine Tails to be on such a kid. After hearing the words of the ghost shark, Naruto finally looked here. But what he saw was not Jiraiya, but someone he was extremely strange to. This result made him very puzzled. Especially the two even knew that Nine Tails was inside him. At this moment, Naruto was a little panicked, and subconsciously stood behind Shiyu. Shiyu, who are the two of them? Two traitors. As soon as Shiyu said this, it immediately attracted the attention of Itachi and Guiyu. They were not stupid, and naturally heard from Shiyu's tone that the latter had recognized them. Chapter 101. Two rebels, Naruto murmured, and the eyes that looked at Itachi and Ghost Shark were a little more jealous. Especially when Naruto saw Itachi's eyes, he was obviously no stranger to Shulinyan. Mr. Itachi, this kid seems to know us. The Ghost Shark's eyes were firmly locked on Shiyu's body during the words, and he began to show such interest in Shiyu. It seems so. Itachi looked at Shiyu's calm look, and he was also a little confused. Ordinary teenagers didn't panic when they saw them, but at least there was a little fear on their faces, but Shiyu didn't. On the contrary, it seems too calm. Little devil, then you know the purpose of our coming here. Guiyu said curiously. However, Shiyu's answer made his face angry. As soon as you showed up, you have already targeted Nine Tails and now you still ask such stupid questions. I said, are you all the rebels in Wuyin village so stupid? Little devil, be careful of your mouth. The ghost said in a deep voice, but at the same time it was confirmed that Shiyu had fully known their identities. Then you have to see if you have this ability. Hee hee. The ghost chuckled lightly, and continued, one knowing our identity, dare to be such an arrogant kid, you are the first. Not everyone is afraid of you. Boy, don't count on the person who protects you, he has already been distracted by us, and will not come to save you in a short time. You still don't believe that you are stupid. Shiyu responded softly, and then said, when did I say that we need his protection? The ghost who heard this was stunned for a moment, and even Itachi was stunned. They are wondering why little Sha Ren has such self-confidence, whether he is used to being arrogant in the weekdays, or is he really capable of something, Mr. Itachi. I want to kill this kid, don't you mind? There is no need to be troublesome. Itachi responded, and then said, we just have to take him Kinetails away, otherwise it will irritate that person, and it will be hard for us to get away. Makes sense. Advertisement. Guiyu nodded, his gaze returned to Shiyu, and continued, little devil, for the face of Mr. Itachi, I will let you go this time. Now hand over the kid behind you. What do you want to do? Naruto, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke again. Naruto, come with us. In this way, your partner will not get hurt. Itachi's tone didn't have the slightest temperature, and some were just infinitely cold. I think it's better to chop off one leg first, so that Naruto won't run around. The ghost shark in the conjugation room stretched out his hand to dig out the shark muscle behind it. Quote. Hearing this, Naruto's face was full of surprise, and if Shiyu were not present, he would have been at a loss. If you want to take someone from me, I don't think you two can do it. Besides, after a pause, Shiyu looked at the ghost shark and continued, for your words and deeds, you must pay the corresponding price. Hearing Shiyu's words, Guiyu and Itachi were stunned. Especially the ghost shark, he has been alive for so long, and has never seen such an arrogant little ghost like Shiyu. Moreover, after knowing about them, before Guiyu answered, Shiyu said first, but before that, I think you Itachi should reunite with your brother first, Uchiha Itachi. When Shiyu's words fell, Itachi was also slightly taken aback, he did not expect. Shiyu even knew this secret. The Naruto who heard this also suddenly realized. After he saw Itachi's riding wheel eyes before, he suspected that the latter should come from the Uchiha clan like Sasuke. However, what he is now wondering is who is the younger brother of Itachi, not only Naruto, but also the ghost. Uchiha Itachi. The same four words are still there, but this voice is filled with endless anger and resentment. Whoa, it's really rare. You can still see other writers besides Mr. Itachi. Ghost Shark exclaimed. Focusing on Sasuke's body, he asked, Mr. Itachi, is that kid Tokiha true? Itachi didn't deny it, and nodded directly. But I heard that all the Uchiha clan were killed, and it was you who did it. Regarding the question of the Ghost Shark, Itachi said, because he doesn't even have the qualifications to die in my hands.
Advertisement. It sounds like Sasuke is degraded to nothing, but in fact he wants to protect the latter. However, at this time, Sasuke can no longer contain the long repressed hatred in his heart. Uchiha Itachi, as you said, one hates you, the other hates you and I live just to kill you. Sasuke's voice fell with an endless roar. He knew that Itachi was quite powerful. In order to be able to kill Itachi, he used his strongest trick. Laid down Chidori. At this moment, I was blinded by hatred, holding Chidori in my hand and rushed toward Itachi.
Along the way, the walls of the corridor were created with a raw crack, which shows the power of this ninjutsu. Boom. With a loud noise, Sasuke's so-called strongest move appeared so vulnerable in front of Itachi. It was directly cracked by Itachi, and he pressed the palm holding the millennium with one hand. It was on the wall. It's not that Chidori is not strong enough in ninjutsu. It's because Itachi's Shulinyan has been used to the point of perfection, and he can see through Sasuke's attack at a glance. Naruto saw that his opponent was so strong. Without a word,
he directly summoned Nine-Tailed Chakra and opened his hands directly. Ninfa and Psychic. However, the Indian style in this hand was not finished yet, it was directly cut off by the ghost shark, Nine-Tailed Chakra. What's wrong? Why can't I feel chakra anymore? Just as Naruto was depressed, Shiyu also said, that's the ability of the great swordfish muscle, you can cut off and eat chakra. Hearing Shiyu's words, Guiyu was also taken aback, he didn't expect Shiyu to even know this. Boy, it seems that you know a lot. I know far more things than you think. For example, before you became a rebel, killed a woman who had a good impression of you in order to prevent the mission from leaking. I'm talking about it or not, Misty Monster Drying Persimmon Ghost Shark. When Shiyu said this, Guiyu was completely stunned. In order to protect the mission, the killing of companions by leaking secrets is not new in the shinobi world, this kind of thing is also easy to inquire. But besides himself, there is absolutely no possibility for a second person to know what Shiyu said. But Shiyu actually knows, can this not be shocked? Little devil, who are you? Hinoha Shita Shinobu, Takikawa Tokiha. After Shiyu reported his family, Shiyu's domineering voice slowly sounded between the ghosts. So, now you need to pay for what you just said and do. Chapter 102. Boy, let me see what you are capable of. From Guiyu's tone, he can be heard a little angry. As one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, he was looked down upon by Shiyu, a newcomer. The ghost shark whose voice fell was also not talking nonsense, waving that muscle in his hand and slashing directly at Shiyu. Facing the attack of the ghost shark, Shiyu never moved. Allowing the shark muscle to fall on his body, upon seeing this, the ghost once thought that the previous Shiyu was completely bragging. What kind of ability can someone who avoids even such a simple blow? Shiyu. Naruto also exclaimed for it, but the next scene made everyone dumbfounded. It was because muscle passed directly through Tokiha's body, causing the ghost shark to chop the air. What kind of technique is this? Because Shiyu's figure has not disappeared, the ghost shark has ruled out the clone surgery and substitute surgery. Undoubtedly, Shiyu used the Shinwei. Naruto was also confused about this, but only Itachi saw a clue. Because this kind of situation has only been seen in one person, that is, a Fei, a replacement member of Shao, that is, take soil. In today's dawn, few people in the organization know about aviation belt soil. Except for Itachi, Nagato, and Xiaonan. Naturally, the ghost shark didn't know it, because the current Teitu has not yet become a full member of the Akatsuki organization. But what he never expected was that Shiyu also had Shulinyan. As he said earlier, his luck today is really good. In addition to open black lens bracket Itachi close black lens bracket, he also saw 3 people who have open black lens bracket Shanyan close black lens bracket. The first one is Kakashi. The second one is Sasuke. Now I need to add another, Shiba. Originally, Itachi was only skeptical, but when I saw Toki's pair of writing round eyes after the pattern of close black lens bracket, it was finalized. The power of a kaleidoscope. Advertisement. But at this time, Itachi was extremely shocked. He did not expect that besides him and a Fei, there is a third person in this world who has kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Moreover, it was still such a young age. Looking at Shiyu in front of him, a thought came up in Itachi's heart. Is he also a descendant of the Uchiha clan? Although Shiyu just said his real name, Itachi clearly knew that only those with Uchiha's blood could only switch Shulinyan. That's why he had this guess. At this time, Itachi had already performed monthly reading on Sasuke, and Shiyu did not stop him from doing it. Because this will make Sasuke firmer and stronger. Moreover, this is also buried for his future plans. Mr. Itachi, this kid's writing is unusual. The ghost shark's eyes finally showed a touch of shock during the words, which was an affirmation of Shiyu's strength. He knows that the reason why Itachi is inseparable from his eyes. At the same time, at this moment, he and Itachi also knew that Shiyu was as confident as before. It turns out that this is what he is relying on. And just in the astonishment of open black lens bracket Itachi close black lens bracket, the open black lens bracket Shu muscle close black lens bracket in the hand of the ghost shark waved again. But what made Itachi and Naruto surprised was that at this time, Ghost actually attacked Itachi. Boom. A stab went down and directly pierced a hole in the wall of the corridor. But Ghosts did not stop there, but Ghosts. Close black lens bracket said while attacking. Mr. Itachi, I wanted to compete with you a long time ago. Have you been in illusion? At this time, Itachi was avoiding the attack, while thinking, it is impossible for a ghost to be recruited by a general illusion. Moreover, why is it so clear after the illusion that the current ghost not only knows Itachi, and there is no problem with the mind at all? Could it? While whispering, it seemed to think of something, and then a deep shock appeared on his face. What he thought of might naturally be, don't be a god. Originally, he was not sure, but when he remembered that Shiyu's ability to write a wheel in a kaleidoscope just now was as good as with soil, he just had to believe it. It is possible. Since one of Shiyu's kaleidoscope eyes can have the same ability as with soil, the other kaleidoscope eyes can naturally also have similar abilities to Shishui kaleidoscope. Advertisement. Because his own eyes have different abilities. After knowing what type of illusion Shiyu is using, Itachi is also a way to deal with it. There are only 3 ways to crack this implantation of thoughts, that is to cast a stronger illusion and cover the illusion. Let the caster cancel or stop the illusion. Use powerful or special means to remove this illusion. That implanted thought. Take it out of the mind of the operator. As for the method of killing the operator, it is not necessarily feasible. Because some powerful illusions are lifetime, even if you kill the caster, they can't be removed. It's like, don't God. Itachi obviously knew this possibility. Just when Ghost was about to use ninjutsu, Itachi suddenly heard a low drink from the throat. Itachi knew that only in this way could the Ghost Shark's actions be stopped, and he couldn't guarantee whether he could crack the illusion art. But there is only one try right now. Naruto was equally daunted when he saw this scene. This Itachi and Ghost are obviously accomplices, how can they compete in an instant, and now they are standing quietly in place. At this time, in the world of monthly reading, Itachi could only temporarily seal the Ghost Shark, trying to remove the implanted thinking in his mind. But he found that this is not a simple thing. Fortunately, in the world of monthly reading, time is controlled by him, and the time of a few days is only a short time. With the efforts of Itachi, he finally removed the section of implanted thoughts in Ghost's memory. This thought is different from Itachi. The thought implanted by other gods is determined by the operator, just like Danzo, the thought implanted in Mifune's mind is select him as a coalition army commander, and Itachi's farewell god thought is guardian Konoha. However, Itachi was able to remove this thought smoothly. In addition to his own strong talent for illusory skills, there is another point that Shiyu stopped controlling Ghost Shark correctly. Otherwise, this sustained effect, don't God, is not. You can crack it if you want to. Continuous effect. Farewell to God does not seem to be comparable to the lifetime effect. The other gods, but in terms of control, it has an advantage. Because he is continuously controlling, the caster has been releasing chakra to maintain this effect. But the lifetime effect is different. Once people notice it, it is easier to crack only if you are good at it. Because there is no caster to interfere with you. So, the two effects of other gods have their own merit. Chapter 103. Call. After escaping from the world of Itachi's open black lens bracket monthly reading close black lens bracket, the Ghost Shark also took a deep breath. Because his spirit now looks very vain. This is inevitable, and he has been hit by the two highest illusions at the same time, and he is still fighting in his mind. This is undoubtedly fatal to a person. Fortunately, this person is a strong person like Ghost Scorpion, so he can be any ordinary person, or even a ninja with a little spirit. At this moment, he must be killed on the spot. After taking a few deep breaths, the ghost also asked, Mr. Itachi, I was really hit by illusion. Itachi nodded, and then said, this kind of illusion is very powerful, and it can be tricked without noticing it. Moreover, it can keep you in reality. Mr. Itachi, thank you for saving me. Ghost Shark thanked. Actually, if he hadn't taken control of you just now, I'm afraid I would not be able to crack it in such a short period of time. At this time, the state of Itachi is not very good, plus Kakashi's time, he has used it 3 times in a row. Hearing Itachi's words, the Ghost Shark was extremely shocked, and then the gaze that looked at Shiyu was full of jealousy. He never thought that this seemingly ordinary little ghost would be so strong. Listening to Itachi, it seems that the latter's illusion skills are still higher than the former. At this moment, he clearly understood the horror of Chilunian. At the same time, the two finally understood what Shiyu had said before. It turned out that Shiyu was not stupid or bragging, but the real 200 strength. Seeing that the two were silent, Shiyu also said again, if you still want to make Kyuubi's idea, please send more people. Furthermore, I have to hold on to the determination to die. Your name is Takikawa Tokiha, right? At this moment, Itachi had already regarded Toki as an opponent of the same level, and he was still that kind of dangerous opponent. Good. You are strong. Itachi spit out 3 words from the heart, looking at Shiyu's eyes that had restored their black pupils, he couldn't help but ask. Are you a descendant of the Uchiha clan? If you are interested in this answer, you can investigate it yourself. In that case, it's a good time to see you again. After the words fell, Itachi was about to leave with the Ghost Shark, because he knew that someone had been spying in the dark for a long time. In addition, he is currently in poor condition, and the situation is extremely unfavorable to them, so he can only withdraw the subtle first. However, at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Ninfa Toad's mouth binding technique. As this voice fell, the originally dilapidated corridor suddenly turned into a red world. Advertisement. The surroundings were slimy and a little disgusting. Naruto was also taken aback when he saw this sudden rise. Immediately after, a figure appeared in the field of vision of Shiyu and others. If you want to go, you have to ask me if I agree. Laughter Fairy, why are you only now? Seeing Jiraiya also appear, Naruto also shouted angrily. If it hadn't been for Wei Yu just now, I'm afraid he would have cut off a leg and took it away. Naruto. In fact, the lecherous fairy appeared when they did it, but he didn't do it. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto even more, why? Because he wants to see if I am bragging. Hearing Shiyu's words, Ji-Lai was slightly taken aback, he did not expect that his mind would naturally be completely seen through by Shiyu. And this is why Itachi wants to withdraw first, and now they too Shiyu may not be able to win, let alone add a Jiraiya. Shiyu, you are really smart. Ji-Lai also praised Shiyu, and then looked at Itachi and the ghost. Shark. It's a pity. Itachi, Ghost Shark, I'm afraid you two won't be able to run today. Faced with this predicament, Itachi still didn't panic too much. At this time, he still did not forget to instill hatred in Sasuke. Do you know why you are so weak? That's because your hatred is not strong enough, not deep enough. When the voice fell, Itachi said directly to the vacant ghost shark, "Follow me." Then, the two disappeared around the corner. Upon seeing this, Shiyu had no intention of blocking it. Because with the strength of Itachi, if you want to escape with all your heart, I don't know how much work it will take to keep it. Because once Itachi shoots with all its strength is not covered. His Suzao Nengu has 2 divine tools, 10-fist sword and 8 feet realm. Offensive and defensive, a strong group. Moreover, the strongest flame Amaterasu, Shiyu is really difficult to solve now. Unless he can master the adding earth fate. Besides, it may be possible that the system will come to them in the future, the human body will spawn other tasks, and now it has been solved, wouldn't it be a pity? If the system will do so by then for a more difficult task, it is obviously not worth the loss, So why do you do such a thankless thing? When Itachi and Ghost Shark disappeared from Shiyu's vision, the voice of the system also sounded. Ding, repel Uchiha Itachi and dried persimmon Ghost Shark mission completed. Advertisement. At the same time, Jilai also saw it, and there was also a cold snort from his mouth. Humph. So far, no one has been able to escape from this esophagus of the Iwajuku Big Toad. Shiyu, Naruto, don't move the two of you. When the voice fell, Zilai also directly controlled the walls of flesh and blood on both sides of the esophagus to squeeze toward the middle. Undoubtedly, it was obvious that Jilai had captured Itachi and Guiyu alive. However, when Jilai was also full of confidence, there was a sudden explosion in front of him, which shocked my heart. Impossible. Jilai suddenly spit out 3 words, and immediately went to investigate. However, it was found that a huge hole appeared in the corner of the fleshy esophagus, and there was still flames burning on it. And, it's still black. There is no doubt that it must have been left behind by Itachi releasing Amaterasu, known as the black flame that never extinguishes. Seeing the hole reflected in the pupil of the eye, Ji-Lai was extremely surprised. The voice fell, and Zi-Lai cautiously came to the side of Heian. Then he took out a scroll, and after drawing the seal rune on it, several seals suddenly formed in his hand. Jilai also replied, then looked at Naruto and added something. And they are staring at you for the purpose of 9 tails in your body. Unexpectedly, they would be able to break through the esophagus of the Iwajuku Big Toad. And what kind of flame is the black flame? Why can it burn through the fire-breathing Iwajuku Big Toad's viscera? Seal art sealing fire seal. Okay, that's it. Naruto also had the same doubts as Jilai, but Naruto, a straight-natured man, raised any questions directly. With the sound of Jiraiya's voice, the black flame that was originally immortal was sucked into the seal scroll. Philo reminds you 3 things about reading. They come from an organization called Shao, and their purpose is to collect tail beasts scattered around the world. Laughter Fairy, what are those 2 people just now? Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Naruto looked at the direction where Itachi and Ghost Shark disappeared, and couldn't help asking. Laughter Fairy, what the hell is that black flame? I do not know either. Just now he still vowed to say, but in a blink of an eye, he slapped his face. He couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Obviously, he still has the strength to mutter Itachi. Chapter 104. In the corridor, Jilai's eyes fell on Shiyu's body and praised. Shiyu, I didn't expect that in just a few days, your strength would have improved like this. By the way, what happened to your move just now? This was the point that Jilai also wanted to ask. In his opinion, Shiyu was able to be so embarrassed with Guiyu. I can't live without the mutated pair of hydraulic eyes. That's the ability of my kaleidoscope blood ring eyes. Shiyu didn't hide it, and this secret didn't matter to him anymore. Kaleidoscope blood wheel eyes. Shiyu nodded, and then said, I saw my relatives leave in my sleep a few days ago, and my eyes became like this after a lot of grief. According to Uchiha Itachi just now, this should be the second form of Chulinyan kaleidoscope blood wheel eye. And the 2 abilities I just displayed came from these eyes. After listening to Shiyu's words, looking at Shiyu's spiral dart's eyes, Jilai also exclaimed. Unexpectedly, this Jiaolunyan can even evolve. Jilai also looked at the seal in his hand with black flame. Suddenly, it suddenly dawned on the scroll of. It seems that this black flame should be Uchiha Itachi's kaleidoscope writing round eyes ability. Okay, let's go see Sasuke. In this regard, Shiyu and Naruto naturally did not refuse. But when they checked Sasuke's condition, Jiraiya also noticed someone approaching, and the moment he turned his head, he saw a big foot kicking towards him. Moreover, it was accompanied by a voice. Pow or rhythm. Bump. Without any accident, Jiraiya's facade was directly kicked by a sudden kick. The owner of this foot was behind, and he looked at Jiraiya in astonishment. Why are you? It is not someone else who is talking, it is Konoha, Blue Beast Metkai, who is known for his teasing. At this time, Jilai was really holding his mouth and looking at Emperor Kai, making the latter scratch his head in embarrassment. Sorry, Lord Jilai, I actually kicked you directly because I was too rushed and this is the corner again. I didn't recognize you for a while. Are you apologizing? Jilai also angrily said. Advertisement. Forget it, it doesn't matter anymore. We have to rush Sasuke to the medical room. Both his hands and ribs are broken. Furthermore, it seems that the enemy has attacked the spirit with pupil technique, and now he has lost consciousness. Hearing these words, Emperor Kai was taken aback, and then Kakashi's figure flashed through his mind. Muttered in his heart, "Did you hit that trick?" After looking at Sasuke who was sitting on the ground unconscious, Naruto worried. Lecherous fairy, Sasuke is okay. Extra injuries are not a problem, but his spirit has been severely traumatized, and I am afraid that he will not get better for a while. The Emperor Kai who heard the words also said, Kakashi is still resting in the village because of this trick. I don't know when will he wake up. What even teacher Kakashi? Naruto exclaimed, he was not as strong as Kakashi, and he was hit hard. Naruto, teacher Akai, don't worry too much. When we find one of the 3 forbearance adults, all problems will be solved. By then, Shaoli's injuries may also be healed. After hearing Shiyu's words, Akai was also taken aback, and then the woman with the word, gambling, on her clothes appeared in her mind. Master Jiraiya, you are going to go. Yes, we went to find Tsunade on this trip, and I want her to come back to serve as 5th generation. After Jilai also talked with Akai, they said goodbye. Kei returned to Konoha with Sasuke on his back, and Jilai also took Toki and Naruto on the road to find Tsunade. In order to be able to find Tsunade as much as possible to rescue Sasuke and Kakashi and others, Naruto is also full of energy. Along the way, full of energy. After half an hour. After thinking about it, Naruto also said, Laughter Fairy. You said earlier that the goal of the so-called Shao organization is me, then I will become stronger. Don't worry, I have already thought about this question. Jilai also responded, and then said, it's not something you can do in a day or two if you want to find that big sheep anyway. So, I will teach you cultivation during this time. Great, Naruto exclaimed, and hurriedly said, Lecherous Fairy, then let's get started. Cultivation can't be done too hastily, we must proceed step by step. That's why we arranged it like this. While collecting Tsunade's information, we are doing different things at the same time, so that neither side will be delayed. It makes sense. Naruto nodded heavily between the words. As for Shiyu, he had a completely indifferent attitude. Because cultivation is completely unnecessary. In addition to looking for Tsunade on this trip, his other purpose is to travel. Advertisement. Otherwise, staying in Konoha all day long, he will be bored too. Come out and appreciate the customs of other countries, the foreign culture is really good. At this moment, Shiyu seemed to understand why Jilai liked the world as his home. This feeling is really good. 2 hours later, Shiyu's group of 3 arrived at the second town, which was much larger than the previous town. The lascivious Jiraiya went to enjoy the beauty, but Shiyu and Naruto ate all kinds of delicacies here. When the food was almost the same, Shiyu said, Naruto, it's time to find a lecherous fairy. Why do I still have so many things I haven't tasted? Naruto was puzzled. Do you want to be strong or fatter? Hearing this, Naruto was stunned, and then shouted, of course I want to become stronger. Then give me what you have in your hand. In this way, the last food in Naruto's hands also entered Shiyu's stomach. But when Yu and Naruto found Jiraiya, they found that Jiraiya was arguing with the local evil young man. The reason turned out to be a wine partner. Everyone knows that Jilai is also greedy for beauty, but he is also a reasonable person, but the young wine partner who fell in love with Jilai's arms. After a few words, the evil young man will start beating people. Naturally, Jilai couldn't bear this. I saw the chakra in his hand suddenly condensed, and then reached out with one hand. A one chakra ball in his hand directly knocked the evil young man into the air. Boom. No accident, the young evil slammed directly on the stall of the water balloon at the back and fell on all fours. Seeing that the pain and wailing on the ground are less evil, Jilai also secretly said in his heart, if I hadn't reduced the power of spiral pill, I am afraid you are already dead now. With this strength, I dare to scream in front of me, Toad Immortal. After seeing the strength of Jiraiya, young evil also changed his inexhaustible attitude, and immediately knelt down and begged for mercy to Grandpa. To this, Jiraiya slapped him so hard and sternly, he said it was ration to the owner of the water balloon booth, but in fact, he didn't have the money to pick up girls. After accepting the banknote in young Master Evil's hand, Jilai also slowly spit out a word. Roll. After solving this evil young man, Jilai also looked at the pile of water balloons on the ground. His eyes suddenly lit up. Immediately, these water balloons. I bought them all, and then said to Shiyu and Naruto. Let's go. Practice has gone to 5. Chapter 105. After a while, Jilai also took Shiyu and Naruto to a spacious grove, where there was no one everywhere, and it was quite suitable for cultivation. Seeing Joraji stop, Naruto was also extremely excited. Woo, I finally started cultivating. Boom. I saw that Jilai also put a bag of water balloons on the ground lightly, and then took out 2 water balloons. Road. Catch it. Jilai between the words also threw a water balloon to Naruto and Shiyu at the same time. Caught the water balloon. Naruto's face was puzzled and asked directly. Hey, lecherous fairy, didn't you ask us to cultivate? Why are you giving us a water ball? Before Jilai answered, Shiyu said first. I think the lecherous immortal wants to teach us the trick ninjutsu he just used. Shiyu is still smarter. Jilai also praised Shiyu, and then said, you all saw 2200 just now. I have ninjutsu. Naruto grinned, and Shiyu nodded. What kind of ninjutsu do you think it is? I only remember that. The white robe whirled in the air when he flew out. I don't know the others. Hearing Naruto's words, Ji-Lai also looked at Shiyu. What do you think? If I'm not mistaken, then ninjutsu should be a high-density chakra ball that condenses the chakra in the palm of the hand, and then condenses it by rotating and compressing it. For Shiyu's answer, Ji-Lai also nodded very satisfied. Good. This ninjutsu trick is called Spiral Pill, and it was completed by 4 generations of Naruto, with reference to the tail beast Jade in 3 years. Hearing these words, Naruto was even more alarmed. Because 4 generations is his hero, but he did not expect that his so-called idol was actually his biological father. Immediately after, Jiraiya once again picked up a 1-inch water balloon. But his fingers did not move, the water balloon in his palm. It exploded. Boom. Numerous water droplets sputtered out. This scene also made Naruto extremely stunned, and made him look forward to this ninjutsu more and more. Advertisement. Immediately after, Jiraiya also briefly explained to Shiba and Naruto the principle of ninjutsu condensed in this spiral maru. Climbing trees with feet and walking on water, you have trained, and you all know that they are all necessary to use chakras reasonably and maintain them within a certain range before they can be completed. But Spiral Pill is different, he needs you to accurately maintain the flow of a certain amount of chakra. Making chakra flow, Naruto murmured and took a fancy to the water balloon in his hand. He suddenly realized. Laughter Fairy, you mean this time water polo is to let us master the flow of chakra. Good. In short, it is to control its rotation. Jilai also responded and continued, after you learn this step first, I will teach you the next step of cultivation. However, as soon as Jiraiya's voice fell, an explosion sounded from his ears. Boom. There is no accident, this sound is from the explosion of the water polo, and it is no different from the previous sound. Jiraiya and Naruto's eyes fell instantly into Shiyu's hands, and everything was exactly as they imagined. The explosion sound just now was the water polo in Shiyu's hand. The result of the explosion caused the two of them to be taken aback. Especially Jiraiya. He had just finished speaking on the front foot, Shiyu had mastered it on the back foot. This kind of talent is too abnormal. But this is not the most shocking to Jiraiya. What surprised him even more was the next scene. Laughter Fairy, I don't think this ninjutsu is that difficult. When Shiyu's voice fell, only a chakra condensed in his palm. In a flash, a perfect chakra ball appeared in his hand. Not surprisingly, it is a shaped spiral pill. This. At this time, Jiraiya and Naruto had grown up with a big mouth, and it took a long time to recover. He knew that Shiyu was talented with evil spirits, which he had known since the last time he taught Shiyu spiritualism and other ninjutsu. But these ninjutsu are mostly achieved through Jian. But this spiral maru is different, it can be used without Jian, so the precise control of chakra is quite high. Moreover, how to control the flow of chakra, completely perfect rotation and compression to a certain extent, will be powerful. However, Jilai also felt relieved when he thought of Shiyu's possession of Shaolunyan. After all, this bloodstain limit can replicate ninjutsu, which has been verified from Kakashi's body. And now, Shiyu's shaping Lunyan has been upgraded to kaleidoscope writing Lunyan, and his ability has naturally improved. At first he thought the matter would end here, but Shiyu's next sentence made him and Naruto shocked again. Lecherous Fairy, I feel that this technique of ninjutsu can be strengthened. Strengthen. Jilai was also stunned. Advertisement. Shiyu nodded, his mind moved, and more chakras poured out of his body and gathered towards the chakra ball in his hand. The next moment, that's only the size of a fist. Spiral pill, it became a basketball size. Jilai was also able to clearly feel a strong wave of waves rippling out of it. Wow, such a big spiral pill. Naruto exclaimed, staring at the chakra ball in Toki's hand. For this, Zilai couldn't help but praise Shiyu. Shiyu, you are a genius. Although it only took him 3 days to learn this technique of ninjutsu, he never thought of strengthening this spiral pill. The animation he knows, Deu Helix Maru, is because Naruto developed it himself during the 2 years of studying with him. And while Jilai was surprised, Shiyu's another sentence left him completely speechless. I feel like it can grow stronger. Can still grow. Naruto exclaimed. Because I don't think this kind of control has reached the limit. When the voice fell, Shiyu was also not talking nonsense, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, and the chakra inside his body rushed out again. Next second, it was originally only basketball size. His spiral pill suddenly skyrocketed dozens of times, and it was even bigger than the 3 of them combined. Seeing the reflection in the eye zero, the super large spiral pill among 5, Jilai also couldn't help but shocked. As this F********* G still spiral pill. But Jilai never thought that this was not Shiyu's ultimate, because this super large jade spiral pill was still easy for Shiyu. Although Shiyu felt that he could grow stronger and come up with some Tai Chi Helix pills, Shiyu felt that it was unnecessary. If you are shocked all at once, there will be no way to pretend to be forced. Shiyu threw the oversized spiral maru out under the wrong eyes of Jiraiya and Naruto. Next second, the place hit by the super large spiral pill directly showed a mess, and there was a huge circular deep pit on the ground. Because of the high-speed rotation, the deep pit looks very flat, as if it was hit by a huge iron ball. This power can be seen. Philo reminds you. 3 things to read when reading chapter 106. Seeing the power of this enhanced version of Jade Spiral, Jilai was shocked that all appeared on his face. If he was like this, Naruto was even more astonished. Shiyu, you are so awesome. I just present what I think, nothing more. Shiyu said faintly. Shiyu was simple, but the hand he showed made Jiraiya and Naruto amazed. Especially Zlai, because he knows that this kind of thing is not something ordinary people can do. Even if it can be done, it will take years and months, and it is absolutely impossible to do it like Shiyu. After calming down for a while, Jilai also said, Shiyu, although these 2 tricks evolved on the basis of Spiral Pill, they were created by you after all. You can give them a name. Since it is an enhanced version of Spiral Pill, I think it's enough to add a few words. Shiyu responded, and then said, the first trick is called Daiyu Spiral Pill, as for the oversized one. Add the word Chao directly and call it Super Jade Helix Pill. Sounds pretty good. Jiraiya in the words also nodded, quite satisfied with the 2 names Shiyu had given. 1-inch Shiyu, you are so amazing. Naruto worshipped Shiyu, and then said, this original ninjutsu has become 3-3. So, as long as I learn Spiral Pill, then I can learn 3-3 tricks at once, he. This is undoubtedly great news for Naruto, who is not good at Jia-yin, learn 1 trick and earn 2 tricks. Therefore, he felt that no matter how hard he worked, he had to cultivate successfully. With Shiyu's success, he mastered Spiral Maru and developed 2 derivative ninjutsu. He doesn't have to practice with Naruto. However, Naruto has been practicing boringly for an afternoon without any results, and can't grasp the flow of chakra at all. But Naruto has been reluctant to give up, because learning 1 trick can derive 2 stronger tricks. With this idea, Naruto insisted on it for a day. But the result was not satisfactory, and Naruto still did not answer the question. What the hell? Why I always can't make the water in water ball spin with my chakra? Hearing Naruto's complaint, after observing the former one day, he finally saw the clues. I know you are due to right-handed type. Right-handed type. Naruto let out a bewilderment, then looked at Shiyu and said, Shiyu, do you know? This is a way to make carrots. Shiyu replied, and then explained. Because chakras are composed of mental power and physical power, they naturally need to be merged when forming chakras in our body. Advertisement. And this kind of fusion will have a certain direction, divided into 2 situations. Left-handed fusion and right-handed fusion. Then it has nothing to do with my inability to make chakra flow. Naruto continued to ask. It's easy. Try how your right hand is smoother, and see if it is left smooth or right smooth. Naruto is also according to Shiyu's words. To the left. That's right. Shiyu responded and continued. The right-handed fist is facing the left, so the direction you control the flow of chakra will naturally rotate to the left. But the problem is that the chakras produced in your body are right-handed fusion. The 2 directions are opposite, it will cause chakras to flow in your body not smoothly, and interfere with each other, so that you can release the chakras to prevent the chakras from flowing at a high speed. So it is. Hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto suddenly realized. And Zlai was also slightly startled, he didn't expect Shiyu to dabble in this aspect. Correct. Laughter Fairy, how do you suddenly see that I am of the right-handed fusion type? Regarding Naruto's doubts, Zlai also replied, it's very simple, because your hair grows counterclockwise. What do you think if you have a bald head? Naruto asked this question instantly, because he didn't even think of any obvious features that could be judged besides the direction of hair growth. When Ji-Lai was embarrassed, Shiyu said, look at the thread of your finger to know. Thread. Naruto was puzzled. To put it simply, whether the fingerprint pattern on your finger is left spiral or right spiral, the direction of hair growth is also determined by this. Hearing Shiyu's words, Ji-Lai also hurriedly said. Shiyu was right. While studying the thread in his hand, Naruto also murmured, it seems that mine is really right-hand fusion type. Laughter Fairy, what should I do now? It's easy. As long as you make chakra spin and flow to the right. Advertisement. Ji-Lai also smiled. Okay, I get it now. Naruto nodded, and started his own training journey again. However, it is difficult for people who are habitual to use the right hand to move the control chakra to the left. It is undoubtedly a long process to overcome this difficulty. Seeing that Naruto was still acting recklessly, Shiyu suggested. Naruto, you may not be used to it at first. You can try to use another hand to help, maybe there will be unexpected results. This is Shiyu's experience of rubbing pills. Since you can't rub one hand, use 2 hands. 2-pronged approach, the effect is doubled. With the other hand. Naruto was surprised. Seeing Shiyu nodding, Naruto also tried. 200 however, the result has not changed. Because he used his left hand to control chakra all to the left, which is a habitual way and it is difficult to change. Shiyu, this method doesn't work at all. Success. For this result, Naruto was also extremely excited, and he looked like he was dancing. Left and right. Change it. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Naruto murmured, then shouted. Yes, why didn't I expect it? Laughter Fairy, Shiyu. It broke. To read the novel without underline, please download Faye. Although it was not done with one hand, I finally managed to overcome this first step. Okay, It's not too early. After 2 or 3 attempts, he finally, water polo. This time, the effect was unusually significant. Hey, I said you can't work around it. Shiyu let out a helpless voice, and continued, of course the left hand is habitually swiping to the left. Can you change it left and right? And Ji Lai also saw this, and he was shocked. What he was shocked was that Naruto really broke the water polo 5, but what was even more shocking was that he did not expect Shiyu to come up with such a method. This result was completely expected by Shiyu, because no matter how stupid people were to use this method, they would be able to succeed. Today's practice is here first, and tomorrow I will teach you the next stage of practice. You guys, I made it. Naruto, whose voice fell, did not hesitate anymore, and started practicing again. Chapter 107. The next day, it was still that familiar grove. Naruto started the second stage of practice. Laughter Fairy, hurry up and teach me the next level of contact. Wenyen's Jilai also took out a ball from a bag and threw it to Naruto. Naruto, who caught the ball, was speechless. What's the matter? Yesterday it was a water polo, today it is a ball. Regarding Naruto's complaint, Zilai also said, your practice today is to break the 5, this ball. What? This is made by an eraser, how can it be done? Naruto's questioning sound just fell, and Jilai also took out another ball, and then the ball was directly squeezed into nothingness in Naruto's eyes. Boom. There is no accident, it is directly turned into a pile of invisible powder. Nothing is impossible. Jilai also snorted, and then said, this ball is 100 times harder than a water polo. The purpose is to exercise your strength, the power of rotation. If you don't have this kind of power, what you gather is nothing more than a simple chakra ball. There is no power to speak of. Hearing what Jiraiya said, Naruto could only do it. So he started a new day of training. As for Shiyu, he went to explore the news of Tsunade with Jagia, as long as Naruto is alone. That night, Naruto didn't explode the ball, but it was not without gain. He thickened the ball a hole. He was so tired today that he lay down and fell asleep. The next day, when Naruto woke up, he immediately asked Shiyu for advice. He thought that Shiyu might have a way to let him quickly master it. Shiyu, is there any trick to this rotating power? No, Shiyu replied straightforwardly, and then said, you can only rely on your own efforts. If you feel that there is a shortcut in everything, then it is difficult for you to make progress. Some things can only be explored by yourself. I get it. Naruto in the words looked high-spirited, ready to continue the practice yesterday. Just when he was about to leave, Shiyu stopped him. And many more. Advertisement. Is there anything else? Although there is no shortcut in this process, I can give you a hint. What is it? Naruto said with excitement. When you are practicing, you can draw a spiral pattern in the palm of your hand, and then concentrate on the middle point to gather your strength. In this way, you can better compress the power. When this power is released, it will be extremely powerful. After hearing Shiyu's words again, Naruto didn't know if this method was effective. But he believed that Shiyu definitely wouldn't lie to him. So after eating breakfast, he immediately started practicing in Shiyu's way. As for Shiyu, he still went with Zilaya to inquire about the news. Today, they finally have a harvest. The two learned about the whereabouts of Tsunade in the gambling shop, and the latter is now living in this other town. Wuyuan Town, open black lens bracket Duanshu Street close black lens bracket. Although they know the whereabouts of open black lens bracket Tsunade close black lens bracket, they still have a short distance from here. Laughter Fairy, when shall we leave? Now that you know the location of her Tsunade, don't worry, there are so many gambling shops in Wuyuan Town, she will not leave for a while. Jilai also answered Shiyuichi. The sound, then said, let's go see how Naruto guy is doing. I think he should be able to complete the second stage of training today. Oh, you have so much confidence in him. The self-reliance between the words was also slightly stunned, because Shiyu's words never seemed to be missed. Because of this, Jilai is a little impatient to witness the result. After half an hour, when Yu and Jilai also came to the familiar grove, they found that Naruto had fallen to the ground because of exhaustion from training. However, Jiraiya was also shocked to find that there was still a pile of debris from the ball where Naruto's palm fell. Upon seeing this, he knew that Naruto had successfully blasted the ball. This result made him very pleased, but at the same time very shocked, because it was once again said by Shiyu. Originally, he really thought it was Shiyu who guessed it, but when he saw the spiral pattern in Naruto's palm, he understood. However, he didn't say breaking the 5, it just looked at Shiyu with a deep meaning, and he liked the latter more and more. At this time, Naruto slowly opened his eyes after a rest. Laughter Fairy, you are here. Look, I have already broken the ball, so hurry up and teach me the third stage of practice. Advertisement. You have a good rest. Tomorrow we will set off to find Tsunade, and then I will tell you about the third stage of training. Jiraiya said. Okay. That night, Naruto thanked Shiyu for his guidance. In his heart, Shiyu's worship has reached a height that can be looked up to. The next day, after the three of them packed their bags, Jilai also said, go. Wuyuan Town, Duan Kai Street. Shiyu and Naruto were accustomed to Jilai's yelling child Xing. Laughter Fairy, you said last night that you can practice while walking in the third stage, is it true? Of course, Ji Lai also took out a balloon from his body and placed it in his palm. Simply put, it is to condense the chakras in a balloon without making the balloon explode. As the name suggests, it is to maintain the power of rotation within a range. The three of them are on the same journey again. Yujurin didn't know yet, besides the three of them three who were looking for Tsunade, two others were already looking for the latter. Cut off the soul. Have you seen it clearly? This is the third stage of practice. That pair was Reaper. You can make it simpler, I don't quite understand it. And this range is the balloon in my hand. These two people are open black lens bracket Oshuan close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket close black lens bracket. Their purpose of looking for open black lens bracket Tsunade close black lens bracket is very simple, so that the latter can heal open black lens bracket Oshuan close black lens bracket, S hands. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read when reading. The strange thing is that the balloon floated in Jiraiya's hands without a focus, and it kept spinning. This ninjutsu has also been completely learned. After introducing Naruto, Jiraiya also threw a bunch of balloons to the latter, and let him practice slowly. The first stage is rotation, the second stage is power, and the third stage is consolidation. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. After saying this, it was also Naruto that Zillai gave a general explanation of the third stage of the exercise. In short, when you can perfectly control a chakra ball that has both spin and power, then. Naruto scratched his head while speaking. Laughter Fairy. Chapter 108. A few days later, Shiyu's Trio 3 finally arrived in Wuyuan town, and then there was no extra nonsense, and they rushed directly to Duanshu Street. Soon, the three of them entered Duanshu Street. According to Jaleda's understanding of Tsunade, their goal is naturally a gambling shop. Jilai also directly took Tsunade's photo and asked in the gambling house, while Takiwa took Naruto to play at the gambling house. There are quite a lot of gambling machines in it, no wonder Tsunade will haunt this place. What surprised Shiyu was that Naruto was not talented in cultivation, but his luck in gambling could be said to be against the heavens. You can make a lot of money with just one game coin. Especially Zilaya, it can be said to be envious. He is not a girl every day, called Miss Sister, although life is quite moist, but all these are for money consumption. If he has Naruto's gambling luck, why don't he have the money to pick up girls? This gambling shop did not find Tsunade, and the three of Shiyu must go to the next gambling shop. And not long after they had just stepped out of this gambling house, they were attracted by the shocking movement in the distance. Boom. With a loud noise, Shiyu and the others saw that the house in the distance was crushed by something. This movement caused the local residents to flee. Moreover, their expressions were frightened, as if they had seen some monsters. Upon seeing this, at 20, you had guessed the reason. If there is no accident, it should be Oshimaru who has found Tsunade. At this time, the two sides are facing each other. As predicted, everything was the same as Shiyu guessed. Under Jilai's inquiry, he learned that a huge python appeared in front of him. It was the place where the house collapsed just now. Go, let's go and see. You can hear these words, and the three of them are also hurrying towards the place where the incident occurred. On the way, Naruto, who couldn't hide his doubts, asked directly, Laughter Fairy. We are here to find Tsunade, so why don't we go there to join in the fun? To Naruto's doubts, Toki said, because Tsunade is very likely to be there. Why? Because of the big snake in the mouth of those residents just now. The big snake, Naruto murmured, then looked at Jiraiya, and asked, Lecherous Fairy, is it possible that Tsunade likes to eat snakes besides gambling? No, that's because she likes to maintain peace and is a female ninja who saves suffering. Nor. Advertisement. Neither is this, nor is it, then how are you sure that she will appear there? Naruto in the words was extremely depressed. Because the snake is likely to be called Oshake Maru. This has something to do with Oshake Pill. At this time, Naruto became more and more puzzled, and his IQ was obviously the key to not knowing it. To this, Shiyu also asked, Naruto, why do you come to Tsunade for this behavior? Look for her as 5 generations of Hokage. Anything else? Well, she is also said to be one of the 3 ninjas, a medical expert, let's ask her for treatment, Sasuke and teacher Kakashi. So, Oshimaru, who wants to heal his abandoned hands is going to find someone. After hearing Shiyu's words, Naruto finally realized it. And Jiraiya also admires Shiyu more and more, as if there is nothing in this world that can be concealed from him. At the same time, the place where the house collapsed, Tsunade and Silent are facing Oshimaru and open black lens bracket close black lens bracket 2 people. The collapse of the wall just now was due to the strange power of Tsunade. As for the so-called big snake in the mouth of the villagers, it was the psychic beast that was summoned by Oshimaru. But at this moment, the attitude of the two sides is arrogant. However, Oshimaru learned that Tsunade used fear of blood. This weakness of the company alleviated the situation. Immediately he proposed the purpose of this trip, or deal. That was Tsunade to help him heal his hands, and he used the art of reincarnation of Dirty Land to bring Tsunade's lover Kododen and her the younger brother Senjo Rope Tree as resurrected. Oshimaru, seeing Tsunade was struggling, I thought it was more playful than trading. So, he gave the latter 1 week to consider. But when you and the others rushed there, they rushed for nothing. At this time, there was neither Tsunade nor Oshimaru here, even the big snake in the villagers' mouths also disappeared without a trace. Obviously, they were a step late. Looking back from the surroundings, Jiraiya also murmured, "It looks like they haven't caught up." Naruto glanced at the battle marks around him, and guessed. Lecherous Fairy, will Tsunade be taken away by Oshimaru? Will not. Advertisement. Hearing Shiyu's answer, Naruto asked again, why? Tsunade is well known in the ninja world for his medical skills, but to be able to be considered one of the three ninjas, he should have a not-so-weak ability. Furthermore, the hands of today's Oshake pill are gone. The strength of his being unable to Jia Yin is even more compromised. It is not easy to take away Tsunade, who is also one of the three ninjas. Shiyu was right. Jilai also agrees with Shiyu's view, and he thinks the latter is very thorough. Hearing what Shiba and Jiraiya said, Naruto also said. That means Tsunade should still be here, Short Book Street now. Seeing Shiyu, the Analysis Emperor, nodding, Naruto also said immediately. Certainly, he didn't expect Shiyu to even calculate this kind of thing. This is simply, the heifer is standing upside down, and it is so powerful. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download and fly. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. At the moment when he saw Tsunade, Joraji had to obey Toba's cleverness. Naruto knows that this short book street is not very big, so they should be able to find the ladder soon. In less than an hour, Toki and the others found Tsunade in a tavern called Park Izakaya. With the goal, Shiyu's range was reduced a lot. Jilai also rubbed his chin, and after a brief period of contemplation, he also slowly spit out two words. When the voice fell, Shiyu looked at Jiraiya, and continued, Lecherous Fairy, you are one of the three ninjas and you should have a better understanding of Tsunade. Shiyu, is there a good way? Naruto, looking aimlessly like you was just a waste of time. Where does the ladder go when it encounters unhappy things? Tavern. Naruto wanted to find Tsunade quickly, and then rushed back to Konoha to seek treatment with Sasuke, Kakashi, and Shaoli with the ladder. Shiyu nodded, and said at any time, since the two sides didn't agree, then Tsunade shouldn't be upset right now. As predicted. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and find someone. Chapter 109. Short Book Street, in the Park Izakaya. Tsunade. With the sound of Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Silent were immediately noticed. And at the moment when he saw Jiraiya, Tsunade's expression was also startled, with a touch of surprise in his tone. Jiraiya, why did you come here? Obviously, she didn't expect the ladder to come out here. And Naruto was dumbfounded the moment he saw Tsunade, because as far as he knew, the latter should be the same generation as Jiraiya. In other words, the current Tsunade should be 50 years old. But the woman who appeared in front of him now looks like her in her teens or 20s, which is completely different from what Naruto had imagined. Because of this, he couldn't help but raise a thought in his mind. That woman doesn't seem to be 50 years old, she must be a lascivious deceiver. Silent when I saw Jiraiya, she was also stunned. She also didn't expect to encounter the other two, Sannin, in the legend within a day. Seeing Jiraiya, three approaching, Tsunade took a sip of wine and said immediately. What day is today? I can always meet acquaintances. Hearing that, Jiraiya also said directly, it's Oshimaru, right? You guessed it. What's the matter with him coming to see you? The Jiraiya expression between the words was a bit solemn. For the Oshimaru who killed 3 generations of Naruto, he naturally did not want Tsunade to agree to the latter's request. Although they were once companions, the latter has betrayed Konoha and the friendship between them. Nothing. It's just a face-to-face. Tsunade did not inform Jiraiya of the transaction proposed by Oshimaru because she was still thinking about it. Immediately after, Tsunade glanced at Jiraiya, then asked. Let's talk about what you want me to do. Then I won't go around in circles. Jilai also responded, and then said, Tsunade, the village wants you to come, the 5th generation of Hokage. Jilai was also not flushing in heartbeat when he said this, as if the facts were really what he said. But it was not true. It was obviously someone else recommended him to be the 5th generation of Hokage, and he refused, so Tsunade was moved out. For his own freedom, he also took the initiative to ask Ying to come to Tsunade. This was the scene now. Hearing these words, both Tsunade and Silent looked startled. But it was also because of Jiraiya's words that the two of them were sure of one thing. That's what Oshimaru said before is true, he's really killed 3 generations of Naruto Sarutobi. Tsunade didn't mean anything about this. Oshimaru did it, he told me everything. Hearing Tsunade's words, he didn't wait for Joraji to answer, and Naruto was the first to say, what is really Oshimaru? Tsunade's words are undoubtedly proof of Toku's previous speculation that he was the one who met Tsunade an hour ago. Hearing that Tsunade finally noticed the existence of Naruto and Shiyu, he glanced at Naruto and asked. Who is this kid? His name is Naruto Uzumaki. The feeling of getting the answer was stunned, and a sentence flashed in his heart. Nine-tailed monster fox is the person Zuli. But Naruto at this moment is dissatisfied. Although he knows that Tsunade is one of the legendary 3 ninjas, he really does not think that the latter is qualified to serve as the 5th generation of Naruto. Because in his eyes, the position of Naruto is sacred and not desecrated. What is it? Just like she is eligible to be the 5th generation of Naruto. However, as soon as Naruto's voice fell, he was yelled at by Jiraiya. Naruto, you shut up. Others may not know why Tsunade became like this, but it is impossible for him to not know. After berating Naruto, Jiraiya also asked directly. I just want to know what you mean by Tsunade, is it willing or unwilling? After a short period of thinking, Tsunade still couldn't get out of the shadow of death of Kododen and Senju Roppongi. Immediately, 3 words were also suddenly spit out from her mouth. I reject. This result exceeded everyone's expectations, except Shiyu. Your tone reminds me that when I wanted to make friends with you before, you answered me in the same way. Make friends. Are you sure you are not a girlfriend? As soon as Naruto's words fell, Jiraiya's head shuddered. Kang dang. Speaking of adults, don't interrupt the children. However, Naruto did not shut up because of this, but said, what the hell is going on with this woman? Hokage, how many people dream about this position, but we let her take it, she won't do it. In Naruto's view, this is a blasphemy against the position of Naruto. Because his dream is to become Naruto and become a hero like 4 generations. Naruto, don't get excited. Seeing such an angry look on Naruto's face, Jiraiya also dissuaded him, and then said, to be honest, Tsunade is the best candidate for the 5th generation of Naruto. You may not know something about her past. Quote. Joraji also gave Naruto a little science about Tsunade's past, what the most outstanding medical ninja, the hero who put down the war, the granddaughter of the 1st generation of Naruto, and, this matter is decided by Konoha high level. Quote. Also, we are still waiting for her to treat Kakashi, Sasuke and others. Emil, bragging, finally stabilized Naruto's mood. Hearing the words that comforted Naruto, Tsunade couldn't help but let out a sneer. Hee. Jiraiya, this kid is far worse than your previous disciple. Advertisement. It's not only eloquence and brains, but it's also unflattering in appearance. I wonder if you are always confused. Compared with the 4th generation of Naruto, most people will be inferior. Jiraiya also squinted. But Naruto at this time was very upset, and he drank it immediately. Can you say that again? Seeing Naruto's emotions a bit, Shiyu, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. Naruto, there is no need to have general knowledge with someone who has lost faith. But it was this sentence that immediately caught Tsunade and Silent's attention. They weren't stupid, they obviously heard something in Toki's words, as if the latter knew some of Tsunade's past. Because of this, Tsunade's gaze firmly locked on Toki. Who is this kid? His name is Takikawa Tokiha. Tsunade replied, and Jiraiya continued, he is not an ordinary kid. Oh, you mean he can stand shoulder to shoulder with 4 generations? There is nothing worse than it is. Hearing what Zillai also said about Toki, Tsunade was also startled. Because she had never seen Zillai comment on a person in so many years, especially when compared to his most proud disciple. Not to mention that she was surprised, even Mute. Although Mute is a student of Tsunade, she has also heard of 4 generations of Naruto. The latter didn't know how many girls fascinated at the beginning. Even now he has passed away, but the prestige of Yellow Flash still exists, because he has been included in the history of ninja. He is recognized as a strong person. But with such an existence, Jiraiya is saying that Toki is even better than him. Isn't this surprising? At this time, Tsunade and Silent are looking at them carefully. They want to see what makes the latter unique that it is worthy of praise and praise. They also threaten to exceed the Yellow Flash 5. Fei Lu reminds you, 3 things to read. The 113th chapter refers to broken mountains and rivers. However, after taking a closer look at Tsunade and Silent, after discovering that Shiyu was a little handsome, there was nothing special about him. At this moment, they all doubted whether Jiraiya was really old and confused. Jiraiya, are you sure you didn't joke with me? Although I am old, I am not confused yet. Jiraiya said bluntly. Hearing that Tsunade was stunned, he glanced at Toki again. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me anyway. Tsunade in the words was drinking another bitter drink, and he didn't have much interest in the truth or falsehood of this matter. Leave aside this trend for the time being. Jiraiya also replied, and then said, I would like to ask you to reconsider the 5 generations of Hokage. Naruto, haha. Tsunade sneered and continued. Look for yourself, it's as good as a maneuver to be outstanding, agile and the most talented ninja, 4 generations of Naruto, isn't it that he didn't live long, right? It's just too stupid to take my life into the village for the sake of the village. Even the grandfather who calmed down the war and the 2nd generation of Hokage did not end up regretting the village in the end. 2200. Regarding Tsunade's words, Jiraiya can't listen to it. Tsunade, you have changed. I don't care what you are thinking, but how can you say such things? Humph. Tsunade let out a cold snort, and then said, I am in my 50s, and time will change a person. And Sarutobi teacher. Obviously, what can you do when you are old? Isn't this looking for death? Hokage, it's nothing at all, only a fool will be it. At this time Tsunade was undoubtedly drunk crazy by drunkenness. But when Shiyu heard Tsunade's words, he sneered in his heart. Big sheep, when you are really fragrant. Jiraiya and Shiyu can calm down after hearing this, but Naruto can't help it. Not to mention that 4 generations of Naruto is his most admired hero, just 3 generations of Naruto as a plus for caring. He didn't allow others to insult these 2 people. Boom. At this moment, Naruto jumped onto the table and wanted to fight Tsunade. But it was stopped by Jiraiya. Naruto, this is a tavern, don't mess around here. I don't care. Naruto shook off Jiraiya's big hand and pointed at Tsunade. You actually laughed at Grandpa Naruto and 4 generations of Naruto in my face. Even if you are a woman, I still can't miss it. After hearing Naruto's words, Tsunade also had a temper. Stepped on the table with 1 foot, shook 2 large mountains, and said, "Little devil, are you courageous? Dare to talk to me like this? You want to fight, right? Come out with me if you kind." Regarding Tsunade's provocation, Naruto at this moment did not hesitate at all, and agreed with 1 bit. With his current mood, it is estimated that 10 cows will not be able to be pulled back. Ji Lai also sees this, and can only let the 2 of them mess around. While watching the 2 striding out, Shiyu said, "Laughter Fairy, don't you be so pessimistic. Maybe Naruto's trouble, things will turn for the better." "Is it possible?" Jiraiya replied helplessly, but he also had such a naive thought in his heart. At this time, the 2 sides have already stood up, standing more than 10 meters apart. Seeing Naruto's anxious look, Tsunade said with disdain. "Boy, as one of the 3 ninjas, how can I bully you?" "What did you say?" Naruto said in surprise. "Well, I'm just a finger. Advertisement. Do not make jokes." Naruto in the words finally couldn't bear it anymore, there was no extra waste, and the kunai was rushed towards Tsunade. However, facing Naruto's attack on Tsunade, he was unmoved. When Naruto impulsively in front of Tsunade, he only slightly raised his hand, which easily resolved Naruto's attack. Moreover, he took the shuriken from Naruto's hand along the way. As a Sannin Tsunade, his physique is naturally not covered. Touch. With a flick of his finger, Naruto flew out like a cannonball. Boom. There was no accident, but he fell on all 4s. Standing up, Naruto rubbed his forehead and yelled abusively. Hit my forehead. Boy, before you stay awake, I will ask you one more sentence, why do you care about the name Hokage so much? Tsunade asked. I'm not like you, be sure to inherit the name of Naruto. Because it is my dream to become Hokage. Hearing this, Tsunade was taken aback. Because he saw the shadows of 2 people from Naruto at this time, this sentence was also confided in their mouths. Seeing Tsunade stunned, Naruto directly seized the gap and used his strongest moves. To be precise, it is an incomplete move. The hands are quickly intersected, and a weakly stable, spiral pill is also formed in his palm. Watch out. Seeing Naruto holding a spiral pill attacking him, I felt a second surprise. Obviously, she recognized this ninjutsu. However, Naruto is still too immature, and it is undoubtedly foolish to want to beat Tsunade with his current strength. I saw Tsunade, time finger, slammed up and waved to the ground. Boom. With a loud noise, the ground under his feet collapsed directly, and there was a kind of, one finger breaks mountains and rivers. The sense of sight. And Naruto also staggered because of the unstable lower body, and fell directly to the ground. Seeing this scene, Zilai also had a lingering fear, as if he was hiding the familiar picture in his heart. That guy Tsunade's strength is still so great, I remember that when he was beaten by her before, he would take 180 meters to fly. By the way, Naruto is really useless. Bang. Seeing the explosive effect of the spiral pill in Naruto's hand, Tsunade was also slightly surprised. Unexpectedly, he could use 4 generations of ninjutsu. However, there is only this level at the moment, and there is no momentum for that trick at all. After whispering in his heart, Tsunade's gaze also looked at Jiraiya who was watching the show. Jiraiya, you taught him Helix Maru, right? What's so strange about this? How can I say, I am also his teacher? It's only you and 4 generations who know this trick. It's no wonder that this kid is always talking about Hokage. After a cold snort, Tsunade continued, teach him how to be a master of ninjutsu, which he can't learn at all. I advise you, let him break this unrealistic fantasy sooner. As soon as Tsunade said these words, he couldn't help it before Joraji could speak. I didn't say anything nonsense. You idiot. Give me 3 days, I can learn. Hearing that Tsunade was also taken aback for a moment, and then sneered. Hey, the person is not big, isn't the tone small? I have always been straightforward, this is my Nindo. After hearing Naruto's words, Tsunade said, in that case, let's make a bet. Bet, correct. Tsunade nodded, and then said, I will give you a week, if you can learn this ninjutsu, I will admit that you can become Naruto, and give you this necklace. In the words, Suna pointed her finger at the delicate necklace on her chest. Hearing Tsunade's words, Mute immediately couldn't sit still. Why did you say, Tsunade-sama, that's your most important thing? But to Naruto, it was a worthless thing. Who is rare? Naruto, don't say that. At this moment, even Zilai couldn't help but stand up. That is the only ore in the world, and it is also the relic of the first generation of Naruto Master, Zero. If you sell it, you can buy 3 mountains. After listening to Jiraiya's explanation, Naruto reluctantly agreed. It's so powerful, then all right. However, if you lose, then your money will be mine. Tsunade raised the wallet in his hands. Undoubtedly, that is Naruto's wallet. Moreover, there are a lot of them in it, which is the result of Naruto's previous luck in the game hall. Why did my wallet go to her? Tsunade-sama, isn't this okay, that thing? The silence was not finished, but Tsunade interrupted him. There is nothing wrong, he will definitely lose anyway. Go, mute. When the voice fell, Tsunade turned around and wanted to leave. At this moment, Shiyu, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. And many more. Hearing this, Tsunade was stunned, turned his head to look at Toki, and said, "Why, you kid wants to bet with me, too." Good. As soon as Shiyu answered, Zilayi and others were shocked. Please download Faye to read the ununderlined version of the novel. Chapter 110. I said Jiraiya, the kid you brought is really funny. Tsunade smashed slightly, then looked at Shiyu, and said, "Let's talk kid, what do you want to bet on?" "We will bet on your medical ninjutsu." Hearing Shiyu's words, everyone was taken aback. They obviously didn't know what medicine Shiyu sold in this gourd. Medical ninjutsu, Tsunade murmured. Correct. Shiyu nodded and explained. Since I don't want to be 5th generation Hokage, we will naturally not force you. But some people in Konoha need your medical ninjutsu. Everyone who heard the words finally realized that Shiyu had made this idea. In this regard, Tsunade also said, "You mean I want me to teach you medical ninjutsu? It's not teaching, it's gamble. If you lose, just copy your medical ninjutsu into a book and give it to me." Hearing Shiyu's words, everyone was stunned. Especially Tsunade. He saw arrogant, but he had never seen such self-righteousness like Shiyu. Boy, if my medical ninjutsu hadn't been taught by me, it is estimated that few people in the world would be able to acquire the essence of 18. Regarding Tsunade's words, Shiba didn't care at all. Because with his 100-fold talent, as long as Tsunade writes his medical ninjutsu silently in a book, he will naturally learn the essence. Even to a higher level. This is no need to worry about you just need to gamble or not. What a funny kid. Tsunade let out a faint cry, and then said, "Then what if I win? The conditions are up to you." So confident. Because I won't lose. Hearing Shiyu's confident words, Tsunade was also slightly taken aback. Because she had met her opponent, Shiyu was undoubtedly applying what she said just now. Well, my conditions are the same as before, just bet all the money you have a problem. Advertisement. No. After seeing Shiyu's agreement, Tsunade also said, the bet is negotiated, but what is the bet? Don't worry, I won't take advantage of you. Shiyu responded and said, the bet is, I will let Naruto master Spiral Pill within a day. When Shiyu said this, everyone took a breath. Especially for Jiraiya, it took him 3 days to completely master the Spiral Pill. Although Naruto has now completed the first 2 stages of practice, this third step is undoubtedly the most difficult. If you don't have enough talent, you have to spend more time. Moreover, some people may not be able to master a ninjutsu even if they spend more time. Tsunade thought that Shiba was nervous, or his brain was caught by the door when he came out. Otherwise, how could it be possible to say this appointment? Before Ji Lai also questioned it, Shiyu said again. Princess Tsunade, I'll just ask you. Do you dare to take this bet? Hearing Shiba's words, Tsunade finally recovered from his stunned mind. Seeing Shiyu's self-confident expression, she was a bit imaginary at one time. But when he thought of the difficulty of Helix Maru, he felt that Shiyu was bluffing him, because the latter was only a little bit of money if he lost. But if she was counseled, it would be laughable. Especially if she was counseled on this kind of basically stable bet, wouldn't she have been in the casino for more than 10 years for nothing? Furthermore, take a 10,000 steps. Even if she is really. If you lose, you don't care that it is just some medical ninjutsu template, there is no big deal. After thinking about it, Tsunade directly agreed. You little devil is so bold, how can Tsunade make sense? I promise this bet. Seeing Tsunade's promise, Shiyu was also overjoyed, and his first goal was obviously achieved. There is only a systematic task, what he has is a way. In short, this, big sheep. He can't escape his 5-finger mountain. Okay, then we'll see you the day after tomorrow. Seeing that the gambling agreement was established, Jilai finally couldn't help but ask. Shiyu, are you kidding me? Let Naruto master Spiral Pill within a day, because if there is such a method, Naruto would not have been able to master Spiral Pill until now. Laughter Fairy, don't worry. Naruto has now learned the basics of Spiral Pill. The only difference is how to maintain stability. Advertisement. Of course I know this. Jilai also responded, and then said, but this last step is the most difficult. Even I used to spend a whole day and a half. It took 3 days for Jilai to learn the Spiral Pill. He learned the first phase in the first half of the day, and mastered the second phase in 1 day, but he spent a full day and a half in the third phase. It can be seen from this that this last step is difficult. Although Naruto has been practicing for a few days in this third stage, it still cannot be maintained to that level. Moreover, others can only know a little about this cultivator, and ultimately rely on oneself. Only after you find a cultivation method that suits you, you can master it. But Jilai would never think that Shiyu knew exactly what method was suitable for Naruto. If not, how could Shiyu boast about this Heiko? He is not stupid. At this moment, even Naruto could not restrain the excitement in his heart, and hurriedly asked, Shiyu, you can really help me in 1 day master Spiral Pill within. When did I lie to you? Naruto was extremely excited when he got Shiyu's person, and the excited whole person jumped directly. Needless to say, Jiraiya obviously wanted to chat with Tsunade alone. Sister silence. In the middle of the night, when a lone man and a widow looked at the expression on Silent's face, Shiyu had already guessed what the latter wanted to do. Mute, please take the two of them to rest first. Thank you for reading this story at hotmtnovel.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Philo reminds you, 3 things about reading. Anyway, this gambling agreement is not a big deal, so he regarded it as Shiyu's bragging in order to vent Naruto's anger. Tsunade and Silent had the same thoughts as him. After both bets were settled, Jiraiya said to Silent. After setting up Shiyu and Naruto, Mute came to Shiyu's room. Takiwa and Naruto left with the Silence, and the place they went was the hotel where Tsunade and the two were staying. 200 is not his blind belief in Shiyu, but Shiyu has brought him too many miracles. Let him have enough reasons to believe the latter's words. Because so far, immediately after, as long as Shiyu said and promised, everything was fulfilled one by one. Snap. With this sound, it seemed that something bad was about to happen. Without saying anything, he pulled the door with his backhand. What are you doing? I'm not such a casual person. Seeing that Shiyu was so confident, Jiraiya didn't say anything.